This film is purely fictional. Please do not imitate it. Your like and subscribe are the motivation for me to update. Chapter 958. Su Chen didn't want to live in the wild with Bai Feng and He Jinqing. But he couldn't let them out of his sight either. The best solution was to let them live in his RV. Su Chen led the way, with Bai Feng and He Jinqing following nervously behind him. Ming-Chi followed at the end. The three of them, and the cat soon arrived next to Norma Deason. Looking at the towering RV, Bai Feng and He Jinqing were startled. But what surprised them even more was what they saw after entering through the small door. The space inside was far larger than they had imagined. A living room, bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, every room and facility was complete, a true 3-bedroom, 1 living room apartment. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, Bai Feng and He Jinqing would never have imagined the hidden world within the Norma Deason. You two will sleep here tonight. You can move around freely within the room. As for outside, you can't move even if you want. Su Chen shrugged and, with Ming-Chi, pushed open another door, entering the RV's true interior. After he left, Bai Feng and He Jinqing wandered around the room like country bumpkins. They discovered a balcony next to the living room. The balcony windows offered a perfect view of the outside. This must be where the car windows should be. Holy crap, this RV is amazing. He Jinqing couldn't help but exclaim, "No, who invented this?" Bai Feng looked at He Jinqing as if he were a fool. Are you a fool? Don't you see that there's something wrong with this RV? He Jinqing scratched his head. Yes, the interior is much larger than the exterior. I guess. It's something like a spiritual weapon. Although he had already been deeply shocked by Su Chen tonight, Bai Feng was still shocked again. If only we could have such a nice RV. He Jinqing said enviously. Forget it, you still want an RV? After this, we'd be thankful to be alive. Bai Feng sighed deeply. Brother Feng, that guy isn't here. Why don't we take this opportunity to escape? He Jinqing whispered. Hearing this, Bai Feng subconsciously looked towards the entrance. After a moment's thought, he shook his head. Let's just stay here. Why, Brother Feng? Didn't you hear what he said before he left? Bai Feng sneered. Either he's been keeping an eye on us, or this RV is under his control. Otherwise, why would he let us stay here? Okay. Finally, He Jinqing gave up the idea of escaping. Brother Feng, what should we do tomorrow? That lion is not to be trifled with. Thinking of the terrifying lion in the forest, Bai Feng felt a chill in his heart. Su Chen wasn't easy to mess with, but that lion wasn't either. Ah, it's our fault for offending Su Chen. We can only take things one step at a time. Bai Feng said with a wry smile. Go to bed. We talk tomorrow. Su Chen, in the main room, didn't deliberately monitor Bai Feng. After all, everything inside the RV was under his control. But he still overheard Bai Feng and He Jinqing's conversation. Those two are smart. Ming-Chi, standing nearby, stretched. Alright, go to bed. We talk tomorrow. Su Chen patted Ming-Chi's head and returned to his room. The night passed in silence. The next morning, Bai Feng and He Jinqing were woken by Su Chen. When Su Chen arrived at their room, he brought them breakfast. Looking at the exquisite and luxurious breakfast on the table, Bai Feng knew it was likely his last meal. But he had no choice but to eat it with He Jinqing. After filling their bellies, Su Chen nodded to them and said, Let's go. After they exited the RV, Bai Feng glanced in the direction and walked ahead with He Jinqing, leading the way. Su Chen and Ming-Chi followed closely behind them. The forest at the foot of the mountain was quite vast and sparsely populated, so it was easy to get lost if one wasn't careful. Thankfully, Bai Feng had marked the path ahead, and following the trail, they arrived at a lake in less than half an hour. To call it a small lake would be a stretch. It was about the same size as the school playground. The water was clear, but not deep, reaching only up to the height of one's calf. Right in the center of the lake stood an island, less than 10 square meters in size. Su Chen could clearly sense the abundant energy emanating from it. Mr. Su, that's the island I was talking about. Bai Feng pointed to the island in the center of the lake. Su Chen looked over. Although the island wasn't large, it was covered with a few trees and a fair amount of bushes, making it difficult to see the details. Where's the lion? It should be lying in the bushes, Bai Feng explained. It doesn't move much, only occasionally getting up and walking around. Su Chen frowned slightly. He had originally planned to have Bai Feng and He Jinqing go over and wake the monster. But then he thought those two wouldn't be happy about it, and might even fight him. While he could kill them, it would be bad to alert the monster. Besides, those two were rare cannon fodder, he couldn't let them die like this. Thinking of this, Su Chen said slowly, Then let's wait here. A few of them stayed in front of Bai Feng, observing the monster's position and waiting quietly. Meng Qi nimbly climbed up the tree and fell into a deep sleep. Time passed, and soon it was noon. Just as Su Chen was about to eat some dry food to fill his stomach, Bai Feng beside him lowered his voice and said excitedly, "Mr. Su, look." Su Chen subconsciously looked towards the small island in the center of the lake. When he saw the lion Bai Feng had mentioned, he subconsciously held his breath. Strictly speaking, it wasn't a lion. It was as massive as a lion on the grassland, but its body was covered in silver-white fur, gleaming with a cold metallic sheen. Its face resembled a tiger's, with a black pattern on its forehead that resembled the ancient Chinese character for king. If Su Chen were to describe it, it would be more like a liger. The monster circled the island, its amber eyes scanning the surrounding forest. Not only Bai Feng and He Jinqing, but even Su Chen subconsciously stepped back and hid behind a tree. As for Meng Qi, who was still in the tree, she quietly slid down. This monster is definitely not to be trifled with. Su Chen's heart tightened. Even at such a distance, his spiritual sense could still sense the powerful aura emanating from the lion-tiger beast. Su Chen had only felt a similar aura from Leviathan. Chapter 959. But compared to the Qi, it's still a far cry. Su Chen was certain that this liger had at least a C+ power rating, maybe even a B-. To defeat it, he had to use the infinite steel flash, otherwise it was impossible. After a quick scan, the liger found nothing and crept back into the jungle. Only then did Bai Feng let out a long breath. "Mr. Su, did you see that? This monster is so powerful, there's really no way the three of us can take it down, right?" Bai Feng's implication was that we should just stop trying and let us go. Su Chen ignored Bai Feng, stroking his chin and lost in thought. Such a powerful monster couldn't have appeared here for no reason. Su Chen remembered his previous encounter with the dark devouring moth. At that time, the dark devouring moth was guarding the night orchid and engaging in a fierce battle with the ghost-faced spider. In the end, both were injured, benefiting Su Chen. So, it's very likely that this lion-tiger beast was also guarding some magical herb. Otherwise, there's no way to explain the abundant energy here. To be cautious, Su Chen decided to get to the bottom of it. Otherwise, wouldn't it be a waste of effort to go through so much trouble to fight this monster and gain nothing? Su Chen pondered for a moment and pulled out a drone. The drone quickly took off, climbed to its highest point, and flew directly above the island. Then, carefully controlling the drone, he began a slow descent. The situation on the island soon appeared on Su Chen's monitor. He could clearly see a small stone platform in the center. Above the platform was a ball of white light, but Su Chen couldn't see what it was. Just as he was about to lower the drone further, a deafening tiger roar suddenly echoed from the island. Then, the drone lost signal, and the image went black. Huh? Although he had lost a drone, Su Chen wasn't distressed, for his suspicions had been confirmed. Next, he had to consider how to kill the lion-tiger beast. Or in other words, he didn't have to kill it. He just had to lure it away and take the items from the island. Unfortunately, the stealth robe only concealed auras, preventing spiritual perception, but it could be observed with the naked eye. If Bai Qianqing were here, wearing the stealth robe, she should be able to remove the white light. There seemed to be only one solution: don the stealth robe and hide. Bai Feng and He Jinqing took action, luring the lion away. Then he take action himself, grab the items on the island, and run. That's it. Su Chen raised his head and glanced at Bai Feng and He Jinqing beside him. Bai Feng hadn't dared to speak the entire time he was thinking. When he felt Su Chen's gaze on him, Bai Feng's heart sank. He knew Su Chen's plan was probably the same as his. "Wait a minute, you two take action and lure the lion away. I get the items on the island, and we meet back at the RV," Su Chen instructed calmly. As expected, Bai Feng remained silent, his expression grim. That lion is definitely not weak. If they were lured away, they might die there. "Don't worry, I won't treat you unfairly as long as you help me take the things on the island." Su Chen paused and took out two booklets. This one contains the martial arts Qi training technique, which will enhance your strength and endurance. This one contains the fire spell, Red Lotus of Destruction, which is far more powerful than the flame flywheel. Once I succeed, these two items will be yours. Su Chen knew full well that forcing them to sacrifice their lives through force alone would be impossible. It would be best to offer them sufficient benefits. As expected, after hearing Su Chen's words, Bai Feng and He Jinqing were both tempted. "Mr. Su, could we take a look?" "No problem." Su Chen readily handed them over. While the Qi refining art and the world-destroying Red Lotus weren't exactly obscure techniques, It was impossible to learn them simply by looking at them. Bai Feng briefly glanced through them, and only after confirming that they were genuine did he finally feel relieved. As the saying goes, fortune and honor are sought in danger. Su Chen wouldn't let them go like this. Might as well give it a try. If they survived, that would be wonderful. Thinking of this, Bai Feng nodded heavily. Okay, Mr. Su, we both follow your instructions. That's good. Su Chen discussed the two carefully for a while, and after finalizing the action plan, he prepared to take action. Since this operation didn't involve a direct confrontation with the lion-tiger beast, Su Chen didn't allow Ming Qi to participate, but kept her aside. Su Chen donned his gray stealth robe and crouched in a bush. Unless the bushes were completely uprooted, even standing outside them, Su Chen wouldn't be visible. As for Bai Feng and He Jincheng, they stood beside Su Chen. After completing all preparations, they waited patiently. After an unknown amount of time, Bai Feng exclaimed, "It's out again." Su Chen stared intently. The liger stood up again and surveyed its surroundings. Now, Su Chen seized the moment and used a scan on the liger. Golden Gang Liger. Originally, it was just an ordinary mutant monster, but after absorbing the power of the white tiger, it became something extraordinary. Combat Power Rating, C+. Golden Gang Liger, White Tiger Power. Su Chen was slightly startled, but it was too late to dwell. A roar, far louder than before, suddenly resounded through the air. The Golden Gang Liger, sensing the scan, was instantly enraged. It leaped from the island and landed in the lake. However, it didn't actually fall into the water, it stepped on the surface. Those emotionless eyes looked in Su Chen's direction. At the same time, a powerful spiritual awareness enveloped him. Thankfully, Su Chen was well hidden and wearing a stealth robe. The Golden Gang Lion-Tiger Beast didn't notice Su Chen, but instead saw Bai Feng and He Jincheng standing nearby. It subconsciously assumed they were using a scanning device. With another deep, thunderous roar, the Golden Gang Lion-Tiger Beast treaded on the water, charging towards them like yellow lightning. Bai Feng and He Jincheng were nearly frightened to death. Thankfully, at the critical moment, they managed to calm themselves, turn around, and quickly fled into the distance. The Golden Gang Lion-Tiger Beast quickly reached shore and chased in the direction they had fled. It darted past Su Chen without noticing him at all. Su Chen, delighted, didn't act immediately. Chapter 960. Su Chen stood up only after the Golden Lion-Tiger Beast, chasing Bai Feng and He Jincheng, disappeared into the distance. Ming Qi. With Su Chen's call, Ming Qi came, hurtling towards him from a short distance, like an arrow. Su Chen flipped over and leaped onto Ming Qi's back, dashing towards the small island in the center of the lake. In the blink of an eye, the two of them reached the island in the center of the lake. Dense trees and jungle surrounded the island, but in the center lay a clearing. The stone platform Su Chen had previously seen through the drone was located in this clearing. He jumped off Ming Qi's back and cautiously walked towards the platform. The white light still floated above it. Su Chen could clearly sense the endless energy emanating from the white light. He had discovered the source of this forest's abundant energy. Su Chen's heart was filled with joy. But then, he noticed a crystal-clear jade slip placed next to the ball of white light. Could it be another rune chip? Su Chen wondered, reaching out to pick up the jade slip. But to his surprise, it was empty. Su Chen frowned and put it away, intending to study it later. He then turned his gaze to the ball of white light beside him. Its light flickered, making it impossible to tell what it was. Scan. Power of the White Tiger. The system only responded with these 4 words, and then nothing else. That's it. Su Chen was a little confused. It suddenly occurred to him that the Golden Gang Lion-Tiger Beast had become so unusual because it had absorbed the power of the White Tiger. That meant this thing was definitely good. But the question was, how was he supposed to get it? Just then, Ming Qi suddenly approached. Boss, this thing looks like it could be useful to me. For you? Su Chen's heart skipped a beat. Can you absorb it? I try. Ming Qi's massive head leaned in front of the stone platform. Before Su Chen could react, it opened its bloody mouth and gulped. The ball of white light was instantly sucked into its lungs. Su Chen's eyes widened, and just as he was about to say something, he heard a distant tiger roar. Although the distance was great, judging by the sound, it was coming from the Golden Gang Lion-Tiger Beast chasing Bai Feng and He Jincheng. Oh no! Su Chen's heart sank. He hadn't expected that even from such a distance, the Golden Lion-Tiger Beast could sense that he had taken the White Tiger's power. Ming Qi, retreat. Su Chen grabbed Ming Qi by the neck and, the instant he swung onto her, she leaped away. In the blink of an eye, the two of them had left the small island in the middle of the lake and were heading towards the RV. But as fast as they were, the golden lion tiger beast was even faster. In less than a minute, Su-Chen could hear the sound of falling trees behind him. He turned to see the silver-white golden lion tiger beast pursuing him and Ming-Chi with unstoppable force. At that moment, the golden lion tiger beast opened its maw and roared. Roar! A deep, low roar, imbued with immense pressure, filled the forest. Su-Chen felt dizzy and momentarily felt as if his very being had been shaken. Even he was like this, let alone Ming-Chi. Ming-Chi's speed involuntarily slowed, and she stumbled a few steps, her steps becoming sluggish. Seizing this opportunity, the golden lion tiger beast pounced. It flew over half the distance of more than 10 meters in an instant, as if it had wings on its back. Although he had previously slain the prehistoric behemoth Leviathan, Su-Chen knew full well that he couldn't confront the golden lion tiger beast head-on. He drew out his golden bow and silver bullets, pulling the bowstring continuously at such speed that it left afterimages. Dozens of silver bullets blasted at the golden lion tiger beast. As a C+ level monster that had absorbed the power of the white tiger, faced with so many silver bullets, the golden lion tiger beast didn't dodge, resisting with its body. The moment the silver bullets struck it, a white aura emanated from its white fur, blocking the metal bullets. Not only that, without even a ripple, the silver bullets landed lightly on the ground. Seeing this, Su-Chen was shocked. He still had great confidence in the power of his golden bow and silver bullets. An ordinary C- transcendent would have been shattered to pieces. Even a C+ transcendent would have suffered a bitter blow. However, the golden gang lion tiger beast remained unfazed. When it landed in front of Su-Chen and Ming-Chi, the golden gang lion tiger beast roared again. The hairs on its back stood on end, and the next moment, they shot out countless needle-like air blades. Su-Chen had no doubt that if he was hit, his body would be covered in countless transparent holes. Ice Shield, Thunder Shield. Su-Chen summoned 2 defensive abilities in one breath. But before the golden lion tiger's attack, it was like paper. Countless piercing air blades shredded both shields. Thankfully, Ming-Chi had recovered by then. It carried Su-Chen with it, sprinting at full speed, dodging the air blades. Watching Su-Chen, who was about to be killed, escape, the golden lion tiger was furious. Just as it was about to continue its pursuit, Su-Chen unleashed his lightning spell, Thunderbird. A Thunderbird, composed of blue-white lightning, spread its wings and soared high, slamming into the golden lion tiger. The golden lion tiger opened its maw again, unleashing a silver-white beam of light. The Thunderbird was struck by the beam and instantly disintegrated into nothingness. Shit! Su-Chen cursed inwardly. The Thunderbird technique was already incredibly powerful, yet it couldn't even stop the golden lion tiger beast. This thing was truly incredible. Misfortunes never come singly. With the golden lion tiger beast relentlessly pursuing him, Su-Chen suddenly sensed that Ming-Chi's speed had significantly slowed. Ming-Chi, what's wrong with you? Master, I feel so hot inside. Ming-Chi's voice became weak. It must be that white tiger power from earlier. Su-Chen's heart sank. This was going to be fun. Watching the golden lion tiger beast angrily pursuing him and Ming-Chi, Su-Chen made a bold decision. Ming-Chi, continue your escape and return to the RV. Master, what about you? Don't worry about it. I take care of this. Su-Chen patted Ming-Chi's head and leaped into the air. While in midair, he completed a 180-degree turn. When he landed, 2 long, black gold swords appeared in his hands. Absolute zero. The surrounding temperature plummeted, as if freezing everything. Su-Chen didn't expect absolute zero to completely restrain the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast. He simply hoped to delay the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast's movements for a moment. At the same time, 2 black gold swords slashed towards the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast. Chapter 961. Su-Chen had somewhat underestimated the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast. After all, even his thunder spell, Thunderbird, was powerless against the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast. Not to mention Absolute Zero, which was just an ordinary supernatural power. Against ordinary transcendence, Su-Chen's powerful spiritual awareness, mental strength, and the refined energy of the Sky Blue Dragon Ring might have been effective. But against the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast, which had absorbed the power of the White Tiger, it had no effect at all. The Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast's movements were unaffected. Facing Su-Chen blocking its path, it raised a claw and struck. Although it was just a casual strike, it unleashed a fierce gust of wind. Su-Chen had no choice but to dodge quickly and swing his sword twice with his backhand. Infinite Steel Flash. First strike, second strike. However, the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast didn't dodge at all, likely relying on its protective energy to block Su-Chen's attack. At that moment, it suddenly leaped to its feet and delivered 2 consecutive slaps. These 2 slaps were as swift as the wind, with tremendous force and impact. Though Suchin had reacted, quickly summoning a protective ice shield, it still couldn't stop the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast. The massive slap directly destroyed the ice shield and landed on Suchin. Thankfully, Suchin had physical training, had been injected with dragon blood reagent, and was protected by dragon scale armor. But even so, the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast slaps dealt him a crushing blow. He flew out like a kite with its string cut, landing heavily on the ground. Wow! Suchin felt as if his internal organs were turning upside down, and he couldn't help but spurt out a pool of blood. Before he could recover from the pain, the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast had already leaped into the air. If it fell, Suchin would be dead. At this critical moment, Suchin raised his right middle finger toward the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast. On it lay an ancient ring, and Suchin pinched it with his left hand. The next moment, his figure vanished without a trace. The Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast fell to the ground, its pounce missing. Unable to comprehend what had happened, it instinctively looked up. Only then did it see 4 Suchins, sprinting towards 4 different directions. After a brief struggle between its left and right brains, the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast chased after one of the Suchins. When it caught up, it slapped him. But that Suchin vanished in an instant. Roar! The Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast roared in dissatisfaction and chased after the other Suchin. However, the other 3 Suchins were also illusions. The Golden Lion Tiger Beast, having gained nothing, was furious. It immediately returned to the spot where it had fought Suchin, crouched down, and began sniffing. It quickly locked onto Meng Qi's retreat route and scurried in pursuit. Meanwhile, across the way, in Normadison, Suchin's figure appeared out of thin air in the living room. When he saw his familiar surroundings, he let out a long breath and looked at his right index finger. The quaint ring had now become dull and lifeless. Yes! This was the illusion ring he had asked Gu Yulong to create. Before setting off, to prevent any unforeseen events, Suchin had set the coordinates in Normadison. P.S. The illusion ring's range was previously set to 1 kilometer, which was a bit too small. Here, it was set to 5 kilometers. This was also why Suchin dared to stay behind to cover their retreat. What a shame. The illusion ring he had worked so hard to create, gone just like that. But it still played a vital role. Suchin consoled himself and looked around. Soon, he spotted Meng Qi, lying at the entrance of the car. She had lost consciousness, her limbs still twitching slightly. Suchin walked over quickly, but as soon as he reached out, he quickly withdrew his hand, feeling the heat. Meng Qi's body temperature was ridiculously high. Suchin frowned slightly. It must be the white tiger power that had caused it to become like this. But she herself had said that the white tiger power was effective. Could it be a side effect of absorbing the white tiger power? What exactly was the so-called white tiger power? Suchin pondered for a moment, but nothing came to mind. He shook his head. Seeing that Meng Qi lay on the ground, seemingly unharmed, he quickly began to treat herself. After a shot of high-level recovery reagent, Suchin felt much better. He lowered his head and examined his dragon scale armor. It wasn't a big deal, a large portion of it had been torn off. The remaining portion was also ripped into strips. Oh my goodness, these are dragon scales. Although earth dragons and flood dragons are sub-dragons, they also have dragon blood. I didn't expect them to be so vulnerable to the Golden Lion Tiger Beast. I had underestimated the power of a C+ power monster. Suchin couldn't help but feel a sense of relief. When he had slain Leviathan in Atlantis, he had felt a certain amount of pride. After all, it was a C+ power monster, capable of competing with an A-rank flood dragon at its peak. But after all, Leviathan had been imprisoned for years, and was restricted by the Chi formation. Add to that Leviathan's carelessness, and Suchin's success. However, the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast was no ordinary beast. It was in its prime form, and had absorbed the power of the White Tiger. After that fight with it, Suchin finally realized that he had been a little careless. Strange, why hadn't Bai Feng and He Jinqing returned after so long? Could they have been caught up and killed by the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast? Never mind them. Suchin didn't care much about their lives. Just as he was about to activate the Normadison and leave, a chill ran down his spine. His spiritual sense sensed a powerful aura approaching. The Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast is chasing them. Suchin hadn't expected this beast to be so persistent. Even Meng Qi, running at top speed, couldn't escape the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast. Normadison might be in trouble too. Suchin glanced at Meng Qi, lying unconscious on the ground, and knew that if he wanted to survive today, He had no choice but to fight the golden lion tiger beast. He took a deep breath and took out the berserker reagent. Since discovering the formula for the berserker reagent, Miao Mingqian had created 4 doses for Su Chen. The first 3 were used against the dragon turtle, the monster tide leader, the Jialong, and the Leviathan, respectively. Now, only the last one remained. Just as Su Chen was about to inject the drug, a deep, commanding voice suddenly rang out from outside. "Human inside, please come out and talk." Su Chen was slightly startled, and subconsciously glanced at the security camera inside the car. The surveillance footage showed the golden lion tiger beast standing a dozen meters away from Normadison, quietly watching the car. No, the golden lion tiger beast had spoken. Su Chen hesitated for a moment, but didn't rush out. He quickly walked to the second floor, raised the flying bridge, and looked at the golden lion tiger beast outside. Chapter 962. The moment Su Chen appeared, the golden lion tiger's fierce gaze fixed upon him. Su Chen could feel himself being locked in a powerful spiritual sense. "Were you the one who spoke just now?" "Yes." The golden lion tiger spoke softly, its deep voice echoing again. "TSK, TSK. Look at how you forced it into speaking human language." Su Chen said calmly, "Tell me, what do you want from me?" "Human, the power of the white tiger is beyond your reach, and it's useless to you." The golden lion tiger began to slowly circle around Normadison. "Hand over the power of the white tiger, and I let you go. What do you think?" Su Chen laughed heartily. "Who said the power of the white tiger is useless to me? The energy it radiates to the outside world is quite abundant." "You?" The golden lion tiger's expression was clearly filled with anger. Its front hooves stomped the ground vigorously. "Squandering nature's gifts. Squandering nature's gifts. Does the white tiger's power only allow you to absorb energy? What do you care about me?" Su Chen rolled his eyes. "Huh?" The golden lion tiger beast's nose blew white air, and it finally calmed down. "Let's make a deal. If you're willing to give me the white tiger's power, I provide you with the location of a raw stone mine." "Raw stone mine? Sorry, I'm not interested." Su Chen shrugged. Today, the 3 bases have discovered over 30 raw stone mines, large and small. For him, raw stone is practically inexhaustible. In comparison, Su Chen valued the white tiger power more. The fact that the Golden Gang lion tiger beast cared so much about the white tiger power meant it was incredibly valuable. Besides, Mingqi had already swallowed the white tiger power, so Su Chen couldn't possibly let her spit it out again. "I'm not talking about ordinary raw stone ore, but spirit stone ore." The Golden Gang lion tiger beast corrected him disgruntledly. "Spirit stone ore? What the hell is that?" Su Chen's heart skipped a beat. "Let's put it this way. The energy contained in 1 spirit stone surpasses that of 10 raw stones," the Golden Gang lion tiger beast explained impatiently. "Such a valuable item?" Su Chen paused for a moment, then chuckled. "Okay, no problem. But for safety's sake, you have to tell me the location of the spirit stone mine first." Su Chen certainly had no intention of handing the white tiger power over to the Golden Gang lion tiger beast. His goal was to buy time and extract the location of the spirit stone mine from the Golden Gang lion tiger beast. "Do you think I'm a 3-year-old? The Golden Lion Tiger beast said coldly. "Either you agree now, and hand over the white tiger power, or I wait for my invasion and tear you to pieces." "Haha, then come on." Su Chen beckoned at the Golden Lion Tiger beast. A hint of murderous intent flashed in the Golden Lion Tiger beast's eyes. Its spiritual sense could sense that Su Chen was no match for it. But something was odd about the Normadison where Su Chen was staying. From the outside, it looked like an ordinary RV. But it faintly exuded the aura of a spiritual weapon. This made the Golden Lion Tiger beast somewhat wary. "Okay, then I tell you the location of the spirit stone mine. Don't break your promise." After a moment's hesitation, the Golden Lion Tiger beast finally decided to make a deal with Su Chen. "The location of the spirit stone mine is..." Su Chen held his breath, waiting for the Golden Lion Tiger beast to reveal the location of the spirit stones. Then, the Golden Lion Tiger beast's expression changed. "You bastard! How dare you lie to me?" Before Su Chen could figure out what was happening, the Golden Lion Tiger beast leaped up and lunged towards the second floor of the RV. "Activate defensive measures," Su Chen thought, and an energy barrier enveloped the Normadison. This was a defensive feature added after the system upgrade. It can summon an energy barrier around the RV to resist external attacks. The Golden Lion Tiger beast's attack collided with the energy barrier. Though the energy barrier shook violently, it still withstood the Golden Lion Tiger beast's attack. Roar! The Golden Lion Tiger beast slapped the energy barrier repeatedly, but after a few hits, It became shaky and threatened to collapse at any moment. Laser attack. Artillery salvo. Suchin decisively activated the Normedicent's offensive measures. Several gun barrels rose from both sides of the vehicle, and missiles and lasers attacked the Golden Lion Tiger Beast. However, this little damage couldn't harm the Golden Lion Tiger Beast at all, barely even tickling it. But Suchin was merely stalling for time. His eyes focused, and lightning surged from his fingertips. 10,000 thunders. The lightning force coalesced in midair, forming a shimmering ball of lightning. Boom! 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 One lightning bolt after another struck the Golden Lion Tiger Beast. The Golden Lion Tiger Beast could clearly sense the power of the 10,000 thunders. But it wasn't about to waste time. Every hair on its body stood on end, and it summoned protective chi to withstand the 10,000 thunders attack. Not only that, it opened its bloody maw and belched out a silvery white beam of light. The beam of light struck the lightning ball in midair. The two collided, unleashing an earth-shattering roar. The massive shockwave shattered the surrounding flowers, plants, and trees. The already fragile defensive barrier shattered with a thud. You're courting death. The Golden Lion Tiger Beast trudged slowly toward Normedicent with heavy steps. Suchin knew it was time to fight tooth and nail. Without hesitation, he injected himself with a berserk agent. As the berserk agent entered his body, Suchin felt a surge of overwhelming power. The blood in his veins seemed to boil. He glanced at his own combat power rating. It had already reached C+. The Golden Lion Tiger Beast observed Suchin closely. It didn't know what had happened, but in an instant, Suchin's aura had increased considerably. But even so, Suchin would be no match for him. Suchin didn't want to fight. Let that happen to his own Normedicent. He gripped his two black golden long swords tightly and leaped into the air, slashing them towards the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast. Good timing. The Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast roared, its claws already lunging at Suchin. Dang dang. The black golden longswords and tiger claws collided fiercely, sending up countless sparks, and the sound of golden swords clashing. Dragon Might. Suchin immediately used his innate skill, attempting to control the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast. However, the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast didn't hesitate at all, instead asking in surprise, Green? Green Dragon? What Green Dragon? Suchin was puzzled, but his movements didn't stop. Infinite slashing steel flash, first strike, second strike. Chapter 963. Although Infinite Steel Flash is a Shin-level martial art, the power of the first few strikes is enough for even an ordinary C- Transcendent to withstand with ease. Not to mention the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast, whose combat power reaches C+. The Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast swung its claws continuously, forcing itself to withstand the first four strikes, Infinite Steel Flash, the fifth strike, the sixth strike. When Suchin swung these two strikes, the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast realized Suchin's strength. It roared angrily, and slashed at Suchin with its two claws again. But it could clearly see that the claws were imbued with white energy. As it swung, a giant white tiger claw shadow flashed. The power was so strong that it seemed to tear space apart. Bang! The two collided again. The explosion was far more powerful than before. The ferocious force not only knocked the massive Normedicent to the ground, but also lifted the surrounding soil, leaving a deep dent. Suchin was blown backward, but fortunately, he stabbed his long black gold sword into the ground, stabilizing himself. When everything calmed down, Suchin raised his head and looked across. The Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast had just jumped up from the ground, its fur disheveled, its previous arrogance completely gone. You human. What are you capable of? The Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast panted. Suchin did not respond, his expression extremely solemn. From the previous exchange, he could sense that the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast must have reached the peak of C+, halfway to B tier. It seemed that to kill it, he would have to use the seventh strike. With this thought, Suchin took a deep breath and pulled the black golden long sword from the earth. Unlimited slashing steel flash, the seventh strike. A vast golden blade energy emerged from the black golden long sword. The broad, heavy blade energy locked onto the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast. With unmatched momentum, it descended heavily. The Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast's eyes were filled with fear. It had never imagined that this human, whom it had despised, could wield such a terrifying move. Killing me won't be that easy. The Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast's entire body was ablaze with strength, its entire body radiating a silvery white metallic sheen. It rose to its feet, its two claws creating a massive white tiger shadow as it charged towards the golden blade energy. Bang! With a resounding bang, The Golden Blade energy shattered the White Tiger's shadow, piercing through the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast and slamming heavily into the ground. A deep blade mark appeared on the ground in front of Su Chen. Groundwater even gushed from the bottom of the ravine. The last time Su Chen used the 7th strike of the Infinite Steel Flash, he had relied on the Berserk reagent to raise his power to C-. Though he had successfully slain the Leviathan, he had also suffered severe injuries. Thankfully, this time, Su Chen had C+ power, making it less taxing. But it came at a significant cost. At this moment, his arms felt weak, as if all his strength had been drained, but he didn't even bother to catch his breath, supporting himself with his black gold long sword as he gazed at the Golden Lion Tiger Beast. He saw the Golden Lion Tiger Beast lying on the ground, a massive wound running from its chest to its abdomen. Their internal organs were clearly visible, and blood had stained the surrounding ground red. As expected of a peak C+ monster, it's even stronger than Chang Weijia. Su Chen, believing the Golden Lion Tiger Beast to be dead, couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. But the next moment, he saw the Golden Lion Tiger Beast's corpse stir. Then, it struggled to its feet. It lowered its head, surveying its injuries, and uttered a low whimper. "You bastard. You actually injured me so badly. You beast, you're incredibly lucky." Su Chen panted, his expression filled with disbelief. Even Leviathan couldn't withstand the 7th strike of the Infinite Steel Flash, but this Golden Lion Tiger Beast could? It was truly unbelievable. "Since you're so powerful, out of respect for you, I simply use my ultimate power." The Golden Lion Tiger Beast's voice trailed off. It opened its mouth slightly, and a stream of incredibly pure, powerful, and sharp killing energy gushed out. Su Chen could sense that this energy was identical to the White Tiger power consumed by Ming Qi. "White Tiger Lord, lend me a hand." As soon as the words fell, the murderous energy surged, attaching itself to the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast. Not only did the horrific wound heal instantly, but behind the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast, a towering White Tiger Phantom appeared. In that instant, the sky and earth lost their color. Only a murderous aura filled the surroundings. The oppressive feeling brought by the White Tiger Phantom was something Su Chen had never felt before. Let alone raising his head to look, Su Chen couldn't even muster the slightest thought of resistance. What the hell is this? "It's your honor to die at the hands of the White Tiger Lord." The restored Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast slowly approached Su Chen. Its voice had become emotionless, its entire form appearing even more solemn and sacred. "I come this far after my rebirth, not to die at your hands," Su Chen cried silently in his heart. I didn't know if it was the injected berserker or the dragon bloodline taking effect. An invisible force surged from deep within him. He gripped the black gold longsword tightly and fiercely struck at the so-called White Tiger Lord. Infinite Slashing Steel Flash, the 8th strike. The black gold longsword in Su Chen's hand erupted with dazzling golden light. A broad, thick golden blade aura suddenly separated from the blade, but that wasn't the end. Followed by a second, a third, a fourth. 7 blade auras emerged from the black gold longsword in quick succession. As Su Chen's mind moved, 7 devastating golden blades descended simultaneously towards the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast. Feeling the power of these blades, the previously emotionless Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast's expression suddenly changed drastically. It concentrated all the energy it could muster. The massive White Tiger Phantom behind him lunged forward, colliding with the 7 golden blades. Boom! A force no less powerful than a nuclear explosion echoed through the jungle. The surrounding trees and grass were completely destroyed. The dirt on the ground was lifted several feet high. Normadison was sent flying several meters away like a toy. When everything calmed down, the forest was in ruins, practically gone. Su Chen lay quietly in the dirt, his strength completely gone. Even breathing brought on intense pain. His condition at this moment was no better than the last time he killed the Leviathan. Su Chen endured the pain and looked towards the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast. The Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast had been chopped into several pieces, and was definitely dead. Chapter 964. Seeing this, Su Chen finally felt relieved. He leaned against the mound behind him, breathing heavily. He lowered his head, and could clearly see the flesh and blood seeping from the deep wounds on his body. He estimated that in an hour, the wounds would be completely healed. Su Chen twitched his lips, revealing a wry smile. This battle with the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast had not only left him severely injured, but he had also lost an illusion ring and a berserk reagent. Thankfully, he had gained the power of the White Tiger and a jade slip. Otherwise, it would have been a complete loss. From the previous battle with the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast, Su Chen was certain that the power of the white tiger was definitely a valuable asset. As for the jade slip, since it could be used together with the power of the white tiger, it must also be a valuable asset. Just as Su Chen lay in the pit, waiting for his injuries to heal, a faint sound of footsteps was heard. Oh my god, that beast is dead? He Jincheng's voice was filled with surprise. I wonder how Su Chen is doing. He should be dead too, right? Bai Feng's voice followed. Both of them aren't dead. Su Chen was a little surprised. He had thought Bai Feng and He Jincheng had long since perished at the hands of the golden lion tiger beast. Brother Feng, look. He Jincheng suddenly spotted Su Chen lying on the ground and cried out in surprise. The two of them hurried over to Su Chen and realized that he wasn't dead. A pair of sharp eyes stared back at them. Mr. Su, how are you? Bai Feng asked tentatively. Su Chen remained silent, not because he was aloof, but because he hadn't recovered yet. He didn't even have the energy to speak. Seeing Su Chen didn't respond, Bai Feng's eyes flashed with joy. He cautiously stepped forward saying, Mr. Su, let me help you up. Even when he was within a few meters of Su Chen didn't react at all. He Jincheng, standing nearby, suddenly beamed. Brother Feng, this kid must have been seriously injured fighting the lion tiger beast and can't move. Haha, God is really helping me. Bai Feng let out a sinister grin and kicked Su Chen's leg. Weren't you so arrogant and powerful before? Why aren't you talking now? Su Chen stared at Bai Feng and He Jincheng with an icy gaze. He Jincheng, feeling a little uneasy at his gaze, quickly pulled Bai Feng aside. Brother Feng, stop wasting time with him and just kill him. Recalling the earth-shattering battle between Su Chen and the Golden Gang lion tiger beast, Bai Feng couldn't help but feel a lingering fear. They couldn't wait for Su Chen to recover, or they would both be dead. Alright, finish him. Bai Feng and He Jincheng both drew their weapons and, grinning, stepped towards Su Chen. If I were you, I wouldn't do such a foolish thing. Su Chen suddenly spoke, his voice weak and devoid of any threat. You're in this state, and you still want to threaten us? Bai Feng grinned grimly and raised his weapon. Su Chen sighed softly at this, muttering to himself, foolish man. Go to hell. You're still pretending to be awesome even when you're about to die. Bai Feng cursed, then lunged at Su Chen. But before he could strike Su Chen, there was a whoosh, and a white figure flashed by from a distance. Bai Feng felt a chill in his arm. When he came to his senses, the hand holding the weapon had been severed at the elbow and fell to the ground. It was only when blood gushed out that Bai Feng felt the intense pain. Ah! Brother Feng, Brother Feng. He Jincheng, standing by, was stunned, completely unaware of what had happened. Bai Feng's face was pale, and beads of sweat covered his forehead. He clutched the wound on his broken arm, enduring the excruciating pain as he looked towards Su Chen. Beside Su Chen, a white figure appeared. It was Ming Qi, but unlike before, Ming Qi was a pure white. No longer a ginger cat, she looked more like a white tiger roaming the mountains and forests, especially, she exuded the aura of a tiger dominating the world. Just standing there, one could feel a powerful sense of oppression. You want to touch the boss? No way. Ming Qi's deep voice was filled with a chilling, murderous aura. Bai Feng and He Jincheng's legs went weak, and they found it difficult to breathe, let alone fight Ming Qi. They exchanged glances and knelt before Su Chen. Mr. Su, we were wrong. We shouldn't have disrespected you. No, you don't know you're wrong. You just know you deserve to die. Su Chen, having almost recovered, whispered, Ming Qi, kill them both. Yes, boss. The moment Ming Qi finished her words, she was in front of Bai Feng and He Jincheng. The two men's faces were filled with horror, and they had no time to resist before Ming Qi slapped them twice. They were both C-rank transcendents, after all, but Ming Qi had slapped their heads off. Ming Qi glanced at the two corpses with distaste, then approached Su Chen with graceful small steps. Boss, how are you? I'm fine. Su Chen shook his head and reached out to touch Ming Qi. Did you absorb the power of the white tiger? Not completely, just a little bit. Ming Qi licked Su Chen's cheek and explained. What exactly is the power of the white tiger? Do you know? Su Chen asked curiously. Boss, do you know the 4 divine beasts? Ming Qi tilted her head, pondering for a moment, then asked. Yes, azure dragon, white tiger, vermilion bird, and black tortoise. Su Chen was stunned for a moment, then asked, could the power of the white tiger you absorbed come from the white tiger, one of the 4 divine beasts? Yes. Ming Qi nodded. Su Chen was shocked upon hearing this. The 4 divine beasts were the 4 heavenly spirits from the ancient mythology of the Yin Kingdom. Su Chen had heard quite a bit about their legends. But he had always thought it was merely the ancients' worship of the stars. Who would have thought the 4 divine beasts were actually real? No wonder the golden lion tiger beast wasn't affected at all when I used dragon's might just now. After absorbing the power of the white tiger, I gained some of my memories. Ming-Chi continued to explain, long ago, the divine beast, the white tiger, suddenly perished for unknown reasons. The power of the white tiger is its legacy. As long as you absorb the power of the white tiger, you can gradually evolve and eventually become the divine beast, the white tiger. That's fantastic. Hearing this, Su-Chen was quite surprised. The white tiger's reputation as a divine beast is well deserved. Not to mention the golden lion tiger beast that Su-Chen had just killed. Just by absorbing a little of the white tiger's power, it became so formidable. Chapter 965. After injecting the berserker agent, Su-Chen used the 8th strike of his infinite steel flash to kill it. If Ming-Chi truly evolved into the divine beast white tiger, then he would definitely be able to walk freely in the apocalypse. What's going on with that golden gang lion tiger? Do you know? Su-Chen pointed at the golden gang lion tiger not far away. It must have encountered the white tiger's power after it was left here. Ming-Chi speculated, but unlike me, it's a lion and can't absorb the white tiger's power directly. So it stayed by the white tiger's power. Over the years, it finally absorbed a trace of it and evolved into the golden gang lion tiger. If we had arrived a few months later, it would have probably absorbed the white tiger's power. Su-Chen suddenly realized. Although Ming-Chi is an orange cat, cats and tigers belong to the same family, the feline family, and share a common ancestor. Their genetic similarity is over 90%. However, the difference between a tiger and a lion is much greater. No wonder Ming-Chi could directly absorb the white tiger's power, while the golden lion tiger beast couldn't. It was precisely because the golden lion tiger beast absorbed a trace of the white tiger's power. So, when Ming-Chi absorbed and integrated the white tiger's power, it was able to sense it and attack Su-Chen. Apart from these, are there any other memories? Su-Chen asked. Boss, no. Although I'm absorbing all of the white tiger's power now, absorption and integration are two different things. Ming-Chi shook her head. I feel that only by completely integrating the white tiger's power can I gain more memories. Okay. Su-Chen couldn't help but feel a little regretful. He had an inexplicable premonition that the demise of the mythical white tiger was inextricably linked to the coming of the apocalypse. If they could understand the white tiger's demise, they would also know the true cause of the apocalypse. Although she had inherited the white tiger's power, and had the potential to evolve into the legendary mythical white tiger, Ming-Chi's feelings for Su-Chen remained unchanged. She quietly guarded Su-Chen, waiting for his injuries to heal. After a while, Su-Chen could barely move. He retrieved a high-level recovery reagent from his storage space and injected himself. After this injection, Su-Chen was able to stand and walk. He walked over to Bai Feng and He Jincheng and removed their energy crystals. No matter how small a mosquito is, it's still meat. Su-Chen had never intended to spare Bai Feng and He Jincheng's lives. He hadn't expected the battle with the golden lion tiger beast to be so brutal. If those two had escaped in time, Su-Chen wouldn't have bothered to pursue them. Unfortunately, they were too greedy. Boss, can you give me the golden lion tiger beast's energy core? Ming-Chi ran over, clutching the golden lion tiger beast's corpse. Its energy core contains a trace of white tiger power. We can't let it go to waste. No problem. Su-Chen agreed immediately. Hee, thank you, boss. Ming-Chi licked Su-Chen, then opened her mouth and swallowed the golden lion tiger beast's energy core. A moment later, Su-Chen could sense that its murderous aura had intensified slightly. Speaking of which, Ming-Chi, what's your current strength? Su-Chen asked curiously. Boss, I should be almost at C+, right? Ming-Chi asked uncertainly. As expected of the white tiger's power, it's truly formidable. Just recently, Ming-Chi had evolved to C-. But after absorbing and integrating a little of the white tiger's power, she nearly broke through to C+. If she had absorbed it completely, wouldn't she have been at least S rank? Su-Chen rested for a while, until his injuries were half healed. Then, with Ming-Chi, he headed towards the Normadison. In the previous battle, the Normadison was affected. Luckily, it wasn't an ordinary car, otherwise it would have been rendered useless. Even so, the massive shockwaves sent it flying hundreds of meters away. Both the car's exterior and interior were in shambles. Su-Chen had to expend a significant amount of energy points to completely repair it. Huh? Su-Chen leaned back on the sofa and breathed a sigh of relief. Although his injuries had mostly healed, the aftereffects of the berserker injection would take at least a day to fully resolve. He pondered for a moment, then pulled out the jade slip he retrieved from the stone platform and began to study it. He turned it over and over for a long time, still unable to come up with any clues. "Boss, there's no writing on it. You need to use your spiritual sense to perceive it," Ming-Chi interrupted. "How did you know?" Su-Chen asked, somewhat surprised. "Of course, it's the memories given to me by the White Tiger's power," Ming-Chi smiled. According to the instructions, Su-Chen used his spiritual sense to perceive the jade slip in his hand. As expected, the moment his spiritual consciousness touched the jade slip, a flood of words flooded into Su-Chen's mind. "Gather qi into the dantian, circulate qi through the qi meridians, spiritual consciousness like fire, condense qi." Only after reading it did Su-Chen realize that it was a cultivation technique called the soul-inducing technique. What surprised him even more was that the soul-inducing technique was extremely similar to the qi-gathering technique he had previously learned. To put it more modernly, the soul-inducing technique is the ultimate version of the qi-gathering technique. The qi-gathering technique merely absorbs external energy, but the soul-inducing technique is different. Not only does it absorb external energy at a speed far exceeding that of the qi-gathering technique, but it can also use energy to nourish and strengthen the practitioner's body and spiritual consciousness. Su-Chen was quite satisfied with this. After all, as his level of evolution increased, the speed of the qi-gathering technique could no longer keep up with his cultivation speed. The soul-inducing technique perfectly met his needs. However, after putting away the jade slip, a thoughtful expression crossed Su-Chen's face. The qi-gathering technique was passed down through generations in Zhao Man's family, while the soul-summoning technique was discovered along with the White Tiger power. There's no connection between the two. But in terms of practical effect, the qi-gathering technique is completely a part of the soul-summoning technique. Why is that? Never mind. I just find Zhao Man and ask him about it when I get back. Su-Chen, clueless, shook his head and gave up on further thought. "Boss, are we going back?" Ming-Chi asked. "Not yet." After Ming-Chi absorbed the White Tiger power, the spiritual energy here became less abundant. There was no point in staying here any longer. But Su-Chen wasn't willing to leave. Although he had gained the White Tiger power, the breath-stealing robe, and the soul-summoning technique, compared to the price he paid for the illusion ring and the rage reagent, he still felt unsatisfied. If the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast hadn't lied to him, there should be a spirit stone mine nearby. Su-Chen planned to stay here until he found a spirit stone mine. Chapter 966. The day after his battle with the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast, Su-Chen's injuries and aftereffects had essentially completely healed. So he set about searching for the spirit stone mine. In theory, simply using the radar system to scan the surrounding terrain would make finding the spirit stone mine much easier. But the problem was, for some unknown reason, the radar system could only scan the surface. It couldn't even detect the underground. This puzzled Su-Chen. After all, the radar system had previously generated 3D maps. After some thought, Su-Chen concluded that the spirit stone mine was to blame. It was like magnetite-rich rock in the mountains affecting a compass. The energy-rich spirit stone mine also affected radar scanning. But even with the cause, Su-Chen was helpless. The forest was so vast that finding the spirit stone mine was like looking for a needle in a haystack. In desperation, Su-Chen resorted to the most foolish method. He and Ming-Chi would search every square meter of the surrounding land. Whenever he found a cave or crypt, Su-Chen would go in and investigate. Thus, he remained in this forest for over half a month. Finally, one day, amidst a pile of rocks, Su-Chen discovered a cave that sloped downwards. Not long after entering, he sensed a dense, pure, and infuriating energy in the air. "Ming-Chi, this must be it." Su-Chen smiled cheerfully, quickening his pace with Ming-Chi. Not long after turning a corner, he saw a clear path ahead. Large swathes of cyan crystals appeared on both sides of the passage. The shimmering light enveloped the underground cavern in a hazy cyan. Su-Chen reached out and grasped a protruding crystal. He exerted a slight force, expecting to easily pry it off. However, to his surprise, the cyan crystal seemed to merge with the rock, remaining motionless. Su-Chen took a deep breath, increased his strength, and finally pried it free. Scanning and testing. Spirit Stone? This stone, formed from the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, possesses rich energy. Su-Chen clenched his spiritual sense, attempting to absorb the spirit stone as he had previously absorbed the raw stone. To his surprise, he was unable to absorb the energy within the spirit stone. "Boss, that's not how spirit stones are absorbed." Monkey Chi, observing this, smiled and said, "It's just like the jade slip. It relies on the spirit stone." After absorbing the energy crystal from the Golden Gang Lion Tiger Beast, Ming-Chi also fused some of the White Tiger's power and gained some of his memories. So that's it. Su-Chen suddenly realized something and used his spiritual sense to sense the energy within the Spirit Stone. As expected, he could easily sense the rich energy contained within the Spirit Stone. As Su-Chen's spiritual sense moved, he began to practice the soul induction technique. A constant stream of energy was absorbed into Su-Chen's body, nourishing both his body and the Spirit Stone. In a short while, the energy of the Cyan Spirit Stone was completely absorbed by Su-Chen. Its cyan glow vanished, transforming into the same dull gray as the original stone. With a slight force, Su-Chen reduced it to a ball of powder. This Spirit Stone is truly extraordinary. Feeling the energy he had just absorbed, Su-Chen smiled with satisfaction. The Golden Lion Tiger Beast had indeed not deceived him. A Spirit Stone of the same size contained 10 times the energy of a raw stone. Su-Chen glanced at the surrounding Spirit Stones. These many Spirit Stones, combined, would be enough for him to evolve to Stage B. It was just a pity. Not only did Spirit Stone absorb energy differently from raw stone, but even mining it was somewhat troublesome. Su-Chen estimated that only evolvers with D-level combat power could successfully mine Spirit Stones. Otherwise, like him, they would be completely unable to obtain any. Luckily, the current strength of the Watcher Alliance was already extraordinary. There were at least 1,000 Transcendents with D-level combat power. When the time came, He Wang and Sun Yuan could dispatch a group to mine Spirit Stones specifically. Su-Chen took Ming-Chi on another tour of the cave, confirming the size of the Spirit Stone mine before returning to the surface. After noting the location of the Spirit Stone mine, he and Ming-Chi returned to the Normadison. Then, they started the engine and left the place they had spent over half a month. A few hours later, Su-Chen returned to the main base in Yucheng. He first went to the administrative area and found the chief's assistant's office. It's just a small matter. I instructed you so many times. Why can't you do it? Tong Fei, dressed in a women's office uniform, sat in the executive chair. She wore delicate gold-rimmed glasses, her pretty face stern as she looked at the several middle-level managers before her. Although she appeared to be a delicate, weak woman, when she got angry, the grown men would not even dare to breathe. Just then, the office door suddenly opened. Who's so incompetent? Tong Fei's eyes widened, and just as she was about to explode in anger, she saw Su-Chen walk in. Her beautiful eyes instantly lit up, and she swallowed back her words. Well, go back and reflect on yourselves, and start over. Tong Fei coughed softly. The others present finally breathed a sigh of relief. After saying goodbye to Su-Chen, they fled the office. After the outsiders left, Tong Fei quickly jumped up from her office chair. She locked the office door and, with a charming smile, slid into Su-Chen's arms. Boss, when did you get back? Just got back, and came to see you, Su-Chen said, walking behind his desk and plopping down in his executive chair. Tong Fei quickly stood behind him, rubbing his shoulders and back attentively. If the middle-level staff had seen this, their jaws would have dropped. The usually cold and stern assistant was now so enthusiastic and proactive in front of Su-Chen. While enjoying Tong Fei's massage, Su-Chen casually asked, Where's Meng Yao? She's out taking care of other things. Su-Chen then inquired about the other women. As Su-Chen's women, Zhou Qing, Zhou Rong, and others could have enjoyed a comfortable life without having to work. But unable to rest, they all found work. Chu Mengyao and Tong Fei were both Su-Chen's assistants. Zhou Rong and Wang Bingyan, both Earth-type psychics, joined the engineering department, responsible for construction. Zhou Qing joined the logistics department, while Lu Linger and Lin Yinging were assigned to the medical department. Xiang Mingming and Zhao Yu were both combat personnel. Not long ago, Su-Chen expanded the security department. Ren Kong headed the security department, while Bai Qianqing served as his deputy, overseeing female security. Where's Lu Guang? Has she come back recently? Su-Chen inquired again about Lu Guang's whereabouts. Chapter 967. No, Sister Lu Guang has been at the bottom of the sea lately. Ever since Su-Chen ordered the Undersea Kingdom to migrate from Atlantis to the oceans of Blue Star, the entire Undersea Kingdom has become extremely busy. Yin Yu and Yi Chen, both military generals, were fine leading troops in battle. As for handling government affairs, it was a bit of a stretch. So Lu Guang has been staying at the bottom of the sea lately, helping Yin Yu carry out Su-Chen's orders. Well, thank you for your hard work lately. After listening to Tong Fei's report, Su-Chen felt a little apologetic. Everyone around him was busy with work, and he seemed to be the only one with the most free time. Hidden away in the mountains and forests, cultivating. It's not hard. I'm just working for the boss. Tong Fei licked her red lips, a seductive smile flashing across her face. If the boss really cares about me, he might as well reward me. Watching her expertly tie her ponytail, Su Chen couldn't help but laugh. Okay, then you do it. He'd been holding it in for over half a month, and his whole body was brimming with fire. Tong Fei smiled seductively and leaned forward. Just then, the office door suddenly opened from the outside. Chu Mengyao, dressed similarly to Tong Fei, rushed in. Seeing Su Chen in the boss's chair, she was startled. Boss, why are you here? Where's Fei Fei? That's not right. You're in the office. Why did you lock it? Before Chu Mengyao could finish her words, she heard an unspeakable noise. Her pretty face flushed crimson, and she chided, Boss, you two, are too uninhibited. Although they were already an old married couple, Chu Mengyao was still the same white moonlight she had been in the past. Su Chen laughed heartily, waved at Chu Mengyao, and pulled Tong Fei up with him. Let Sister Qing, Sister Rong, and the others know there's a family dinner tonight. At the mention of the word family dinner, the two women's eyes grew charming, as if they could draw out silk threads. The family dinner Su Chen was talking about wasn't just a meal together. Got it. I tell Sister Qing, and the others right away. Tong Fei smiled sweetly, and rose from Su Chen's arms. By the time she reached the door, her smile had faded, and she had once again become the condescending assistant she once was. Mengyao, go call Brother He, Brother Sun, and the others over. Su Chen touched Chu Mengyao's face. Okay. Chu Mengyao twisted her slender waist, glanced at Su Chen reluctantly, and left the office. A short while later, He Wang and Sun Yuan arrived. Brother Su, when did you get back? Yes, without even notifying me. Su Chen chuckled. Didn't I tell you already? He paused, then continued. I asked you two to come here because I want you to do something for me. He Wang and Sun Yuan exchanged glances and smiled. Brother Su, you're welcome. We're all your men. Just give us your orders. Well, I was out in the wild a few days ago. Su Chen briefly recounted what had happened 2 weeks prior. The two were stunned. So, Brother Su, you want us to find some people to mine spirit stones? Yes. Su Chen nodded. The value of spirit stones far exceeds that of raw stones. To prevent leaks, trustworthy individuals must be selected. Old members of the Tiger Gang, like He Wang and Sun Yuan, are naturally loyal. Although their strength is a bit weak, they are more than capable of mining spirit stones. This task is not difficult, and they are the perfect people to hand it over to. No problem at all, leave it to us. He Wen patted his chest and agreed. I organized Zhou Xinhong, Li Dong, and the others to go to the location you mentioned, Brother Su, to mine spirit stones. Okay, then I leave it to you too. Su Chen smiled. After chatting for a while, they stood up and left the office. Brother Su. Brother Chen. As Su Chen left the office, he saw Wang Yin, Ding Di, and the others running towards him excitedly. They had just learned of Su Chen's return, and had immediately come to meet him. Look at you, you told us even after you came back. Yeah, you really disappointed us, brothers. Wang Yin and Ding Di looked aggrieved. Come on, stop messing around. Su Chen scolded with a smile. Wang Yin chuckled, as if remembering something, and hurriedly asked, by the way, where's Meng Qi? Why can't I see her? She's in the car, and I was just about to let her out. Come with me. Meng Qi had changed so much that, to avoid startling others, Su Chen didn't bring her down right away. Okay, let's go together. Wang Yin and Ding Di nodded with a smile. And so, the group headed towards the Normadison parking lot. Ah Yin, old Ding, do you know Baihu? Su Chen then asked. What he didn't notice was that upon hearing the word White Tiger, Wang Yin and Ding Di were stunned for a moment, then exchanged glances. Their expressions became strange. White Tiger. Of course I know, but it's not very common, right? Wang Yin whispered. Yeah, generally speaking, white tigers are a bit ominous. Ding Di agreed. Su Chen didn't think much of it. After all, in mythology, the white tiger is associated with killing and represents bad luck. I show you the legendary white tiger later, Su Chen said with a smile. Huh? Wang Yin and Ding Di were both a little confused. No, Brother Su, it's in broad daylight. Isn't that inappropriate? Yeah, shouldn't something like this be done secretly? Listening to the two's words, Su Chen frowned. What nonsense are you two talking about? Then he realized something and said with a mixture of laughter and tears, What are you two thinking about? I'm showing you the real white tiger. Su Chen, who had already reached the car, opened the door. As the door swung open, a white figure darted out, Wang Yin, and Ding Di were startled. When they came to their senses, they realized it was Ming Qi. However, compared to before, Ming Qi was now completely white, almost identical to the legendary white tiger. Then they suddenly realized, this white tiger isn't what I imagined. I thought it was just some kind of white tiger, but it turns out to be a real one. Su Chen shook his head, somewhat angrily saying, you two bastards, your heads are full of dirty thoughts. That's right, that's right. Although she didn't know why Su Chen was scolding Wang Yin and Ding Di, Ming Qi agreed. Su Chen and Ming Qi met He Wang, Sun Yuan, Zhao Man, and the others. Everyone was astonished by its transformation. Time flew by, and it was evening. Su Chen didn't have dinner with He Wang, Sun Yuan, and the others, but returned to Normadison. Chapter 968. Except for Lu Guang, who was far away in the ocean, all the other women had gathered. When they saw Ming Qi transformed into a white tiger, they were both surprised and delighted, surrounding her and petting her non-stop. Ming Qi lay on the floor, belly exposed, allowing them to pet her. She squinted her eyes in pleasure. Watching this harmonious and friendly scene, Su Chen also smiled with joy. Just as they were enjoying this rare moment of warmth, the rapid ringing of his communicator shattered the silence. Su Chen frowned slightly, and picked up the communicator. Hello? Boss Su, it's me, Xiao Luo. Luo Xiaotian's voice came through the communicator. Just received news from the Yu family army that the Riyao people have invaded Beitu province. Su Chen raised an eyebrow, pondered for a moment, and said in a deep voice, go and call all the senior executives to the conference room for a meeting. Yes, Boss Su. Luo Xiaotian replied and hung up. Boss, what happened again? Tong Fei looked at Su Chen with concern. The Riyas have attacked Beitu province. The Watcher Alliance and the Riyas have a deep hatred. The women knew the matter was serious, so they said nothing. Lin Yingying even came over and helped Su Chen put on his coat. After Tong Fei and Chu Mengyao were dressed, Su Chen took them to the meeting room. When the three of them arrived, Zhao Man, Luo Xiaotian, He Wang, Sun Yuan, and the others were already seated. Seeing Su Chen enter, everyone immediately stood up. Hello, Chief. Everyone, please take a seat. Su Chen waved his hand and sat down. After everyone was seated, Su Chen said softly, I'm sure everyone has heard about the Riyaz attack on Beitu province. What are your thoughts? Tell us. I think this is a bit strange, Zhao Man said solemnly. If I remember correctly, the leader has arranged for the Undersea Kingdom to keep an eye on the Kingdom of Ria. If the Ria people said troops, we would have received the news immediately. Luo Xiaoyan nodded. Yes, the regent didn't send any alarm. Su Chen stroked his chin and pondered. You have a point, but Ria Island is so big. It's normal for the Undersea Kingdom people to make mistakes. I have Governor Gao Fei ask the regent later. Let's assume for now that this is true. What should we do? Wang Yin said without hesitation. Needless to say, we must help the Yu family army. Haha, Yin, are you really in love with Sister Yu? Ding Di teased. Bullshit. Wang Yin glared at him and said seriously, we're almost allies with the Yu family army. If we don't help our allies now, they definitely not come to our aid when we're in danger later. Most importantly, it's the Riyao people who are attacking them. Although the others remained silent, their expressions suggested they were in agreement with Wang Yan's statement. If the attack on the Yu family army had been by the Brotherhood, the Mingyuan group, or even the Leaders' Alliance, then it would have been understandable for the Watchers' Alliance to stay out of it, or perhaps even take advantage of the situation and reap the benefits. After all, this was an internal conflict. But if the Riyao people intervened, that was a different matter. We can fight our own people however we want, but how can we allow external forces, especially the Riyao people, to bully our own people? That's true, but we should always be cautious. Zhao Man whispered a warning. Su Chen tapped the table lightly, and after a moment, he made up his mind. Ian and Captain Zhao both make sense. So I decided to send an elite team to support the Yu family army. This way, we can both make our stance clear and observe the situation, and see what's going on. Su Chen's decision was perfectly appropriate. It wouldn't discourage our allies, nor would it put the Watchers' Alliance in danger. But selecting the members for the elite team posed a challenge. Boss Su, you and Brother Zhao will stay at the base, and I lead the team to support the Yu family army. Luo Xiaoyan volunteered. Although the Yu family army had been extremely friendly to the Watchers' Alliance, but ultimately, Su Chen and the others didn't know much about them. The members of the elite team would be risking their lives. Su Chen was somewhat touched by Luo Xiaotian's willingness to volunteer. I'm going too. Me too. Take me with you. Several others volunteered. Okay, then you lead the team, Xiao Luo, and everyone else will follow. If you need anything, just let Assistant Chu and Assistant Tong know. Su Chen said slowly, but don't worry, I won't leave you alone. I'll be ready with Captain Zhao and the others to support you at any time. That would be great. Luo Xiaoyan smiled and nodded. There was no time to lose. After confirming the team members, Luo Xiaoyan immediately collected his equipment and prepared to head to Beitou province with the others. Rest assured, Boss Su. We will absolutely not bring shame to you or the organization. Luo Xiaoyan said solemnly. It doesn't matter if it's embarrassing or not. I just hope you all return safely. Su Chen patted Luo Xiaoyan on the shoulder and looked towards the members of the elite team. These people are the backbone of the alliance guarding this place, and they have Su Chen's deep trust. Boss Su, we're leaving. Luo Xiaoyan waved to Su Chen and led the way into a nearby car. The other members followed suit. Soon, a convoy of more than a dozen vehicles departed the base, disappearing into the night. I hope everything goes well for them. Boss Su, let's go back and rest. Zhao Man looked at Su Chen. Rest? We can't rest. Su Chen shook his head. Go get everyone else. We have to leave before dawn. Huh? Zhao Man was stunned. Are we ready to support them at any time? That's true, but how can we support them from so far away? Su Chen smiled faintly and pointed at Normadison beside him. Zhao Man suddenly understood. Beitou province. Shicheng. The Yu family army had long since cleared the city of monsters and zombies and established it as their base. But contrary to the Overwatch Alliance's expectations, there was little tension in Shicheng. In the large flat at the top of a skyscraper in the city, Sister Yu was slurping sweet potato vermicelli noodles. See you, how's it going? Has the news been released? Just then, Old Kwai strode in. It's already been released. Sister Yu put down her chopsticks and wiped her mouth. Chapter 969. I'm not saying anything, Old Kwai, but is your method effective or not? Don't worry, as long as Su Chen has even a hint of patriotism, he'd definitely be fooled. Old Kwai let out a smug smile. That's good. Anyway, we just follow your instructions and be done with it. Sister Yu stretched and stood up. Old Kwai's gaze subconsciously fell on Sister Yu's thick legs, clad in black silk stockings, and her large, delicate feet. His breathing became heavy. Although they were already an old married couple, the sight of Sister Yu's delicate feet still made him feel a little overwhelmed. You want it, Old Kwai? Then let's go! Sister Yu said, and she lifted Old Kwai up by the waist. Just as the two were about to engage in a passionate exchange, a phone call came in. Ding-ling-ling. Sister Yu picked up the phone and saw it was Shinri. Never mind that for now. Let's get down to business. No, didn't you ask Shinri to contact Su Chen? Old Kwai quickly extricated himself from Sister Yu's embrace and gestured for her to answer the phone. Sister Yu had no choice but to pick up the phone. Hello, Shinri, it's me, your Sister Yu. Okay, I got it. After hanging up, Sister Yu's expression grew grave. What's wrong, Xiao Yu? Old Kwai realized something was amiss and hurriedly asked. Someone from the Overwatch League is here. Isn't that a good thing? The problem is, Su Chen isn't among them. Old Kwai, however, wasn't disappointed. Instead, he chuckled. Su Chen's absence is perfectly normal. If he had, that would have been a bit unusual. The problem is, if he doesn't come, our plan. Sister Yu said worriedly. According to the intelligence we received, Su Chen is quite cunning. Old Kwai stroked Sister Yu's thick, black silk-clad legs and said with a smile, given his personality, he'd have to wait until we're completely defeated by the Rions. Otherwise, he'd never show up in person. Sister Yu frowned. Then what should we do? Don't worry, I already considered this, and have a detailed plan with Inoue Shinji. Old Kwai smiled smugly. Even if Su Chen is as cunning as a ghost, he'd have to drink your footbath, Xiao Yu. Forget it, I won't let him drink my footbath. Thinking of Su Chen's handsome face, Sister Yu couldn't help but lick her lips. Seeing this, Old Kwai felt a little annoyed. He didn't say much, simply saying to Sister Yu, Shinri said they're outside the city. Let's pack up and go meet the Watchers. Don't worry, it's still early. You only have 5 minutes anyway. Sister Yu laughed and picked up Old Kwai again. 10 minutes later. In front of the reception building. Sister Yu, with a beaming face, and Old Kwai, with Xin Yu, Xin Xing, and other high-ranking members of the Yu family army, waited at the entrance. Soon, a convoy of vehicles arrived from a distance. The car in front was driven by Shinri, leading the Watchers' convoy behind. The convoy stopped in front of the reception building. Shinri, Luo Xiaotian, Wang Yan, and others emerged from their cars. Captain Luo, thank you for your hard work. Sister Yu quickly stepped forward and shook hands with Luo Xiaotian. I just wanted Shinri to say hello to Brother Su. I didn't expect Brother Su to be so polite as to send you here. Luo Xiaotian smiled. Sister Yu, you're too polite. The Riots are our common enemy. Since they dared to invade Beitou province, we, the Watcher Alliance, naturally can't sit idly by. Captain Luo is right. We are all descendants of Yin and Huang. Old Kuai stepped out from behind Sister Yu and shook hands with Luo Xiaotian, also smiling. My name is Kuai Hui, Xia Yu's husband. You can just call me Old Kuai. After exchanging pleasantries, Sister Yu and Old Kuai led Luo Xiaotian and the others into the reception building. Inside the hotel room, Sister Yu had already arranged a banquet. As soon as they sat down, Luo Xiaotian eagerly said, Sister Yu, we only know that the Riots have invaded Beitou province, but we don't know the specific circumstances. Please ask Old Kuai to explain it to us. Well, you just arrived. Let's eat first. Sister Yu waved her hand. Food isn't important, the Ria people are. Luo Xiaotian said seriously. Seeing him like this, Old Kuai took the initiative. Okay, since Captain Luo takes it so seriously, let me tell you in detail. According to Old Kuai, the Rias had contacted the Yu family army long before Kurikawa Makoto attacked Dompan province. They expressed their willingness to form an alliance with the Yu family army and support their dominance over Yen country. But we're all Yen countrymen. How could we possibly collude with the Rias? Sister Yu sneered, so Old Kuai and I rejected the Rias' proposal without hesitation. In rejecting the Rias, Sister Yu and Old Kuai also killed their messenger. Such an action naturally angered the Riots. Due to the drastic climate change and harsh environment, Beitou province was unsuitable for landing operations. So the Riots set their sights on Dompan province. This led to Kurikawa Makoto's subsequent attack on the Watcher Alliance with 2 warships. After Kurikawa Makoto's troops were completely annihilated, the Riots seemed to realize that the Watcher Alliance, led by Su Chen, was far more formidable than the Yu clan army. So, the Riots once again set their sights on Beitou province. This time, they were fully prepared, concentrating their forces in Goryeo. Then, taking advantage of the darkness, the Rians crossed the sea in one fell swoop and landed. By the time we discovered them, they had already built fortifications. We originally planned to organize our forces and launch a counterattack. But our strength was inferior to theirs, and we were repelled. Fortunately, the Rians didn't advance rashly. They simply built fortifications along the coast and waited for reinforcements. Old Kuai slowly recounted the events. So that's why our men on the seabed didn't notice them. Wang Yan suddenly understood. Men on the seabed? What do you mean, brother? Old Kuai quickly grasped the message in Wang Yan's words and asked casually. Luo Xiaotian kicked Wang Yan and then laughed. He's wrong. We deployed a number of forces at sea to monitor the movements of the Rias. But Old Kuai didn't believe his words. If the Watcher Alliance had deployed forces at sea, there's no way the Rias Navy wouldn't have noticed. This information is crucial. I must report it to Inoue Shinji, Old Kuai thought to himself. Having said that, we must strike back against the Rias immediately. We can't let them gain a foothold. Luo Xiaotian said seriously. Chapter 970. We already considered what Captain Luo said. Old Kuai said slowly. Even if you don't come today, we plan to organize our forces and launch a counterattack against the Rians tomorrow. In that case, count us in for tomorrow's operation. Luo Xiaotian said with a smile. Having the Watchers Alliance help us is truly fantastic. Sister Yu laughed heartily. After a few more pleasantries, Old Kuai instructed Shinri to take Luo Xiaotian and the others to rest. After everyone else left, Sister Yu looked at Old Kuai. Old Kuai, what do we do next? We need to lure Su Chen out. Old Kuai smiled confidently. I already arranged everything. I'm not afraid Su Chen won't take the bait. Captain Luo, Sister Yu and Old Kuai both attach great importance to your arrival. They repeatedly told me to treat you well, Shinri said with a chuckle. He led Luo Xiaotian and his group to the specially assigned room. Sister Yu is so polite. Looking at the magnificent room, Luo Xiaotian couldn't help but feel flattered. You're welcome, you're welcome. It's only natural. Shinri waved his hand. Luo Xiaotian exchanged glances with Wang Yan and coughed softly. We're about the same age, so I call you Old Shin. Okay, I won't be polite either. I just join them in calling you Little Luo. Shinri also smiled. We're not particularly concerned about treatment this time. We're more concerned about repelling the Rians. Luo Xiaotian said solemnly. Yes, Old Shin. You don't know, our ancestors all have a deep hatred for the Rians. Wang Yin echoed. Hearing this, Shenri's expression grew serious. Then we're almost there. My grandfather's father and brothers all died at the hands of the Rians. His tone was passionate, his eyes filled with hatred for the Rians. I never expected that after so many decades, the Rians would invade our Yin nation again. How despicable. After a few moments of sighing, Luo Xiaoyan asked, Old Shen, do you know anything else about this Rian invasion? Well, I really don't know. Shenri shook his head. I wasn't responsible for fighting the Rians, so I don't know any more than you do. Alright then. Luo Xiaoyan nodded and didn't ask any further questions. After Shenri left, Wang Yin impatiently said, Xiao Luo you. Shoo. Luo Xiaoyan gestured to Wang Yin to silence him. He then took out a small instrument and began to inspect the room. After confirming there were no bugs, he said sternly, Yin, I'm not saying anything bad about you, but your awareness is terrible. It's my fault, it's all my fault. Wang Yin quickly apologized. I just didn't see the Yu family army as bad guys, so I let my guard down. And they probably wouldn't have guessed the existence of Atlantis. That being said, you can't be careless. Don't forget what Boss Su told you before you left. Luo Xiaoyan said seriously. Yes, of course I remember that. Wang Yin nodded immediately when Luo Xiaoyan mentioned Su Chen. At that moment, Luo Xiaoyan's communicator suddenly rang. He picked it up and was stunned. The caller was none other than Su Chen. Hello, Boss Su? It's me, Xiao Luo. Su Chen's steady voice came from the other end. No, Boss Su, how did you contact us? Luo Xiaoyan was bewildered. You have to remember that a normal communicator has a range of only a few dozen kilometers. Even a reinforced one only has a range of a little over 100 kilometers. The distance between Yuqing and Shicheng is definitely over 200 kilometers. Don't worry about that. Su Chen chuckled. How was your meeting with Sister Yu and the others today? It went pretty smoothly. Sister Yu and Old Kwai are fine. Luo Xiaoyan replied. Especially after my interactions with his subordinates, like Shenri, I discovered they also deeply detest the Rya people. I already agreed with Sister Yu to launch an attack on the Rya people tomorrow. After listening to Luo Xiaoyan's report, Su Chen nodded on the other end of the line. Okay, go ahead, but one thing, be careful about your own safety. No problem, Boss Su. After ending the call, Su Chen looked at Xiaoman, Xiang Mingming, Du Cheng, and the others around him. What do you think? At this point, Su Chen and his group were less than 30 kilometers from Shicheng. After Luo Xiaoyan and the others set off, Zhao Man assembled the elite transcendents from the main base and boarded Su Chen's Normadison. After numerous upgrades, the space inside the Normadison was now no less than that of a small military base. Not including the main room where Su Chen and the women lived, the guest rooms alone, for outsiders, were large enough to accommodate hundreds of people. After activating the stealth function, Su Chen drove the Nomadison and, leading the Watchers, infiltrated Beitu province unnoticed. From what Xiao Luo said, the Yu family army should be fine, Zhao Man said slowly. But we can't be so arbitrary. Let's see how tomorrow's battle with the Riots pan out. I think so too. Su Chen leaned towards Luo Xiaoyan's assessment. After all, as fellow Yin people, they should unite in the face of national challenges, especially the Riots invasion. But Su Chen had suffered too many setbacks, and decided to proceed with caution. The next morning, Luo Xiaoyan, Wang Yin, and the others were called by Shenri. As they finished washing up and arrived outside the reception building, they found Sister Yu and her men already armed and ready for battle. Captain Luo, let's get in the car. Sister Yu waved, signaling Luo Xiaoyan and Wang Yin to follow her. The three of them boarded the front tank 300, while the rest of the group boarded other vehicles. As the car started, Sister Yu pulled out a map of Beitu province. The Ryas landed at this port and expanded outward, occupying this very area. Beitu province has a large port on the coast. According to Sister Yu, the Ryas raided this port and then advanced outward. 2 small towns and a logistics transfer station outside the port have already fallen. So what's our mission today? Luo Xiaoyan asked softly. Recapture this logistics transfer station. Sister Yu said seriously, if we have time, we continue our assault on the 2 towns with lightning speed. Ideally, we recapture both towns and the logistics transfer station. Chapter 971. The convoy soon arrived less than 10 kilometers from the logistics park. Considering the possibility that the Ryas might send spies, the convoy stopped here. Everyone disembarked and formed up. This time, Luo Xiaoyan brought over 70 people to support the Yu family army. The Yu family army, including Sister Yu, dispatched over 200. The combined forces totaled 300. Despite the small number, they were all C-rank transcendents, with almost no D-rank. The few D-rank transcendents that remained were mostly specialized beings with special abilities, like healing. As humanity's level of evolution increases, C-rank transcendents naturally reach the pinnacle of combat power. D-rank transcendents are far superior to C-rank transcendents, and can essentially only serve as support on the battlefield. According to Sister Yu's intelligence, the Riyaz had arrived with approximately 1,000 or so people. But more than half of them were D-rank transcendents, posing no significant threat. The remaining C-rank transcendents were the ones we truly needed to guard against. However, the Riyaz occupied 4 strongholds, and their forces were dispersed. The logistics transfer station the Yu family army and the Watcher Alliance were targeting had only about 100 men. It's 300 to 100, and the advantage is mine. Sister Yu glanced at the crowd and shouted, "Everyone joining the battle today has a grudge against the Riyaz. I won't waste any more time on this nonsense. I hope you won't bring shame to the Yin people. Let's go!" With those words, Sister Yu rushed out, machete in hand. The 3 Shinri brothers, and the rest of the Yu family army followed closely behind. Luo Xiaotian and Wang Yan, naturally unwilling to be outdone, hurried after them. For transcendence, a distance of less than 10 kilometers wasn't considered far. But in the blink of an eye, they had charged across the highway. Before they even approached the logistics park, they could see a sentry box not far ahead. A dozen Riots were patrolling the perimeter. The most glaring sight was the plaster flag hoisted high above the sentry box. "Fuck you." Shinri's eyes instantly turned red. "Xinxing, what are you doing? Take that flag down." The third brother, Xinxing, remained silent, his face stern as he activated his superpowers. Boom! 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 3 meteors plummeted from the sky, slamming into the sentry box. The Riots in the sentry box reacted quickly, immediately unleashing their defensive powers. Boom! 3 flaming meteors slammed fiercely into a massive ice shield. Fire and water intertwined, sending smoke billowing into the air. Both sides were obscured from view. But this, in turn, facilitated the Yin people. Sister Yu charged forward, and the 2 Riyaz tried to resist. But she swung her machete, slashing them to the ground. The Riya Esper cursed and summoned an ice shield to block her. Sister Yu slashed, but found she couldn't break the shield. Her face darkened, and she shouted, "Big foot!" As soon as she finished speaking, Sister Yu's right foot swelled dramatically. Sister Yu already had a pair of large feet, and this expansion was even more dramatic. She lifted her right foot high and stomped heavily on the Riya Esper, including Riya, the psychic with an ice shield for protection, and the 2 nearby evolvers. Even this sentry box was crushed by Sister Yu's powerful foot. When Sister Yu's powerful foot vanished, the original sentry box was gone. Sister Yu is so powerful. Sister Yu is awesome. The Yu family army members nearby couldn't help but cheer. Luo Xiaotian and Wang Yan exchanged a glance, their faces turning slightly odd. If they were right, Sister Yu had just used a martial art. But they had seen many martial arts, but none as bizarre as Sister Yu's. "Stop flattering. Get inside. Get moving." Sister Yu called out to everyone, rushing towards the logistics park. After goods arrive at the port in Beitou province, they are first shipped to this logistics park, where they make a brief stop before being shipped across the country. As a result, the logistics park is filled with various containers and several warehouses. Not far away lay the park's office area. The Riyaz had already received news of the attack and were pouring out of the office area. When enemies meet, jealousy reigns supreme. Without further ado, the 2 sides immediately engaged in a bloody battle. Although the individual strength gap wasn't significant, the Yu family army and the Watcher Alliance held the advantage in numbers. The Riyaz were quickly losing ground, with men falling to the ground one after another. Seeing the situation becoming dire, the Riyaz decided not to continue the fight. They retreated, fighting and retreating, toward the shipping container. "Go to hell." Sister Yu slashed a Riyaz down with her sword, and wiped the sweat from her face. Seeing the retreating Riyaz, she turned and said, "Captain Luo." "What's wrong, Sister Yu?" Luo Xiaotian disengaged from the battle, and quickly approached Sister Yu's side. "Look, the Riyaz are retreating towards the container area." Sister Yu pointed to a nearby area and said gravely, "I think they're trying to use the terrain over there to escape. You and Shinri lead your men to pursue them. We must capture them all. I lead our men to search the office area to ensure no one escapes." In the previous battle, the Yu family army, including Sister Yu, killed a large number of Riyaz. Similarly, many of their own men also died at the hands of the Riyaz. Luo Xiaotian's suspicions about the Yu family army had long since vanished, so, after hearing Sister Yu's words, he said without hesitation, "Don't worry, Sister Yu, I will never let the Riyaz go." "That's right. If they escape, Sister Yu, you hold me responsible." Shinri nodded in agreement. Without hesitation, the two of them immediately led their men in pursuit of the Riyaz. Gazing at the battlefield not far away, Sister Yu's honest and cheerful face revealed a smile of triumph. She led the remaining dozen or so trusted personnel into the adjacent office area. Sister Yu's analysis seemed correct. The Riyaz had indeed entered the container area. The terrain here was complex, so Luo Xiaotian and Shinri, the team leaders, had to slow down to avoid being ambushed by Lao Lu, who was hiding in the shadows. A Riyaz attacked Luo Xiaotian from the shadows. But Luo Xiaotian, already wary, dodged the attack. Then, with his blood-steel blade, mercilessly slashed at the attacker. The Riyaz fell slowly to the ground. Not bothering to disrupt the battlefield, Luo Xiaotian and the others quickly rushed out of the container area and saw the remaining dozen or so Riyaz had taken refuge in a large warehouse not far away. "Chase them. Don't let them escape." Shinri gripped his weapon tightly and strode after them. Chapter 972. Watching Xinxing chase the Riyaz people into the warehouse, fearing he might be in danger, Luo Xiaotian, Wang Yin, Xinxing, Xinyu, and the others followed him. Pushing open the heavy warehouse door, everyone filed inside. But to their surprise, the warehouse was so quiet that you could hear a pin drop. The Riyaz people who had entered earlier had vanished without a trace, as if they had never been there. "Old Shin, where are they?" Luo Xiaotian asked Shinri, who entered first. "I don't know. I didn't see any of them when I came in." Shinri shook his head. Luo Xiaotian frowned slightly and whispered, "Everyone, be careful. They might be plotting a trick on us." The group formed 3 rows and slowly advanced deeper into the warehouse. The warehouse was already filled with a lot of goods. After the apocalypse, many people had come here to search for supplies. The entire warehouse was in ruins. Combined with the lack of lighting, the warehouse was pitch black, with some areas barely visible. Just as everyone entered the depths of the warehouse, a sudden bang sounded from behind. They all froze, instinctively turning their heads to look. The warehouse door at the back had been slammed shut by someone. As the last remaining light vanished, the warehouse grew darker. For a moment, most people were a little nervous. "Don't be afraid," Shinri quickly spoke, reassuring everyone. "Sister Yu and the others are over at the office area. They be here soon. Besides, there are only a dozen or so Riyaz. We don't have to be afraid of them." Hearing this, everyone felt a slight sense of peace. Then, the next moment, the lights inside the warehouse suddenly flickered on. The blinding white light forced Shinri, Luo Xiaotian, and the others to close their eyes and shield their eyes with their hands. After adjusting to the brightness inside the warehouse, they looked up and gasped. The warehouse was practically full of Riyaz. Shinri, Luo Xiaotian, and their group were practically surrounded. Most of these Riyaz were dressed in black night clothes, looking almost identical to the legendary ninjas. "Stupid Chinese!" A scornful voice rang out from above. The Yin people looked up and saw a Riyaz with a small mustache standing at the railing on the second floor of the warehouse. He wasn't tall, but his expression was quite arrogant. He looked at Shinri, Luo Xiaotian, and the others with a look of disdain. "Who are you?" Luo Xiaotian asked gravely. "I am Inoue Shinji, a genin of the Black Dragon Society." Inoue Shinji said coldly, "You've fallen into our trap. If you don't want to die, lay down your weapons and surrender. We will treat prisoners well." The third brother, Xinxing, cursed angrily, raised his hand, and summoned a fireball, which slammed into Inoue Shinji. Inoue Shinji made no attempt to dodge. Instead, a mocking smile played on his face. The nearby Rhea Psychic immediately summoned a defensive shield, blocking Inoue Shinji's path. "You're asking for your own death." Inoue Shinji nodded to his men. Then the lights in the warehouse instantly turned off. The Yin people, once again in darkness, were momentarily blinded. At the same time, the Riyaz launched an attack. Swoosh! 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 Accompanied by subtle noises, the Riyaz swords and supernatural powers continuously attacked Shinri, Luo Xiaotian, and the others. From the outset of the battle, the Yin people, not adept at fighting in the dark, suffered several casualties. The remaining people were also in a state of panic, feeling that they were surrounded by the enemy on all sides. Xinxing, Lu Rini Xiaobingjia, light. Shinri swung his long sword, making the surroundings impenetrable. Xing finally came to his senses and immediately summoned several fireballs, which floated in the air. The others either summoned balls of light or lightning. The darkness of the warehouse finally began to light up. However, the warehouse was so large, and with so much goods piled up, the light they summoned could barely illuminate a small area. Further away, it was still pitch black. To prevent a surprise attack from the Ryas, everyone formed a circle, back to back. As for the psychics, Xing, Lu Rini, Xiaobingjia, and others, they were placed in the center of the circle. Foolish and incompetent Chinese, you don't deserve to occupy such a vast land. Inoue Shinji's voice echoed from the darkness, but it sounded vague and erratic. Bullshit! Shinri couldn't help but curse. But then, several dark figures swiftly emerged from the darkness. Their ninja swords mercilessly stabbed Shinri. Thankfully, Shinri remained focused, facing the attacking ninjas. He roared, swung his sword with all his might, and repelled all the ninja swords. After missing their first strike, the ninjas had no intention of continuing the fight and quickly retreated back into the darkness. But the rest of the team weren't so lucky. Two of them had no time to dodge, and were stabbed by 2 or 3 ninja swords, their lives seemingly lost. Seeing their companions' tragic deaths, the others were filled with anger and panic. If you're brave enough, come out and fight your grandfather to the death, Shinri roared. Hee hee. Inoue Shinji let out a series of laughs, and then silence fell. The entire warehouse fell into a deathly silence again. But Shinri, Luo Xiaotian, and the others all knew that the Ryans were waiting to deliver a fatal blow. Xiao Luo, what do we do now? Shinri forced himself to calm down, and asked Luo Xiaotian in a low voice. Logically, sister, you should have already searched the office area. Since we've been so slow to get there, she should have brought people to support us. Luo Xiaotian hesitated. Are you saying sister you is also in trouble? Shinri's heart sank. That's the only explanation. Luo Xiaotian sighed. From now on, we can only hope for the best. Shinri cursed angrily upon hearing this. These cunning Ryas are like rats. In a head-on battle, Shinri and Luo Xiaotian's strength would undoubtedly be no less than that of any Rya. But these Ryas refused to engage them head-on. They simply exploited the darkness, launching wave after wave of attacks against Shinri, Luo Xiaotian, and the others. Speaking of which, Ulshin, can you sense them? Luo Xiaotian asked softly. No. Shinri shook his head. Both of them were sea-level fighters, their spiritual awareness already developing. Logically, even in darkness, they should be able to sense the Rya's movements. Chapter 973. But their spiritual senses couldn't detect the movements of the Rya people at all. One could only say that these Rya ninjas were quite something. We have to think of a way. We can't just sit here and wait for death. Shinri looked around warily. Otherwise, they wear us down sooner or later. As he and Luo Xiaotian were talking, the Rya psychics suddenly launched an attack. But they weren't targeting the Yin people. They were targeting the psychics summoned by Shinri, Lu Rini, and the others for illumination. As the warehouse fell into darkness again, the Rya ninjas resumed their merciless slaughter. Old Shin, break out with me. Luo Xiaotian growled, activating his chi refining technique while unsheathing his blood steel blade. Okay, Xing, light us up. Shinri also gripped his weapon tightly, and rushed out after Luo Xiaotian. Xing quickly summoned another fireball, following Shinri and Luo Xiaotian's heads, illuminating them. The two charged forward like tigers descending from a mountain, unstoppable. The Ryans blocking their path didn't dare confront them head-on. After a brief contact, they quickly retreated, hiding in the darkness. Seeing this, Wang Yan, Shinri, Xing, and the others hurried to follow Shinri and Luo Xiaotian. However, after the chaotic battle in the darkness, Shinri and Luo Xiaotian were already dizzy. After charging for a while, they realized they had reached a dead end. Oh no! The two men's hearts sank. At this critical moment, the sharp-eyed Xing suddenly spotted a door in the corner. Brother, go there! Following his direction, Shinri spotted the door and quickly ran over, flinging it open. At this point, the others didn't bother to consider what lay beyond the door. They all rushed in. After everyone was inside, Shinri glanced at the dark warehouse. He gritted his teeth and followed, slamming the door shut behind him. After entering, the Yin people didn't even bother to rest, but hurriedly checked their surroundings. Thankfully, the door appeared to be a small warehouse, empty except for a few miscellaneous items. The group breathed a sigh of relief and plopped down on the ground. But Shinri, the leader, didn't rest. He first assigned a few men to guard the door to prevent the Leah from sneaking in. Then he found Luo Xiaotian and Wang Yan. Xiao Luo, I feel like today's events are very off. I felt that for a long time. Luo Xiaoyan sighed. If I'm not mistaken, there must be a traitor within the Yu family army. According to the intelligence Sister Yu had received, there were only a little over 100 riyas in this logistics park. But just now, there were at least 200 in the warehouse, and this operation was quite secretive. But the riyas had actually set a trap in the warehouse, and deployed a large number of ninjas. If there wasn't a traitor, Shenri and Luo Xiaoyan wouldn't believe it. Once we get out, if I find out who's been a traitor to the riyas, I kill them, Shen Yu said bitterly. There's no point in saying that. Luo Xiaoyan smiled bitterly. The riyas won't let us out. Shenri was slightly startled. Xiao Luo, aren't you being too disheartening? We're all still alive. Let's rest up a bit, then find a way to break out. Luo Xiaoyan sighed and patiently explained, if our previous guesses are correct, why do you think the riyas left us here? Shenri was stunned for a moment, then a chill shot up from his tailbone to his crown. Just now, the riyas had the upper hand, but they only attacked them by surprise, with no intention of annihilating them completely. There was only one possibility. They wanted to surround and attack the reinforcements. There are only two options before us now, Luo Xiaoyan said slowly. Either break out immediately, or hold on here and wait for support from the Yu family army. Shenri didn't answer immediately, but pulled out his communicator. As expected, there was no signal. He glanced at his companions. Originally, there were over 100 people, but now there were less than 60 left, and many of them were injured. Under these circumstances, breaking out would be almost impossible. But if we stay here, no one knows whether Old Kwai will send reinforcements. After hesitating for a long time, Shenri looked at Luo Xiaoyan. Xiao Luo, what do you think? I'm still inclined to wait here, Luo Xiaoyan said softly. Shenri's face was filled with worry. What if Sister Yu meets with an accident, and the Yu family army has no news of us? Don't worry, if the Riots want to surround us and attack the reinforcements, they definitely spread the word, Luo Xiaoyan consoled him. When that happens, Old Kwai will send someone to rescue us. Luo Xiaoyan had a few more words to say, but he kept them to himself. Compared to the Yu clan army, he trusted Su Chen more. If Su Chen couldn't contact him, he would definitely come personally to rescue him, Wang Yin, and the others. Well, alright. Shenri hesitated for a moment, then sighed helplessly, and agreed to Luo Xiaoyan's suggestion. Everyone found a place to sit down and began to gather their strength. Unlike Shenri, Luo Xiaoyan, and the others who were gloomy and frightened inside the warehouse, Inoue Shinji, outside the warehouse, had a look of pride on his face. Sir, those Yin people are trapped inside the warehouse and can't get out, a ninja said respectfully. Very good. Keep a close eye on them, and don't let them escape. Inoue Shinji nodded with satisfaction. Mr. Inoue, how is the situation? Just then, a hearty, deep voice echoed from behind. Inoue Shinji turned around, saw the newcomer, and burst into laughter. Thanks to Sister Yu, they all been captured. Not bad. The person who arrived was none other than Sister Yu, the leader of the Yu family army. No one had expected that it would be Sister Yu who betrayed Luo Xiaoyan, Shenri, and the others. That's great. The next step is to spread the word and lure Su Chen out. Sister Yu laughed heartily. Given Su Chen's character, he certainly won't sit idly by and watch his men perish. As soon as he shows up, Old Kwai and I will lure him here. Then we can team up and take down Su Chen. Then the president will surely reward us handsomely. Hearing Sister Yu's rosy description, Inoue Shinji couldn't help but beam. Oh, by the way, I already reported to the president what Old Kwai told me yesterday. The president takes this very seriously, and has already credited you with a victory. After we defeat the Watchers, I'd probably reward you all. Sister Yu's brows lit up, her face wide with joy. That would be fantastic. Chapter 974. After concluding her conversation with Inoue Shinji, Sister Yu led the remaining group back to Shicheng without stopping. Inside the office, Old Kwai sat in his office chair, fiddling with a pair of white slippers. But unlike ordinary slippers, these were noticeably larger, starting at least a size 45. Just then, the office door opened, and Sister Yu strode in. Old Kwai jumped, instinctively dropping the slippers. But Sister Yu still saw his action. Oh my goodness, Old Kwai, we're already married. Why are you still playing this game? Sister Yu laughed heartily. If you really like it, why don't you just come and touch me? Old Kwai gave a shy smile, and quickly changed the subject. See you, how's it going? It's going smoothly. Sister Yu plopped down in a chair, grabbed her teacup, gulped down a few gulps, and recounted the entire logistics park situation. Old Kwai beamed. Wife, you did a great job. Sister Yu smiled. Then next, let's go notify Su Chen. Yes, leave it to me. Old Kwai nodded, pulled out his communicator, and dialed Su Chen's number. Although Shicheng was quite far from Yuqing, the Yu family army had deployed several signal relay stations along the way, so they could still contact Su Chen. It wasn't long before Old Kwai was able to reach Su Chen. Boss Su, huh? It's me, Old Kwai from the Yu family army. As soon as the call was connected, Old Kwai turned on the speaker, his tone heavy and tense. Oh no! Something terrible has happened. Today we organize our forces, and go with Captain Luo to attack the Riettes. I didn't expect the Riettes to be so cunning, setting a trap. Most of the people were trapped inside the warehouse by the Riettes. Only Sister Yu, despite suffering serious injuries, managed to escape with a dozen people. Watching Old Kwai's superb acting, Sister Yu couldn't help but give him a thumbs up. Old Kwai, you're amazing. Old Kwai gave her a smug look and continued anxiously. Boss Su, what do you think we should do now? In Old Kwai's and Sister Yu's minds, Su Chen would be extremely anxious after learning that Luo Xiaotian, Wang Yin, and the others were trapped by the Riettes. His first reaction would undoubtedly be to personally lead his men to Shicheng to rescue Luo Xiaotian, Wang Yin, and the others. But to their surprise, Su Chen on the other end of the line simply said, I understand. Huh? Old Kwai and Sister Yu were stunned. Not really. Aren't Luo Xiaotian and Wang Yin both your trusted subordinates? They were surrounded by the Rians, and you didn't react at all? Boss Su, it's all my fault. Seeing Su Chen's lack of reaction, Sister Yu frowned and quickly spoke. Feigning serious injury, she spoke in a weak voice, but we must quickly find a way to rescue Captain Luo, Shenri, and the others. However, how about this? Come over here, and we reorganize our forces. However, Su Chen was as determined as a tortoise swallowing a weight. Sorry, I don't have time. As for Luo Xiaotian, Wang Yin, and the others, let them fend for themselves. As soon as he finished speaking, Su Chen ended the call. Beep, beep, beep. Hearing the busy tone from the communicator, Old Kwai and Sister Yu looked at each other, bewilderment written all over their faces. That's not right. Is there something wrong with my tone? Old Kwai frowned. Impossible. Your performance was perfect. Sister Yu shook her head. I think it's because Su Chen is too cold-blooded. It's very possible. It seems we underestimated him. Old Kwai sighed, helplessly saying, how could Su Chen, who has survived the apocalypse until now, be so selfless? Only by being selfish can we avoid danger. Then, what should we do now? Sister Yu asked helplessly. To be honest, I'm stumped. Old Kwai stood up, pacing back and forth. After a moment's thought, he said, let's tell Inoue Shinji about this first, and then we make plans. Okay, that's the only way. Sister Yu agreed to Old Kwai's suggestion. On the other side, in Nor Madison, Su Chen called Xiao Man and the others over, and told him that Luo Xiaotian and Wang Yin were trapped. These Rias are such idiots. Xiao Man couldn't help but curse. Boss Su, we're not really going to sit back and watch Xiao Luo, Yin, and the others do nothing, are we? Su Wenwei asked worriedly. Su Chen rolled his eyes at him. Do you think I'm that kind of person? Of course not. Su Wenwei chuckled. But I don't understand, Boss Su, why did you respond to Sister Yu and Old Kwai like that? The reason is simple, I don't trust them. Everyone was stunned by this. Boss Su, quite a few members of the Yu family army have been trapped by the Rya people. And judging from Sister Yu's tone, she herself has been seriously injured. They should be fine, right? Xiao Man asked, puzzled. That's true, I simply doubt everyone. Su Chen shrugged. But rescuing Xiao Luo, Yin, and the others might be difficult for us alone. Xiao Man's brows knitted into a frown. Currently, the Watcher Alliance has nearly 1,000 C-rank transcendents combined. While that may seem like a lot, remember that the Watcher Alliance has 3 bases. Each base requires a garrison. The elite troops Su Chen could mobilize were only the 100 or so in the car, plus the 70 or so from Luo Xiaotian and Yin. They didn't know the Rya people's situation. But since the Rya people were able to ambush the Yu family army and Luo Xiaotian, their strength must be considerable. The ideal scenario would be to join forces with the Yu family army. But Su Chen didn't trust the Yu family army, which made the situation a bit tricky. Everyone, please be patient. Su Chen smiled. As the saying goes, it's better to remove the firewood from under the cauldron than to try to stop the boiling water by adding more fuel to the fire. Whether Xiao Luo and the others are trapped or captured. What is certain is that the Raya people have set up a tight net at the logistics park, waiting for us to slip in. So we can't go directly to the logistics park. Not going to the logistics park? Everyone was stunned. Then where should we go? Directly here. Suchin pointed to the map on the wall. Zhao Man's eyes widened when he saw the location he was pointing to. Go. To the port? That's right. Suchin nodded heavily. The Raya people would never imagine that we would abandon the logistics park and attack the port directly. So the security at the port is far less secure than at the logistics park. Chapter 975. Once we capture the port, we can not only cut off the Ria's retreat, but also capture prisoners and exchange them for hostages. After Suchin finished speaking, everyone applauded. Boss Su is truly wise. No, boss, that's called both wisdom and courage. Suchin waved his hand. Alright, stop flattering me. Everyone get ready. Let's go! Everyone nodded in agreement. With the roar of its engine, the massive Nomadison took off. It bypassed the stone city and headed straight for the port. To reach the port, it had to pass through the logistics park. As it neared the logistics park, Suchin activated its stealth and flight functions. A pair of wings suddenly emerged from the Nomadison's body. With a sense of weightlessness, the Nomadison slowly ascended into the air, looking out the window at the view below. Zhao Man and the others were amazed. Boss Su's car is truly impressive. He's the boss, after all. It's only natural he has a car like this. In a matter of moments, the Nomadison flew over the logistics park and landed near the port. Suchin quickly maneuvered the RV, slowly landing it on the ground, disabling the flight function. You know, the flight function consumes energy points. Although at his current cultivation speed, he could definitely afford it. But as the saying goes, when you ride a bike to a bar, you should save where you can. After the Nomadison came to a complete stop, Suchin went to the side room. Zhao Man, Su Wenwei, Ding Di, and the others were already prepared for battle. Brother Zhao, take a few people and survey the port. If, as I suspected, the Rayas have no defenses, let's raid here. Suchin ordered. Yes, boss. Zhao Man responded, called a few team members, pushed open the car door, and walked out. Inside the port. As Suchin had expected, the Rayas had never imagined that the Yin people could bypass the logistics park. Thus, the security at the entire port was quite lax. Aside from a dozen or so D-plus strength transcendents on the periphery, who were on guard duty, the rest of the Rayas were resting in the port's office area. After Zhao Man and his men completed their reconnaissance, they reported the situation to Suchin. Suchin nodded slightly. Let's get started. If possible, capture them alive. Yes. Zhao Man called everyone together and approached the port. Linger, you and Ying stay in the car. Meng Meng, take Celia and go with Captain Zhao. Suchin ordered. Yes, boss. The women obediently agreed. Suchin also left Nomadison with Mingqi. On the harbor crane, a Raya Transcendent, bored, leaned against the railing, chatting with his companions via communicator. Xiaofu, everyone else is resting down below. Why are we the only ones so miserable that we have to stay up there? Hey, Nobita, stop complaining. This is for safety, Xiaofu advised. Safety is bullshit. Inoue-sama is with his elite troops at the logistics park. Unless the Yin people have wings, they can't get through. If you ask me, it's our captain who's deliberately targeting us, Nobita said angrily. To his surprise, there was no movement from Sunio. Hey Sunio? Where are you? Nobita frowned, leaning over the railing to look at Sunio. He saw Sunio lying on the ground, surrounded by several uninvited guests, all staring at Nobita. Nobita was horrified and was about to scream when a sharp pain shot through his neck. Then his vision went black, and he passed out. After knocking Sunio unconscious, Zhao Manchong waved to him and said into the intercom, Boss, the outer sentries have been taken care of. Okay, then, go into the office area and arrest the remaining 80 or so Rias. The outer sentries revealed that there were less than 100 Rias in the entire port. The rest of the Rias had either followed Inoue Shinji to the logistics park or were in the other two towns. Zhao Man didn't hesitate. He led Ding Di, Su Wenwei, and the others straight to the office building. Considering that this mission primarily focused on capturing the enemy alive, Zhao Man avoided making a big splash and instead infiltrated quietly. They soon entered the office building. Because the port was located behind the logistics park, and there were also outposts outside, the Riets inside the building had never anticipated an enemy invasion. Whenever they encountered Zhao Man and his group, they were tackled to the ground before they could even make a sound. Advancing floor by floor, Zhao Man and his companions reached the top floor. The hall was filled with over 30 riots. But it was too empty, making it impossible to infiltrate further. Looks like we have no choice but to attack with force. Zhao Man winked at Ding Di. Ding Di nodded knowingly, then raised his hand. Psychic explosion. Invisible energy erupted rapidly from Ding Di's hand, fanning out in a fan-shaped pattern. The riots in the hall were caught completely off guard and struck by Ding Di's psychic force. They froze in their places, their eyes blank. Zhao Man and his evolvers immediately rushed out from their hiding places. Taking advantage of Ding Di's stun, they knocked the riots unconscious one by one. Although Zhao Man and his men were fast enough, many riots still managed to recover from their confusion. It's the Yin people. Kill them! The remaining riots immediately drew their weapons and engaged Zhao Man and his men. However, their numbers were far outnumbered by the Watchers. It wasn't long before they were at a disadvantage. At that moment, a terrifying tiger roar suddenly echoed through the hall. Everyone who heard it, whether members of the Watchers or the least, felt their legs weaken, and an unspeakable fear rose in their hearts. Followed by this roar, a huge silver-white figure suddenly leaped out, and before anyone could react, it tackled two least people to the ground. Those two men didn't even react before their heads were smashed. It was only then that the least people realized that the being before them was a silver-white tiger. Just standing there, it exuded the oppressive presence of a prehistoric beast, especially those lustrous green eyes. Anyone who caught its gaze felt a chill run from the soles of their feet to the top of their heads, their blood freezing. Retreat! A least person, dressed in a black ninja uniform, and seemingly the leader, shouted fiercely. They were already at a disadvantage, and facing such a terrifying white tiger, how could they possibly win? Upon receiving the order, the remaining riots immediately gathered around their leader. Chapter 976. The ninja leader led the remaining riots, fighting and retreating towards the stairs. But under the pursuit of the Watchers and Ming Qi, they still suffered numerous casualties. Just as they were about to retreat to the stairs and escape, a sudden sound of soft footsteps could be heard. Followed by them, a handsome young man slowly ascended the stairs. If not Su Chen, who else could it be? Seeing Su Chen standing in their way, a venomous look flashed in the ninja leader's eyes. Kill him! As soon as he finished speaking, several Ryas rushed towards Su Chen. Facing the aggressive Ryas, Su Chen sneered. He extended his hand, and a long, black gold sword appeared in his palm. White Dou Qi enveloped the long, black gold sword, and he fiercely slashed at the person in front. The long, black gold sword was swift and fierce, and in the blink of an eye, it was in front of the Ryas. The Ryas' heart sank, and he quickly raised his ninja sword, attempting to block Su Chen's attack. However, he had greatly underestimated Su Chen's strength. When their weapons collided, the Rya felt a tremendous force radiating from his weapon. His palm went numb, and the weapon in his hand was directly knocked down by Su Chen. Su Chen's black gold longsword continued its momentum, descending before the Rya's horrified gaze. Crack! The Rya was neatly bisected. Seeing their companion's tragic death, the other Rya's pupils shrank sharply. But they were not afraid. Instead, they became even more frantic. Dragon's might! Su Chen's eyes narrowed. From him, an aura far more powerful than Ming Qi's spread in all directions. The Ryas struck by the attack felt their consciousness blur, and their bodies became extremely stiff. Su Chen casually swung his black gold longsword, taking the lives of several more Ryas. Seeing this, the ninja leader was horrified. This young man. How could he be so powerful? Just then Zhao Man, Ming Qi, and the others from behind also came chasing after them. Hearing the shouts of killing approaching, the ninja leader suddenly became anxious. You guys, help me deal with him. The Ryas he named were dressed in black ninja uniforms like him. The ninja leader, accompanied by 4 ninjas, rushed towards Su Chen at a rapid pace. Just as they were about to enter Su Chen's attack range, they all raised their hands. Several black beads were thrown out in unison. The moment they landed on the ground, the black beads exploded, and black smoke rose up. The smoke quickly spread, shrouding the staircase in darkness. Ninjas, like Inoue Shinji, excel at concealing their presence and attacking from the shadows. The black beads used by the ninja leader were specially developed. When used, they summon black smoke. The black smoke not only completely blocks light, but also shields spiritual perception. Only specially trained ninjas can move freely within the black smoke. Interesting. A sneer curled up Su Chen's lips. At this moment, 2 ninjas had already sneaked up behind Su Chen without anyone noticing. Looking at the defenseless Su Chen, they tiptoed forward. 2 ninja swords silently stabbed Su Chen. Just when they thought they were about to succeed, Suchin suddenly swung his hand and swung back with 2 slashes at lightning speed. The 2 ninjas' exposed eyes revealed disbelief. Then, they slowly fell to the ground, soundless. How is this possible? The ninja leader was shocked. But before he could react, Suchin rushed forward and launched a thunderous attack on the remaining 2 ninjas. The remaining 2 ninjas were also caught off guard by the black smoke, which had no effect on Suchin at all. They fell to Suchin's hands, one after the other. In the blink of an eye, only Suchin and the ninja leader remained in the black smoke. In the past, when the ninja leader was in the black smoke, he was full of confidence, thinking himself invincible. But at this moment, he was utterly panicked. No, this young man must be cheating, otherwise how could he have spotted him? But no matter what, if they wanted to escape, they had to kill Suchin. With this thought, the ninja leader, determined to die, drew his ninja sword and slashed at Suchin. Wind-facing slash. The ninja's sword streaked through the air like a meteor. The path of the slash was a straight line, swift and precise. Even the surrounding black smoke was cut by the wind-facing slash, leaving a clear, empty path. This was a martial art passed down among ninjas, and only exceptional ninjas were qualified to learn it. The ninja leader used this move, intending to fight Suchin to the bitter end. However, his most proud move proved completely vulnerable in front of Suchin. Watching the ninja sword thrust toward him, Suchin simply sidestepped slightly. Whispering the ninja leader's attack, he gently lifted the long, black golden sword in his hand. Just this casual strike prevented the ninja leader from grasping the sword. Clang! The ninja sword flew up, and then landed on the ground. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. At the same time, a strong wind blew in. The surrounding black smoke was instantly blown away by the wind. It turned out that Jiao Man had already led his men to deal with the other Ryans. Seeing the black smoke, Jiang Yu summoned a strong wind, blowing it away. You monster! The unarmed ninja leader stared at Suchin before him, his eyes filled with despair. He was a C-rank transcendent, so why was he so powerless against Suchin? Ding Di, what is he barking about? Suchin asked Ding Di, standing beside him. He said, Brother Chun, you're a monster. Ding Di said with a grin. Considering the need to deal with the Ryas, Suchin specifically had Ding Di learn Rya. Tell him to give up resistance and surrender immediately, and his life will be spared, Suchin said calmly. Ding Di translated his words to the ninja leader. The ninja leader burst into laughter. We Ryas are men of integrity. We won't surrender. He immediately pulled a dagger from his waist and slashed it across his abdomen. Swish. The ninja leader's abdomen was instantly slashed open, and blood gushed out. He staggered and fell backwards. Is this seppuku? Ding Di stepped forward and examined the fallen ninja. TSK, even a demi-human here is quite courageous. Suchin rolled his eyes at him. Hurry and save him. Don't let him die. Although so many Ryas had been captured before, they were probably not as important as this ninja leader. Chapter 977. After all, this ninja leader possesses martial arts skills. Alright. Ding Di responded, quickly taking out a healing agent and injecting it into the ninja leader. The ninja leader struggled, attempting to attack Ding Di, preventing him from healing him. But Ding Di simply raised his hand, and a wave of mental power seized the ninja leader. As the healing agent was injected into his body, the ninja leader's injuries began to gradually improve. Seeing this, Ding Di quickly took out the energy suppressor and placed it on the ninja leader's hand. Not only that, he also took out a ball gag and stuffed it into the ninja leader's mouth. No, old Ding, you have all of these things? You're going overboard, aren't you? Jiang Yu, standing by, couldn't help but tease. I use this to prevent myself from biting my tongue. Ding Di defended himself, facing the ambiguous glances from everyone. But his words were clearly taken as a cover-up. Okay, stop messing around. Suchin raised his hand, hushing everyone's laughter. Clean this place up. If there aren't any scavengers left, we head to the other 2 towns. Yes. Everyone followed Suchin's instructions and immediately took action. After talking to Suchin, Sister Yu and Old Kwai didn't immediately go find Inoue Shinji. The couple felt that Suchin wouldn't be so cold-blooded as to abandon Luo Xiaotian, Wang Yin, and the others outright. So they waited patiently for another hour or 2, but there was still no response from Suchin. Desperate, the couple called Suchin again. But to their dismay, this time, Suchin didn't even answer the call. No, let's go see Mr. Inoue and have a chat. Sister Yu suggested. Old Kwai didn't have any good ideas, so he just nodded and said, okay, let's go. After giving a few instructions to his subordinates, the couple quietly drove out of Shecheng and headed for the logistics park. The logistics park was heavily guarded at that moment. Dozens of visible and covert sentries were stationed outside, making it impossible for even a fly to get in. After hearing his subordinates report that Sister Yu and Old Kwai had arrived, Inoue Shinji in his office raised an eyebrow and said, "Let them in." A moment later, Sister Yu and Old Kwai hurried in. "What can I do for you two? Is that Su-chin kid here?" Inoue Shinji leisurely sipped his green tea. Sister Yu exchanged a glance with Old Kwai and said with a wry smile, "Mr. Inoue, Su-chin probably won't be coming." Hearing this, Inoue Shinji's hand, holding the teacup, paused in midair. His face darkened, his eyes piercing. "What do you mean?" "It's like this." Sister Yu informed Inoue Shinji of Su-chin's attitude. Bang! Inoue Shinji slammed the teacup down on the table and said coldly, "Old Kwai, Sister Yu, you were the ones who devised this action plan. To avoid any mistakes, we, the Ryan nation, sacrificed many warriors. Now you're telling me the plan failed, and Su-chin won't be coming?" Faced with the enraged Inoue Shinji, Sister Yu stammered, unsure what to do. She could only look at her husband with a pleading look. Old Kwai coughed softly and soothed, "Mr. Inoue, calm down. We didn't expect that Su-chin to be so heartless and ungrateful. But we haven't really gained nothing. I already found out. The Watchers you cornered are all Su-chin's closest associates. If we kill them all, it would be a devastating blow to the Watchers." Inoue Shinji was furious. "I don't want to devastate the Watchers, I want to destroy them. Otherwise, how can I explain to the President when I return? As long as we devastate the Watchers, we have the opportunity to destroy him." Sister Yu tried to argue. Inoue Shinji wouldn't listen. He raised his hand and slapped her several times. Poor Sister Yu, tall and strong, didn't even dare to fight back when the shorter Inoue Shinji hit her. As for Old Kwai, he played the role of the incompetent husband. He lowered his head, pretending not to notice. After venting his anger, Inoue Shinji finally calmed down. Su-chin is the core of the Watchers. As long as we can control him, everything will be easy. The President has ordered that if we can capture Su-chin alive, that's best. If we can't, we must kill him. If this method doesn't work, we have to find another way. I give you 3 days. If you can't come up with a solution, you're dead." Hearing this, Old Kwai and Sister Yu grimaced. There are only 2 possibilities to eliminate Su-chin. Either trick him out or launch a full-scale attack on the Watchers. Su-chin has abandoned even his own loyal subordinates. Tricking him into coming to Stone City is nearly impossible. As for launching a full-scale attack on the Watchers, that's also highly unrealistic. Unless the Yu family army can gain strong support from the Ryans. But until they figure out how Su-chin sank Kurikawa Makoto's 2 warships, the Ryans hesitate to send another force across the sea. Just as the couple were scowling, the communicator on Inoue Shinji's desk suddenly rang. After a quick glance, he quickly called to the couple, "It's Mr. Takahashi Tsukasa." The couple quickly shut up. "Mr. Tsukasa, what's up?" Inoue Shinji, who had been arrogant in front of Sister Yu and Old Kwai, was beaming after answering the phone, his tone warm and friendly. But the next moment, his expression changed. "What? You're going too far." Okay. Listening to Inoue Shinji's words, Sister Yu and Old Kwai exchanged bewildered glances. What was going on? Wasn't it Takahashi Tsukasa who was on the phone with Inoue Shinji? The couple had followed Inoue Shinji and had met Takahashi Tsukasa before, so they naturally knew his identity. Takahashi Tsukasa is the younger brother of Sakura Takahashi, the president of the Black Mountain Society. Sakura Takahashi sent Takahashi Tsukasa to Northern Province with Inoue Shinji to train him. After hanging up the phone, Inoue Shinji glared at Sister Yu and Old Kwai, cursing, "You 2 bastards, this is all your fault." The couple, thoroughly scolded, looked stunned. "Mr. Inoue, what happened?" "That kid Su-chin went to the port, and Mr. Takahashi Tsukasa fell into their hands." "What?" Hearing this, the couple was horrified. Takahashi Tsukasa's status was noble, so it went without saying. This time, dealing with Su-chin was both crucial and dangerous. To prevent Takahashi Tsukasa from getting into trouble, Inoue Shinji had him stay at the port. When the matter was almost resolved, he would have Takahashi Tsukasa rejoin him. Chapter 978. This would allow Takahashi Tsukasa to accumulate military merits, and prevent him from being put in danger. However, no one expected Su-chin to appear at the port and capture Takahashi Tsukasa. Besides Takahashi Tsukasa, Su-chin has also captured many of our real warriors. This is all your fault, you 2 Chinese pigs. Sister Yu and Old Kwai were incredibly upset after being pointed at and cursed by Inoue Shinji. You were in charge of the logistics park, yet Suchin still managed to get us to the port. Can we be blamed for this? Old Kwai suppressed his anger and whispered, Mr. Inoue, did Suchin make any demands? Of course he did. Inoue Shinji said coldly. He said that in order to get Takahashi Tsukasa and his men back, we must hand over all the Chinese trapped in the logistics park. This? Old Kwai hesitated. He was still counting on Luo Xiaotian, Wang Yin, and the others to deal with Suchin. Compared to Takahashi Tsukasa and my Real warriors, those Chinese are nothing. Inoue Shinji said impatiently, I send someone to arrest all the Chinese in the warehouse. Okay, I do as you say, Mr. Inoue. Old Kwai nodded helplessly. Then how should our family army cooperate with Mr. Inoue? You guys? Inoue Shinji pondered for a moment, and shook his head. You're not going to be of any use right now, so don't send any out. Alright. Old Kwai agreed readily. At this point, it seemed Suchin probably didn't know that he and Sister Yu were involved in the conspiracy. As long as the Yu family army didn't expose themselves, there would still be opportunities to target Suchin in the future. After conferring, the Old Kwai couple rose and left. After they left, Inoue Shinji immediately gave the order to storm the warehouse. Inside the warehouse, Luo Xiaotian, Shinri, and the others hadn't eaten in a day and a night. Even though they were all top-tier transcendents, they felt a little nervous and their hands and feet were weak. Just then, Wang Yin, who was guarding the door, suddenly heard a slight noise outside. His face darkened, and he said to the crowd, Be careful. It seems someone is coming. Everyone was stunned for a moment before quickly standing up and preparing to meet the enemy. Listen up, Yin people inside. If you give up resistance, I will capture you and return you to Suchin. A harsh voice suddenly rang out from outside. Hearing this, everyone looked at each other in confusion. What did the Lia people mean by this? They know Boss Su's name. Could it be that Boss Su has come to rescue us? Luo Xiaotian asked uncertainly. It's very likely. So should we give up resistance? Wang Yin scratched his head and looked at Luo Xiaotian bewilderedly. No matter what you think, I will never surrender to the Riettes. If they dare to come in, I will fight them. Shinri said solemnly. Me too. And me. Xin Yu, Xin Xing, and the other members of the Yu family army echoed. Just as everyone was hesitating, unsure of what to do, the Riettes outside seemed to have lost their patience. Boom! Accompanied by a violent explosion, the warehouse door flew back. The massive shockwave blew Wang Yin and the others at the door away. Wang Yin spat out dust from his mouth and hurriedly stood up. But the Lias didn't rush to attack. Instead, they used some kind of machine to pump white gas into the warehouse. As soon as the white gas entered the warehouse, the nearest people fell to the ground. Shinri didn't know if this stuff was a hypnotic gas or a poisonous gas. Everyone be careful. Hold your breath. He hurriedly warned everyone, covering their mouths and noses. Everyone followed suit and retreated deeper into the warehouse. A wind-powered user quickly used his powers to try to blow the white gas away. Unfortunately, the Lia people had anticipated this, and, using their own wind powers outside, blew the gas back again. Even if the Yin people were incredibly skilled at holding their breath, they couldn't completely stop breathing. As their endurance reached its limit, more and more people collapsed to the ground. Follow me! Shinri roared, covering his mouth and nose, and rushed out of the warehouse, determined to fight the Lia people to the death. However, as he rushed out of the warehouse, before he could even see what was happening outside, he felt a sharp pain in the back of his head. Shinri's vision went black, and he collapsed to the ground. At the same time, Luo Xiaotian and the others either fainted from inhaling the white gas or, like Shinri, were ambushed and lost consciousness. Soon, all the Yin people in the warehouse collapsed. Only then did the lights inside the warehouse come on. Inoue Shinji and a group of Ryas appeared beside the unconscious Shinri and the others. Check to see if there are any that have slipped through the net, Inoue Shinji instructed calmly. Yes, sir. Several ninjas quickly entered the small warehouse and carried out the Yin people, inspecting them. After ensuring no one was left out, the Ryas led Shinri, Luo Xiaotian, and the others outside. They first took out injections and vials and gave all the Yin people a shot. This was a special potion developed by the Black Mountain Society, similar in function to the energy suppressor invented by the Watcher Alliance. The injected transcendent will lose their connection to the energy crystal for a short period of time, transforming them into ordinary people. After the injections, they produced ropes and handcuffs and bound Shinri, Luo Xiaotian, and the others. Inoue Shinji took out his communicator and called Takahashi Tsukasa. A moment later, the call was connected. Hello, Mr. Inoue. How's everything going? Su-chen's languid voice came from the other end. Inoue Shinji suppressed his anger and gritted his teeth. I'm ready. When do we exchange hostages? Tomorrow at noon. Where? At the harbor. Okay, no problem. Inoue Shinji readily agreed, but then threatened, Su-chen, you better not try anything otherwise. Before he could finish his words, Su-chen hung up the phone. Inoue Shinji's face flushed with anger, and he almost dropped his phone. A subordinate nearby cautiously approached. Sir, should we arrange an ambush for Su-chen? Inoue Shinji's expression shifted, and after a long moment of reflection, he shook his head. Never mind, there's no need. Saving Takahashi Tsukasa is paramount. Although he longed to tear Su-chen into pieces, the safety of Takahashi Tsukasa, Chairman Takahashi's younger brother, was paramount. Chapter 979. Time flew by, and it was the next day. Inoue Shinji gathered all his men. An hour or two before noon, he gave the order to march. Shinri, Luo Xiaotian, and the others had long since regained consciousness. They were roughly crammed into several trucks by the Ryas. As the trucks began to move, they left the logistics park and headed towards the port. Xiao Luo, where do you think these Ryas are taking us? Wang Yan asked nervously. Luo Xiaotian thought for a moment and said, if I'm not mistaken, they're taking us to see Boss Su. Why? Shinri asked, puzzled. Didn't the Ryas say yesterday that they would return us to Boss Su after capturing us? Luo Xiaotian analyzed. Now it seems that what they said is true. Otherwise, they could just kill us. Why go to all this trouble? Everyone nodded in agreement, finding his point quite plausible. Of course, these are just my guesses, and they're not necessarily correct. Despite saying this, Luo Xiaotian still trusted his own judgment. After all, in this situation, only Su-chen could save them. Not long after, the Rya convoy arrived near the port. Out of caution, Inoue Shinji didn't rush in, but instead had his men search the area ahead of him. After confirming that Su-chen wasn't lying in ambush, he led the Rya convoy slowly toward the port. At the port's gate lay a large, flat open space. Inoue Shinji peered inside, but didn't see a single soul. He frowned and called over a subordinate fluent in Yin language. Go in and see what's going on. If you encounter any Yin people, explain your intentions. Yes, sir. The subordinate nodded and headed toward the harbor. However, just as he passed through the gate, there was a sharp whoosh sound. Before anyone could react, they saw the Rya man appear to have been struck by something. His head exploded instantly, and he fell heavily to the ground. Seeing this, Inoue Shinji and the others were shocked and furious. Mr. Inoue, what do you want? With a slow voice, Su-chen appeared at the harbor gate. Following him were Zhao Man, Jiang Yu, and the others. The moment they saw Su-chen and the others, Luo Xiaotian and Wang Yan were like saviors, nearly crying out in excitement. We agreed on a deal, yet you sent someone into the port? Don't you care about Takahashi and the others' lives? Su-chen asked casually, fiddling with his golden bow and silver bullets. I just sent him in to inform you we're here to trade. Inoue Shinji huffed. So he's an envoy? Then you should make him surrender, or else how would I know what he's doing? Su-chen smiled. After all, this is your problem, not mine. Okay. Inoue Shinji choked out a few words, suppressing his anger. I brought everyone here now. How are we going to trade? It's simple. I have over 300 people, almost twice as many as you have. Su-chen said slowly. Let's take it slow. You release one person first, and I release two. What do you think? Inoue Shinji thought about it. This seemed the safest approach. What if your men finally pass through, and my men are still left? Don't worry, I release everyone. Su-chen smiled. Okay, a gentleman's word is as good as gold. Inoue Shinji agreed, nodding to his men. Several ninjas, from among Shinri, Luo Xiaotian, and the others, picked up a member of the Yu family army and brought him to the harbor gate. Sideways, Su-chen also had two Ryans brought over. The two Ryans slowly walked towards Inoue Shinji. The member of the Yu family army also slowly walked into the harbor. After the first hostage exchange was successfully completed, Inoue Shinji finally breathed a sigh of relief. Then came the second and the third. But as the hostages were exchanged one after another, Inoue Shinji's heart began to lift again. Because those exchanged were all other Ryans. Takahashi Tsukasa, the man Inoue Shinji cared about the most, was nowhere to be seen. No rush. Su-chen probably didn't know Si-jun's identity. But Si-jun was clearly the ninja leader, so it made sense that Su-chen would release him last. Inoue Shinji consoled himself. Not long after, The hostage exchange process reached its final stage. On the Rian side, the three Shen brothers, Luo Xiaotian and Wang Yan were still in control. On Su Chen's side, there were still dozens of Rians. Glancing at Luo Xiaotian and the other 5, who had been brought to the front, Inoue Shinji shouted to Su Chen, "Boss Su, as a token of my sincerity, I will release the remaining 5. I hope you keep your promise and release all my men." "I guarantee it, no problem," Su Chen replied flatly. Inoue Shinji finally felt a little relieved and nodded to his men. As Luo Xiaotian and his 4 companions headed toward the harbor, dozens of Ryads also emerged from the harbor across the way. However, their numbers were quite numerous, and for a moment, Inoue Shinji couldn't tell whether Takahashi Tsukasa was inside. When the captured Ryads returned, he hurried forward, "Mr. C. Mr. C." But no matter how he called out, Takahashi Tsukasa didn't respond. "Where's Mr. Takahashi?" Inoue Shinji grabbed the captured Ryad and demanded sharply. "No. I don't know." Inoue Shinji asked several people, but none of them knew Takahashi Tsukasa's whereabouts. His heart sank, and he turned to look at Su Chen at the harbor. "Boss Su, are you forgetting someone?" "Oh right, that ninja named Takahashi Tsukasa you were talking about." Su Chen slapped his head, as if he had just remembered. "Yes, he's my most loyal subordinate. I hope you keep your promise and release him," Inoue Shinji said seriously. "I really like to release him." Su Chen shrugged and sighed, "But he's a special person. I just can't let him go." Hearing this, Inoue Shinji realized that Su Chen had discovered Takahashi Tsukasa's true identity. His face darkened, and he spoke threateningly, "Boss Su, this is not a gentlemanly act. And Tsukasa is President Takahashi's younger brother. If you detain him, will Heishan let you go?" Su Chen burst into laughter upon hearing this. "Sorry, there's no need to be a gentleman when dealing with you, the Rians." Chapter 980. "You bastard." Inoue Shinji was furious. "All is fair in war, don't you understand that?" Su Chen sighed with feigned regret. "You truly live up to your name, utterly foolish." It had come to this. If he couldn't rescue Takahashi Tsukasa and return to Ria, even if President Takahashi didn't say anything, the others would force him to commit seppuku. At this thought, a flicker of determination flashed in Inoue Shinji's eyes. "Come on, prepare to storm the port." He had considered contacting the Yu-Clan army to attack Su Chen together. But he feared delaying the attack and letting Su Chen and Takahashi Tsukasa flee. So, after much deliberation, Inoue Shinji decided to attack directly. Watching the Ria soldiers across the way, preparing to charge in unison, a sneer curled across Su Chen's lips. Jiang Yu arranged for a few people to take Xiao Luo, A Yin, and the others down. At this point, Luo Xiaotian, Wang Yan, and the others were still weak and unable to participate in the battle. If they stayed here, they would only be a burden. Brother Zhao, prepare to meet the enemy. With Su Chen's command, the psychics in the team took the lead. Boom! Crack! Swish, swish, swish! Wind, fire, thunder, and lightning powers danced wildly in the air, fiercely smashing down upon the Riettes. The Riet psychics showed no sign of weakness either. Summoning various defensive powers to protect their own evolvers, they also counterattacked Su Chen's forces. For a moment, the port gates flashed with a dazzling array of lights, a truly spectacular sight. In the blink of an eye, the Riettes had crossed the open space and rushed into the port. Seeing this, Zhao Man and the others, who had been pent up their energy for a long time, roared in unison and charged forward. The battle reached a fever pitch from the outset. Both sides showed no mercy, determined to annihilate the other. After a brief exchange, Inoue Shinji felt a pang of shock. You have to know that the men he had brought with him were considered skilled even within the Black Mountain Society. However, when facing Su Chen and the others, they were actually at a disadvantage. Little did Inoue Shinji know that Su Chen's men were the cream of the crop. Every evolver wielded a blood-steel blade and possessed chi refining techniques. As for the psychics, Su Chen was also generous with his abilities, provided they had the right spells. As a result, their combat effectiveness was definitely at the T0 to T1 level. There was another very important reason. When facing the Ryas, any courageous and resolute young people would automatically receive a special buff. This buff makes them fearless and increases their combat effectiveness by at least 50%. Just as Inoue Shinji was debating whether to retreat, he suddenly heard a tiger roar. The roar was like a dull thunderclap from the horizon, shaking the trees and nearly deafening the humans present. The majesty contained in that voice made the listeners' hands and feet go weak, their courage completely extinguished. A silver-white tiger suddenly charged into the battlefield. It charged left and right as if it were in an empty space, mercilessly slaughtering any Riettes who stood in its way. A few reckless Ryuts tried to stop the white tiger, but it bit down on its body and flung it wildly. By the time it landed on the ground, it was already a corpse. After slaughtering a dozen or so Ryuts, the white tiger stepped on their corpses and roared once more. Seeing its bravery, the remaining Ryuts could hardly hide their fear and instinctively retreated. Inoue Shinji's pupil shrank sharply, and he had given up on fighting any further. Even if Takahashi Tsukasa was finally rescued, his own men would likely be killed or wounded. Besides, given the current situation, let alone rescuing Takahashi Tsukasa, he himself would likely die here. But before Inoue Shinji could order a retreat, his heart skipped a beat as he felt a gust of wind hurtling towards him. Not daring to delay, he swiftly swung his ninja sword. Clang! With a few sparks, the silver bullet fired by Su-chin was deflected by Inoue Shinji. Something! Su-chin, standing not far away, looked at Inoue Shinji and nodded slightly. But Inoue Shinji showed no sign of joy. Instead, his face was filled with heartache. His ninja sword had actually been chipped. I'm going to kill you! Inoue Shinji bent slightly, staring at Su-chin with a fierce look. He pulled several black beads from his waist and smashed them hard into the ground. The other ninjas followed suit. In the blink of an eye, a black mist enveloped the port gate. Is that all you can do? Su-chin held his forehead and sighed helplessly. Ninjas like Inoue Shinji and Takahashi Tsukasa, the black weapons they summoned, and their ability to conceal their presence. It might be effective against transcendents like Xiaoman and Wang Yin, but it was completely useless against Su-chin. After all, he was a monster. Though he was only a C-rank warrior, he possessed a spiritual awareness comparable to that of a B-rank warrior. When Su-chin's spiritual awareness spread, even ninjas like Inoue Shinji, hidden within the black mist, were nowhere to hide. Swish! Su-chin swung his black gold sword fiercely. The single strike even shredded the black mist, directly taking the life of a ninja. The companions beside him stared wide-eyed, their eyes filled with disbelief. The next moment, the black gold sword slashed across, cleaving him in two. The two ninjas, still a few meters away from Su-chin, instinctively retreated. But Su-chin raised his hand, and a burst of silver-white lightning shot out, condensing in the air into a thunderbird. As soon as the thunderbird took shape, it flapped its wings and soared, hurtling towards the two ninjas at breakneck speed. Before they could react, the thunderbird slammed into them. With a blinding blue light and a deafening roar, the two were instantly incinerated. Inoue Shinji nearly collapsed. Is this Su-chin a monster? Not only an evolver, but also a lightning psychic? These ninjas under his command were all at C- level. How could they be like toys before Su-chin, powerless to fight back? But before he could mourn for his companions, Su-chin had already set his sights on him. Enhanced by his wind control technique, Su-chin moved as light as a swallow. The distance of more than 10 meters was reached in an instant. With him came Su-chin's raised black gold longsword. Fortunately, Inoue Shinji, a seasoned warrior, quickly raised his ninja sword, attempting to block Su-chin's attack. However, Su-chin's attack was as powerful as thunder. Even though Inoue Shinji was a genin of the Black Mountain clan, how could he easily block it? Crack! A crisp, breaking sound. Chapter 981. Inoue Shinji's ninja sword was easily slashed by the black gold long sword. The black gold long sword continued its momentum, descending towards Inoue Shinji. His eyes widened, and he shifted his body abruptly, trying to dodge the blow. Though he avoided being cut in two by the black gold long sword, it still struck him from the shoulder. Swish! Inoue Shinji's left arm was cleanly severed at the shoulder. Ah! Intense pain instantly filled his brain, causing him to scream in agony. He stumbled back several steps, his face instantly pale. By then, Jiang Yu had already arranged for Luo Xiaotian and the others and rushed to the battlefield. As the strong wind blew, the black smoke enveloping the battlefield gradually dissipated. Looking at Su-chin approaching him, Inoue Shinji's face was filled with disbelief. Why? You mean, why am I so strong? Su-chin smiled faintly. My Yin country is vast and rich in resources, and has produced countless talented individuals. The culture of your tiny nation was stolen from my Yin country. How dare you covet my Yin country? Hearing Su-chin's taunting, Inoue Shinji's face turned pale. A blinding blue light suddenly erupted from the palm of his only remaining right hand. Countless energies swirled and condensed, forming a blue sphere. It was the Rasengan from the ninjutsu. Go to hell! Inoue Shinji's body moved like lightning, carrying a Rasengan that seemed to destroy everything. The violent force of the Rasengan swept across everything around it, and the momentum was quite astonishing. Su-chin frowned slightly. Sensing the power of the Rasengan, he didn't resist. He raised his hand again, and lightning burst forth from his fingertips. 10,000 thunders. The lightning force quickly condensed into a lightning ball that floated in midair. The ball shot out countless bolts of lightning, targeting Inoue Shinji. Inoue Shinji quickly held the Rasengan in front of him and channeled the energy within him, causing the Rasengan to grow in size and radiance. The Rasengan collided with the 10,000 thunders, emitting a crackling explosion. Although the two were in a stalemate, Inoue Shinji was still at a disadvantage. This was because the Rasengan was a relatively advanced ninjutsu. With his strength, using it was quite a struggle. In just a few breaths, Inoue Shinji's energy was completely depleted. The Rasengan in his hand slowly shrank, its light gradually dimming, and was finally shattered by the lightning from Wan Lei Tian-in. Unable to dodge, Inoue Shinji was struck hard by Wan Lei Tian-in. He shuddered and slowly fell to the ground. "Look, your leader, Inoue Shinji, is dead." Ding Di, standing nearby, hurriedly shouted in Rion. The Rions, caught in the act of fighting, froze for a moment and looked toward Su Chen. Su Chen, with his black and long sword, lifted Inoue Shinji, his body blackened by the electricity, into the air. Seeing their leader's tragic death, all the Rions were instantly in an uproar, but instead of surrendering, they became even more frantic. Revenge for our leader. Abandoning the others, they charged toward Su Chen one after another. "You don't know what death is." Su Chen snorted coldly and leaped up. The two black gold swords drew countless afterimages in the air. Anyone touched by the afterimage would have their limbs and arms and legs set flying. In a short while, scores of Riots were dead at his hands. Zhao Man, Ding Di, and the others on the side watched the slaughter with rapt attention. They had almost forgotten they were even engaged in a fight. Finally, when Su Chen stopped, he was surrounded by corpses. To describe it as a sea of blood and corpses wouldn't be an exaggeration. Huh? Su Chen brushed the blood off his black gold sword and let out a soft breath. Looking at the results of the battle around him, he was quite satisfied. Although Su Chen's evolution was only one level higher than most Riots, it was important to remember that each of his evolutions required far more effort than other transcendents. Not to mention, Su Chen's spiritual awareness was far superior to others. Besides that, he possessed dragon blood and the B-rank spiritual artifact, the Azure Dragon Ring. Although the Azure Dragon Ring lacked any active skills, the energy it purified was 3 times more powerful than Su Chen's own. With all these blessings, it was no surprise that Su Chen could single-handedly defeat 20 or 30 Riyas of lower rank than him. Elsewhere, Zhao Man, Ding Di, Su Wenwei Jiangyu, and others launched a final siege against the remaining Riyas. It must be said, these Riyas were truly fearless. Even when doomed to fail, they fought fervently. In the end, with the help of Su Chen and Meng Qi, all the Riyas present were slain. What a thrill! This battle was truly thrilling. Looking at the Riya corpses strewn across the ground, Ding Di couldn't help but burst into laughter. "Okay, stop standing there like an idiot. Clean up the battlefield," Su Chen ordered. "Okay," Ding Di responded, immediately calling everyone to clean up the battlefield. After the bodies were disposed of, Su Chen led everyone back to the office building. The Shinri brothers, Luo Xiaotian, Wang Yan, and the others stayed there. Seeing Su Chen and the others return, Luo Xiaotian and the others hurriedly stood up. "Boss Su." "Brother Chen." Su Chen nodded slightly. "Everyone, take a seat." "You're welcome." "How are those Riyas?" Shinri asked impatiently after sitting back down. If it weren't for the drug that temporarily disabled him, with his deep hatred for the Riyas, he would have rushed out and fought them. "They're all dead?" Ding Di said with a smile. "What?" Shinri couldn't believe his ears. Inoue Shinji and his men totaled several hundred. Shinri had fought them before and knew they were quite powerful. And yet, in just a few moments, all those Riyas were dead? Although those Riyas had some strength, they were no match for Boss Su. Luo Xiaotian chuckled. Shinri took a deep breath and looked at Su Chen with a look filled with admiration. "Boss Su, you are truly extraordinary. Compared to you, Sister Yu and Old Kwai." He was halfway through his sentence when he realized something was wrong and quickly shut up. But everyone around him understood his meaning. His men had also been captured by the Riyas. Su Chen personally led his men to the rear of the Riyas. He captured a large number of Riyas and used them to negotiate with Inoue Shinji. After rescuing Shinri, Luo Xiaotian, and the others, he went on a killing spree, wiping out nearly every invading Riya. On the other hand, Sister Yu and Old Kwai had been gone for so long. But he remained indifferent and had no intention of rescuing anyone. Chapter 982. It's impossible for Shinri and the others to have no complaints, but these things have nothing to do with Su Chen. Shinri and the others are members of the Yu family army. Although Suchin doesn't fear Sister Yu and Old Kwai, there's no need for him to stand up for Shinri and the others and offend the Yu family army, considering that Shinri, Luo Xiaotian, and the others are still weak, so Suchin summoned Lu Linger from Normadison. Clear Heart Mantra. This is a special ability Lu Linger developed herself. It channels energy to dispel negative effects from the target. It can basically dispel most negative effects. As Lu Linger continued to use the Clear Heart Mantra, Luo Xiaotian, Shinri, and the others quickly returned to normal. Suchin glanced at the time and said to everyone, "It's getting late. Let's go back." Everyone nodded. Shicheng. In the office. Old Kwai smoked a cigarette, somewhat distracted. Even though Sister Yu was wearing his favorite outfit, he had no time to look at it. Before going to exchange hostages with Suchin, Inoue Shinji called Old Kwai to let him know. Several hours had passed, and why hadn't Inoue Shinji made any movement? Had he been killed by Suchin? That shouldn't be the case. Although previous intelligence suggests Suchin's strength is considerable, Inoue Shinji is a full-fledged ninja of the Black Mountain Society, and he has so many elite transcendents under his command. No matter how powerful Suchin was, he couldn't possibly capture them all, could he? Looking at Old Kwai, who seemed distracted, Sister Yu wiggled her massive waist and approached him. "Old Kwai, don't be so nervous. Maybe Inoue Shinji just killed Suchin and hasn't had time to contact you yet." She lifted Old Kwai by the waist and said with a smile, "Come, I help you relax." At this moment, Old Kwai wasn't in the mood at all. However, the gap between him and Sister Yu was too great, and he couldn't resist Sister Yu at all. Just as a performance unsuitable for children was about to begin in the office, Old Kwai's communicator on the desk began to ring rapidly. The ring interrupted Sister Yu's spell casting. Old Kwai managed to free himself, quickly walked to the desk, and picked up the communicator. But if he hadn't looked, it wouldn't have mattered. When he did, he was stunned. "What's wrong, Old Kwai? Is this Inoue Shinji calling?" "No, not him. It's Shinri." Old Kwai raised his head and looked at Sister Yu, his expression a little dazed. Sister Yu was also stunned for a moment. "You? Take it first." Old Kwai gathered himself and answered the call. "Hello, Shinri? It's me, Brother Kwai." Shinri's voice was devoid of emotion. "Thanks to Boss Su, I'm saved." Old Kwai's heart sank, and he hurriedly asked then, "What about those Ryop people belonging to Shinji Inoue? They all been wiped out by Boss Su." "What?" Hearing this, Old Kwai was stunned, but he quickly realized what was happening and masked his surprise with a fake smile. "Ha ha, great. Boss Su is truly amazing. He actually wiped out all those Ryop people. Where are you now? I find you right away." Shinri didn't notice anything amiss and continued, "Boss Su was planning to take his men back to Zhongqi province, but I talked him out of it. Brother Kwai, you and Sister Yu, why don't you come over now and say hello to Boss Su? We're only a dozen kilometers from Shicheng." Old Kwai thought for a moment and nodded. "Okay, no problem. You and Boss Su just wait for me there." After hanging up the phone, Old Kwai's expression instantly turned extremely grim. That Suchin. After understanding the whole story, Sister Yu lost all desire to continue casting spells. Old Kwai smoked his cigarette, remaining silent. Originally, he had thought that by scheming and collaborating with Inoue Shinji, he could eliminate Suchin. He would thereby achieve great merit and earn the Black Mountain Society's favor. However, he hadn't anticipated that Suchin was far more cunning than they had imagined. When he learned that his ally, the Yu family army, was being invaded by the Ryop people, he didn't rush in personally. Instead, he dispatched elite troops like Luo Xiaotian and Wang Yin. Meanwhile, Wang Yin was surrounded by enemies in Luo Xiaotian. He pretended to be calm and composed, but in reality, he was pulling off a surprise attack. This was not only powerful, but also scheming. Life would be tough against someone like him. A deep sense of dread welled up in Old Kwai's heart. Somewhere in his heart, he seemed to sense that he would die at Suchin's hands. Or should he follow Suchin now? The moment this thought crossed Old Kwai's mind, he rejected it. If he betrayed the Ryats again and joined Suchin, the Black Mountain Society would only need to tell Suchin what he had done, and Suchin would never let him off. Now, Old Kwai's Sister Yu and the Yu family army had only one choice: to follow the Black Mountain Society to the end. "Old Kwai, what are you thinking?" Seeing he remained silent, Sister Yu frowned and said, "How about we gather our forces now, and go take out Suchin?" "Absolutely not." Old Kwai flatly refused. Even Inoue Shinji couldn't take down Suchin, So with the strength of the Yu family army, they'd probably have a tough time doing so either. Suchin probably doesn't know our identities yet. Let's go meet him first. Old Kwai finally made up his mind. He and Sister Yu, along with the Yu family army's men, headed towards where Suchin and Shinri were. Not long after, they encountered the Watchers Alliance, along with Shinri and the others, in a small town along the national highway. From the moment they met, Old Kwai and Sister Yu were startled. Not only because of the aura displayed by the Watchers Alliance members, but also because of Ming Qi, who lay crouched beside Suchin. Just one glance at such a mighty white tiger could instill a powerful sense of oppression. It's true that hearing about it is worse than seeing it. Old Kwai feigned indifference, enthusiastically stepped forward, and shook hands with Suchin, saying, "It's a true honor to meet a hero like Boss Su." He paused, then glanced at Shinri and the others nearby, asking with concern, "Shinri, are you all okay? I knew you were ambushed by those Ryas, and I was worried too. Sister Yu and I had been planning to reorganize our forces and rescue you. I didn't expect Boss Su to act even earlier than we did. But no matter what, your safe escape is the best." At these words, Shinri and the others' resentment and complaints against the organization instantly vanished. Suchin raised an eyebrow. This Old Kwai was definitely something special. Despite his honest and loyal appearance, he possessed a highly agile mind. Chapter 983. Those words just now not only flattered Suchin, but also explained why the Yu family army hadn't taken action, reassuring Shinri and the others. A master. This is a master. Don't be fooled by the fact that Sister Yu usually leads the Yu family army. But the real mastermind behind the scenes is probably Old Kwai. "Captain Kwai, you're too polite," Suchin said calmly. "Hey, don't call me Chief Kwai. Just call me Old Kwai like Xiao Yu." Old Kwai smiled warmly. "To be honest, I originally wanted to form an alliance with the Watchers Alliance and help each other. I didn't expect it was always the Watchers Alliance that helped us, and we weren't able to help you. Brother Su, don't leave today. You must stay." Sister Yu beside him nodded repeatedly. "Yes, Brother Su, if you leave, you're not giving us face." Faced with the two's enthusiastic invitations, Suchin simply smiled. "Old Kwai's Sister Yu, you're too polite. It's just that I have something at home that I need to take care of when I get back. My men also need to go back and rest. How about this? Next time we get a chance, let's get drunk together." Seeing Suchin's resolute attitude, Old Kwai didn't force him to stay, feigning disappointment. "Okay then. See you next time." After exchanging pleasantries, the two said goodbye. As soon as they separated from the Yu family army, Wang Yan couldn't help but ask, "Brother Su, do you think Old Kwai and Sister Yu are colluding with the Ryats?" "Honestly, I don't think so." Suchin shook his head. "Hey, I don't think they're suspicious." Dingdi interjected, "After all, Shinri and his men are trapped by the Ryats just like us. And if they were truly colluding with the Ryats, they could easily have joined Inoue Shinji in besieging us." Seeing he couldn't convince Dingdi, Wang Yan turned to Suchin. "Brother Su, do you think so too?" "No, while I can't tell if they're suspicious, that doesn't mean they're innocent." Suchin turned and gazed out the car window, which pointed toward Shurcheng. In the apocalypse, people's hearts are unpredictable. No one knows whether the Yu family army is colluding with the Ryats. But no matter what, we must never let our guard down. Everyone nodded solemnly in agreement. Elsewhere, Old Kwai reassured the three Shinri brothers before ordering them back to the city. "Well, did Suchin notice anything?" Sister Yu whispered. "Probably not." Old Kwai rubbed his forehead and sighed. "If there's nothing, then why are you sighing?" Sister Yu asked, puzzled. "How could I not sigh when our carefully planned operation failed?" Although Old Kwai and Sister Yu were intent on joining the Rya people, not all members of the Yu family army were willing to follow them to join the Rya kingdom. The patriots led by Shinri were Old Kwai and Sister Yu's greatest obstacle. Old Kwai had long planned to eliminate all of Shinri and his men. When Luo Xiaotian, Wang Yan, and other elite troops arrived on Suchin's behalf to support the Yu family army, Old Kwai had a perfect plan. He deliberately betrayed Luo Xiaotian and the others, allowing Inoue Shinji to trap them, thus luring Suchin out. As for the Shinri brothers and their men, they were also bait. His goal was to clear himself and Sister Yu of suspicion, make the plot more convincing, and eliminate Shinri and the others along the way. Unfortunately, Suchin's move shattered all of Old Kwai's plans. So what do we do now? Let's go back and report this to President Takahashi and await her further instructions, Old Kwai said helplessly. At this point, it was no longer possible for him to control Suchin with his abilities. We could only report this to the Black Mountain Society and let President Takahashi decide. Ryuk Kingdom. Dongjing City. The Imperial Palace. Takahashi Sakura, dressed in a kimono, sat elegantly. Across from her sat Fan Debut. Between the two of them, a chessboard was placed. The black and white pieces on the board interlocked like jagged teeth, creating a tense situation. Meanwhile, Jack watched the battle from the sidelines. He suddenly smiled and said, "Although I'm only just starting out to go, I can tell, Abayo, you're doomed." Fan Debut sighed helplessly, grabbed a nearby chess piece, and dropped it onto the board in acknowledgement of defeat. "President Takahashi, I didn't expect you to understand Go even better than I do. That's just how you Yen people are. You possess such a profound culture and history, yet you don't cherish them." Takahashi pursed her red lips and said calmly, "You lost this game because you refused to give up your chess piece. Everything is like chess. It's better to lose a piece than to lose the initiative. Rather than clinging to your piece to survive, it's better to sacrifice it to win." Being taught by such a weak woman, Fan Debut didn't resent it. Instead, he looked serious. "I learned your lesson." At that moment, Takahashi raised an eyebrow, put down her chess piece, and said loudly, "Come in." Before Fan Debut and Jack could react, they felt a flash of light before their eyes, and a black-clad ninja appeared out of nowhere in the room. The two exchanged glances, each seeing the surprise in the other's eyes. These ninjas really are quite something. "What's the report?" "Captain, news has arrived from the northern province. Jinin Inoue Shinji and his troops have been completely annihilated." Hearing this, Takahashi Sakura's hand trembled slightly, and a flicker of emotion crossed her fair face. "How is Takahashi Tsukasa? And what exactly happened?" "It's said that Master Takahashi was captured by the enemy. His fate is uncertain." The black-clad ninja recounted in detail how the U-clan army and Inoue Shinji plotted against Su Chin, and how they had failed. By the time he finished, Takahashi Sakura's face had turned ashen. Damn Inoue Shinji. She had originally planned to use the U-clan army and Inoue Shinji as a hidden chess move, to be deployed at the right moment to instantly checkmate Su Chin, but she hadn't expected Inoue Shinji to act on his own, ruining her plan. Not only had Inoue Shinji and his entire team been annihilated, but he had also taken her brother with him. Fan Debut glanced at Jack and said cautiously, "Chairman Takahashi, should we gather our forces and immediately attack the Watchers to rescue your brother?" Takahashi took a deep breath and quickly regained her composure. "Not necessary right now. But we can't just sit there and watch your brother fall into Su Chin's hands, can we?" Jack asked, puzzled. "I plan to send an envoy to negotiate with Su Chin." Takahashi stated her plan. "Huh?" Fan Debut was stunned for a moment, then immediately objected, "Chairman Takahashi, this is inappropriate." Chapter 984. Su Chin is despicable, treacherous, and cunning. Negotiating with him is like trying to get the skin of a tiger. Just as Fan Debut was trying to persuade him, Su Chin, thousands of miles away, sneezed several times. He glanced at the sky, feeling puzzled. Although the weather had turned cooler recently, he was still a sea-level transcendent and possessed dragon blood. There was no reason for him to catch a cold, right? Shao Si is my brother. I can't just sit there and watch him suffer. Takahashi Sakura said calmly. But, Fan Debut hesitated, then bravely said, "The president just said it's better to sacrifice a piece to win than to save it." Takahashi Sakura couldn't help but smile. "You're absolutely right. But that's only for players like you. A skilled player can both save a piece and win." Okay, so that's how you play it, huh? You're simply being hypocritical," Fan Debut grumbled furiously inwardly, glancing at Jack. Jack understood his meaning and nodded slightly. "President, I think the same as Ah Biao. There's really no need to make a deal with that Su Chin guy." Unlike Fan Debut, Jack represented the sanctuary of Zeus after all. Takahashi Sakura pondered for a moment, before slowly speaking. "To be honest, I already know how Su Chin sank Kurikawa Makoto's forces." Huh? Fan Debut and Jack were slightly startled. Takahashi Sakura's azure eyes gazed out the window. At the bottom of the Pacific Ocean lies the underwater kingdom of Atlantis. The undersea kingdom has sharks, mermaids, nagas, and other races. And their king is Su Chin. Fan Debut and Jack could hardly believe their ears. Although the apocalypse had been here for so long, they had seen almost every strange thing. But upon learning of the undersea kingdom's existence, they were still shocked. Kurikawa Makoto's troops were annihilated because they were ambushed by the undersea kingdom's army. After Takahashi Sakura finished speaking, Fan Debut and Jack remained silent for a long time, absorbing this shocking fact. "President, how did you know?" Jack asked gravely, regaining his composure. He urgently needed to confirm the authenticity of this matter, so he could report it to the sanctuary promptly. The Yu family army had received word that Su Chen's men had mentioned someone underwater. Based on this information, I launched an investigation and ultimately obtained this intelligence. It's undeniably true. After hearing Takahashi Sakura's words, a thoughtful expression crossed Jack's face. It wasn't that he suspected Takahashi Sakura was deceiving him. Rather, he understood that Takahashi Sakura was likely hiding some important information. No wonder. Although the Ryuts remained humble and submissive to the United States, they possessed a ruthless spirit at heart. Given the opportunity, they would absolutely betray the United States. And I already have a plan to deal with the Undersea Kingdom. Just give me a little more time, and I can send my men to attack the Watchers. But before that, I need to bring Xiaoxi back. We're just letting Su Chen run wild for a while. There's no need to panic. With Takahashi Sakura saying so, Jack and Fan Debut couldn't object any further. They also knew that unless that man intervened, there was no way anyone in the entire country of Ria could change Takahashi Sakura's mind. After annihilating the Ria people, led by Inoue Shinji, Su Chen remained on high alert for several days, fearing a further Ria counterattack. However, to his surprise, both Zhongji Province and Beitou Province were peaceful. Lu Guang and Yan Yu dispatched numerous scouts to monitor the situation in Ria's mainland. But Ria's mainland remained completely silent, as if Inoue Shinji and his men had never appeared in this world. Su Chen was pleased that the Ria people didn't cause trouble. Yuqing, the main base of the Watcher Alliance. Su Chen was inside Nomad Ison, absorbing the raw stone in his hand. When the absorption was complete, he slowly opened his eyes and crushed the grayish-white raw stone in his hand. As the Qi gathering technique advanced to the spirit induction technique, ordinary raw stones were no longer sufficient for his cultivation needs. I wonder how He Wang and Sun Yuan are faring with their spirit stone mining efforts. As if sensing Su Chen's thoughts, the communicator suddenly buzzed. Su Chen picked it up and saw it was He Wang calling. Hello, Brother He. Brother Su. Are you still at the main base? Yes, what's up? We already mined a batch of spirit stones, and we'll be back soon. Really? That's great. Su Chen, overjoyed, quickly stood up and walked out. An hour later, 2 trucks slowly pulled into the main base's loading area. He Wang opened the door and jumped out. He hugged Su Chen tightly and said with a smile, Brother Su, I fulfilled your mission. These 2 cars are filled with the spirit stones you requested. He paused, sighed, and said, It's just that those spirit stones, some are too difficult to mine. It took us several days to mine these 2 carloads. Su Chen had discovered the spirit stone mine, so he naturally knew the details. Compared to raw stone, mining spirit stones is far more difficult. It's okay. Thank you for your hard work. Su Chen smiled and nodded. Li Dong, Zhou Xinhong, and the others who drove back were all his trusted confidants. So Su Chen didn't shy away from them. In front of them, he directly loaded all the spirit stones from the cars into his storage space. Although they had seen this many times before, they couldn't help but marvel at it. I have the restaurant prepare some dishes later. We won't leave until we're drunk tonight. Su Chen greeted them with a smile and headed towards the base. Old He? Dad. Just then, a mother and son approached. It was He Wang's wife, Wu Li, and his child, He Chengwang. Wife, Chengwang. He Wang embraced them. Looking at the happy family of 3, Su Chen smiled. Come to think of it, He Chengwang was his apprentice. Ever since taking him in, he hadn't really taught him anything. Oh right, Su Chen's mind suddenly struck, and an idea struck him. Didn't he already have 2 cultivation methods, the Qi gathering technique and the soul-inducing technique? Even if the soul-inducing technique couldn't be taught to outsiders, passing on the Qi gathering technique to He Chengwang wouldn't be a problem for people like He Wang. Thinking of this, Su Chen said, Brother He, you 2 go back and rest. I need to teach little Chengwang a few things. He Wang was slightly stunned, but without saying anything, he nodded in agreement. He left with Wu Li, Zhou Xinhong, Li Dong, and the others. Chapter 985. After He Wang and the others left, only Su Chen and He Chengwang remained. Hello, teacher. He Chengwang greeted Su Chen timidly. Despite being only 5 years old, he was already a bit taller than the petite Wu Li. Come with me. Su Chen patted He Chengwang's head and led him towards the training center within the base. The 2 found an empty training room and sat down cross-legged together. Chengwang, teacher hasn't taught you anything yet. Today, I plan to teach you a more advanced technique. What is a technique? Is it edible? He Chengwang looked at Su Chen with innocent eyes. Su Chen rubbed his forehead, a look of helplessness on his face. It wasn't really appropriate to say this to a 5-year-old. Don't worry about it. Just follow what the teacher says. Okay, teacher. When Su Chen first learned the Qi gathering art from the Watcher Alliance, like most people, he was unable to practice it. Despite Zhao Man's guidance, he couldn't even begin. It was only later, with the help of the system, that he finally mastered the Qi gathering art. He later researched the Qi gathering art, and discovered that only those with talent like Zhao Man could master it directly. After that, Su Chen paid less attention to the Qi gathering art. However, Zhao Man didn't give up, and even conducted further research on it. Just recently, Zhao Man discovered that the key reason most people couldn't learn the Qi gathering art was their inability to sense external energy. But as they evolved to D-level, Transcendence could sense and directly absorb external energy. This way, one can master the Qi gathering art. Upon learning this, Su Chen immediately ordered that the Qi gathering art be forbidden to be passed on to anyone else. After all, the Qi gathering art accelerates cultivation, and those who possess it will undoubtedly greatly enhance their strength. Thus, the one being taught the Qi gathering art must be trustworthy, and He Chengwang, He Wang, and the others were undoubtedly trustworthy individuals. He Chengwang closed his eyes and began practicing the Qi gathering art according to Su Chen's instructions. According to Zhao Man, the subjects he had found took almost half a day to master the Qi gathering art. However, to Su Chen's surprise, He Chengwang had mastered it on his first try. Teacher, am I doing this right? Seeing Su Chen's surprised expression, He Chengwang thought he had done something wrong. No, you're doing it right. Absolutely right. Su Chen regained his composure, and couldn't help but praise him. It seems He Chengwang is the legendary martial arts prodigy. Su Chen stared at He Chengwang again, practicing the Qi gathering technique for a while. Only after confirming that he had truly mastered it did he feel relieved. Chengwang, you can't tell anyone what your teacher taught you today. Do you understand? Okay, teacher. He Chengwang nodded. Not even my parents? Su Chen thought for a moment and chuckled. You can tell your parents though. That's good. He Chengwang smiled happily, but then asked, what if mom and dad tell anyone else? They know what to do. Su Chen smiled faintly, and waved at He Chengwang. Well, it's getting late. You should go back. Goodbye, teacher. He Chengwang skipped out of the training room. He quickly returned to his residence and pushed the door open. But after looking around, he saw no sign of his parents. Just then, a sobbing voice suddenly emanated from the room. It sounded like his mother, Wu Li. He Chengwang hurried over and knocked on the door. Dad? Mom? The voices in the room abruptly stopped, followed by a flurry of activity. Chengwang, wait a moment. After a long moment, He Wang finally opened the door. Like Wu Li, he was a little disheveled and his face flushed. Dad, Mom, what's wrong with you two? He Chengwang asked, puzzled. No, nothing. He Wang felt a little embarrassed. He had originally wanted to take advantage of He Chengwang's absence to spend some quality time with his wife. I didn't expect He Chengwang to come back so early. Didn't you go study with the teacher? Why are you back so soon? Because I already learned everything the teacher taught me, that's why I'm back. He Chengwang said innocently. Oh! He Wang was startled. What did the teacher teach you? Something called the Qi gathering technique. He Chengwang held a finger in his mouth. The teacher said, we can't tell anyone except mom and dad. As for whether or not mom and dad should tell anyone, that's up to you. Hearing this, He Wang and Wu Li exchanged a glance, both feeling a little puzzled. Chengwang, explain this Qi gathering technique to Dad. Okay, Dad. He Chengwang told He Wang everything Su Chen had taught him. He Wang's expression suddenly grew solemn upon hearing this. With Su Chen's strong support, he had now reached D+ combat power. He was only one step away from the top C level, although he hadn't yet begun practicing. Just from listening to He Chengwang's explanation, he could already sense the extraordinary nature of the Qi condensation technique. After all, very few transcendents these days possess martial arts skills, let alone a technique like this that could accelerate cultivation. No wonder Su Chen had told He Chengwang not to tell anyone else. Boss Su, do you mean we can practice? Wu Li asked excitedly. That should be what you mean. He Wang glanced at He Chengwang and couldn't help but smile with relief. Ollie, we're also indebted to Chengwang. Yes, it's a blessing for your He family that Chengwang can become Boss Su's disciple. No, thank you too, Ollie. We happened to meet Su Chen. He Wang smiled and hugged Wu Li. If it weren't for He Chengwang, he would have been eager to continue casting the spell. By the way, what did Boss Su mean by that last sentence? Can we pass it on to others? Wu Li pushed He Wang aside, asking doubtfully. Have an old son, and I've been helping him mine the spirit stone mine? He Wang pondered, Boss Su probably wants me to teach the chi gathering technique to old son, Zhou Xinhong, and those he trusts. That's right. Wu Li smiled and nodded. He Wang embraced his wife Wu Li, and touched his son, He Chengwang, unable to help but sigh, "Oh, I'm glad I followed Boss Su. Otherwise, how would I be here today?" After parting ways with He Chengwang, Su Chen didn't rush back, but instead went to the base's laboratory. Seeing it was Su Chen, the guard at the door let him in without stopping. As soon as Su Chen entered, he saw Niu Mingxian and a group of researchers gathered together. Chapter 986. Niu Gong, what are you busy with? Su Chen greeted Niu Mingxian with a smile. Boss Su, why are you here? Niu Mingxian quickly interrupted the meeting, and stood up to greet Su Chen. I was bored, so I came to see you. Su Chen glanced at the documents on the desk and the PowerPoint on the wall. What are you guys talking about? It's about breaking through from C rank to B rank. Niu Mingxian sighed. Hearing him say this, Su Chen remembered that when he met Zhao Man a few days ago, Zhao Man had mentioned that he was stuck at C+ power and unable to evolve further. Despite possessing the soul summoning technique, Su Chen's evolution was still much slower than others. When he first evolved to C rank power, several elite members of the Watcher Alliance, led by Zhao Man, had already reached C+ power. After so much time had passed, Zhao Man and his companions had already reached the peak of C+ power. However, the bottleneck reappeared, and they were stuck between ranks B and C. Su Chen was busy with his own cultivation at the time, and had no time to worry, so he asked Zhao Man to find Niu Mingxian. How's it going? Any breakthroughs? Su Chen asked with a smile. No breakthroughs at all. Niu Mingxian frowned and explained the situation to Su Chen. According to past experience, advancement and breakthroughs can be roughly divided into two categories. Either, sufficient energy is accumulated, and the energy crystals in the transcendence body will automatically transform. Or, as before, a gene-locking agent is required to be injected to break through the human body's limits. But this time, things were different. To advance to rank B, a transcendent must increase the strength of their spiritual awareness. But the problem is, only a small portion of the energy they absorb can be absorbed by their spiritual consciousness. Now stuck at the peak of C+, the amount of energy they can absorb daily is drastically decreasing. At this rate of progress, even if Zhao Man and the others were given 100 years, they might not achieve a breakthrough. Su Chen stroked his chin and pondered, if that's the case, we need a drug similar to the gene lock reagent to help transcendents strengthen their spiritual consciousness before they can achieve a breakthrough. Is that what you mean? Niu Mingxian adjusted his glasses and nodded slightly. That's about it. Besides this method, I really can't think of any other. Or if you agree, Boss Su, I can conduct human experiments on living people. Su Chen shook his head. It's not that I disagree, but your idea of using transcendence with C+ combat power for human experiments is probably a bit too much. Niu Mingxian thought about it carefully, and realized that this made sense. Su Chen thought for a moment and said, how about this? Continue your research and see if you can come up with a solution. If you can, that would be great. If not, if I have the chance, I give you some living people to experiment on. Su Chen naturally wouldn't consider using his own compatriots. His target was the Riettes, who had repeatedly invaded. What a pity. During the last battle at the port, the Riettes were almost completely wiped out. No. It seems there's still one survivor. Su Chen slapped his forehead, then remembered Takahashi Tsukasa's existence. After capturing Takahashi Tsukasa, Su Chen learned from other captives that Takahashi Tsukasa was the younger brother of the president of the Black Mountain Society in Riettes. This is a big fish. Su Chen didn't make things difficult for Takahashi Tsukasa. Even after killing most of the Ryas, he ultimately spared Takahashi Tsukasa's life. Takahashi Tsukasa was currently imprisoned in the Watcher's underground prison. Su Chen paused, said hello to Niu Mingxian, and left the lab, heading straight for the underground prison. Soon, he saw Takahashi Tsukasa in prison. Though Takahashi Tsukasa looked a little more dejected than before, he was neatly dressed and hadn't suffered much. He still had the energy suppressor on his hand, though. Takahashi Tsukasa, long time no see. How have you been? Su Chen chuckled softly in Rya. The Ryas were currently a formidable enemy for the Watchers. To better communicate and deal with them, Su Chen had learned some Rya. He wasn't proficient, but he knew enough to communicate. In response to Su Chen's greeting, Takahashi Tsukasa simply glanced at him, remaining silent. Takahashi had maintained this attitude ever since Su Chen captured him. Su Chen had gotten used to it. If you refuse to communicate and cooperate, I have to lock you up for life. Su Chen shrugged and stood up to leave. As he turned, He heard a hoarse voice behind him. "You're dreaming of locking me up for life." Suchin turned again, looking at Takahashi with a sneer on his face, and felt a little surprised. He wasn't surprised that Takahashi had spoken, but that he could actually speak Yingguo. "You can speak Yingguo?" "Yes, I just don't care. After all, Yingguo is inferior to my country, Liao. I just don't want to speak." Takahashi Tsukasa spoke Yingguo dialect, and aside from a slight stiffness, there was nothing wrong with it. Suchin couldn't help but sneer at this. "If your country of Ria is truly so noble, then why were you defeated and taken prisoner by me?" "I was careless," Takahashi Tsukasa insisted. "And there are countless people in our Black Mountain society who are more powerful than you." "Really?" Suchin smiled noncommittally and continued, "Your language, writing, clothing, and everything else were all learned from Yingguo. How do you explain that?" Takahashi Tsukasa's face turned pale, unsure how to refute. "I'm being polite to you, because you're the Black Mountain Society president's younger brother. Otherwise, you have to do the hard labor like the other prisoners. If you dare to complain again, don't blame me for being rude." Suchin snorted. "Just wait, my sister will definitely rescue me," Takahashi Tsukasa said viciously. Suchin ignored him, and left the prison. Before leaving, Suchin approached the guard. "That little Japanese guy in there, starve him for 2 days." In Suchin's opinion, Takahashi Tsukasa was just like the young master. Starve him for 2 days, and he'd be quiet. For the next few days, neither the Yu family army from Beitou province nor the Black Mountain Society from Ria Island came to harass him again. Seizing this precious opportunity, Suchin devoted himself to cultivation. Finally, after absorbing all the spirit stones, he broke through to C+ combat power. "This is C+, it feels really extraordinary." Suchin let out a long breath, feeling the difference within his body. The biggest difference between C level and D level is that C level possesses spiritual awareness. Spiritual awareness not only directly absorbs external energy, but also allows for more flexible control and utilization of internal energy. When spiritual awareness and energy crystals are strong enough, they can control the release of energy. These external energies can be attached to fists, feet, and weapons like fighting spirit, enhancing the lethality of the extraordinary. Chapter 987. You can also envelop the surface of your skin with energy to mitigate damage. At this point, you're a B-rank transcendent. Suchin moved his mind, and through his spiritual awareness, he manipulated the energy, flowing through his meridians and onto his palm. Instantly, his palm was enveloped in a blue-white glow. At this moment, Suchin was practicing outdoors. He randomly found a boulder and slowly pushed his palm outward. It sank easily into the boulder, and when he pulled it out, a palm-shaped gap appeared in the rock. Suchin was quite satisfied with this. However, this level of energy release was still a bit crude, far less effective than Do Chi. After all, with continued practice and evolution, the power of Do Chi could also increase. Thinking of this, Suchin couldn't help but feel curious. No matter how talented the United States may be, these research results are simply too impressive. If possible, I still need to visit the sanctuary of Zeus, Suchin pondered. Just then, the communicator on his waist suddenly chimed. "Boss Su." As soon as Suchin answered, Gao Fei's urgent voice came from the other end. "The regent just sent a message saying there's movement on Ria Island." Suchin's heart skipped a beat. "Have they dispatched a large army?" "No. They only brought a dozen or so small ships," Gao Fei explained. "And every few miles, there's a small ship left in the sea." Suchin raised an eyebrow. He was also somewhat puzzled by the Ria people's actions. "Don't act rashly. I'd be there right away." "Okay, Boss Su." Gao Fei agreed readily. After hanging up, Suchin called Ming Qi, who was napping nearby, and returned to the Normadison. Compared to before, Ming Qi had already reached the peak of C+, you know. She's quite different from Suchin, Jiaoman, and the others. She rarely practices on a daily basis, not even bothering to absorb primordial stones or spiritual stones. She sleeps soundly every day, yet she manages to evolve so rapidly. Humans are truly outmatched by cats. So infuriating. Suchin knew full well that this was definitely the White Tiger's power at work. As the Normadison roared, Suchin and Ming Qi drove towards Mingyuan base. A few hours later, the Normadison appeared at Mingyuan base. "Boss Su." Seeing Suchin exit the car, Gao Fei quickly stepped forward and shook his hand. "Okay, Brother Fei, you're welcome." Suchin smiled and asked, "How's it going? Any more news from the regent?" Yes. Gao Fei nodded and told Suchin the latest developments. As before, the Rion fleet would leave one ship behind every time it advanced. Now, only 2 or 3 ships remained in their fleet. It was less than an hour's voyage from Dongpan province. Because without your order, Boss Su, the regent and his men didn't attack rashly. Do you think we should attack them? Gao Fei asked. Su Chen's face showed a thoughtful expression, and he shook his head slightly. Not necessary for now. According to the information Yen Yu had relayed, the Rian fleet consisted mostly of small fishing boats. There was only one, slightly larger cruise ship. If the Rians intended to attack, why would they send such a fleet? In Su Chen's opinion, the Rians were more likely to send someone to see him, and so it turned out. An hour later, news arrived from the coastal outpost. A small Rian cruise ship had docked offshore. Several Rians, flying a white flag, arrived on a lifeboat lowered from the cruise ship. Just as Su Chen had expected, they claimed to be under orders from the Black Mountain leader and requested a meeting with Su Chen. Let them come. Su Chen nodded to Gao Fei. More than an hour later, as the sky darkened, a convoy of Watchers Alliance troops arrived at the Mingyuan base. 3 Rians in the convoy were taken to the reception room. 2 of them were clearly followers. The leading Rian was probably in his 40s. Although, like the other Rians, he was of short stature. But his expression was resolute, his bearing extraordinary. After entering, he glanced around, finally landing on Su Chen. You must be Su Chen, the leader of the Overwatch League, Mr. Su. You are indeed a man of great talent, truly a rare talent. Faced with the other party's flattery, Su Chen simply smiled faintly. Who are you? I am Yamamoto Fumio, Vice President of the Black Mountain Society. Yamamoto Fumio introduced himself. Su Chen had dealt with the Black Mountain Society several times, and had a pretty good idea of its structure. The Black Mountain Society was divided into 2 forces, one visible and one invisible. The invisible forces were ninjas, like Inoue Shinji and others. After capturing those ninjas last time, Su Chen had hoped to gain more information about the ninjas from them. However, these ninjas had all received professional training. No matter how harshly they were tortured, they remained silent, even immune to Dingdi's psychic abilities. Finally, Su Chen had no choice but to give up. As for the apparent power, from top to bottom, it was divided into 4 levels: President, Team Leader, Cadres, and Ordinary Members. There were 7 team leaders, corresponding to 7 subgroups. Kurikawa Makoto, who was previously eliminated by Su Chen, was the leader of one of these subgroups. As for the Vice President, while it sounds high-ranking, he actually held no real power, little more than a mascot. However, Yamamoto Fumio, with his gleaming eyes and a long, lingering aura, was clearly a C-rank. Presumably, he wasn't a mascot, but rather the most trusted person of the Black Mountain clan leader. Vice President Yamamoto, I heard so much about you. Su Chen chuckled calmly. I wonder what brings you here today. Yamamoto Fumio said seriously, you're a smart man, so I won't beat around the bush. Our president's younger brother must be in the hands of Boss Su. If Boss Su is willing, we'd like to redeem him. So they came for Takahashi Tsukasa. Su Chen narrowed his eyes. To him, Takahashi Tsukasa was really useless. Keeping him around would only be a waste of food. Killing him would be a shame. Since Yamamoto Fumio wanted to redeem Takahashi Tsukasa, he could take advantage of this opportunity to make a big offer. Thinking of this, Su Chen smiled. In that case, Vice President, please state your terms. Our president says that if Mr. Su is willing to release Mr. Takahashi, these are the rewards. Yamamoto Fumio was clearly prepared. He pulled a piece of paper from his pocket and respectfully handed it to Su Chen. Wang Yan, standing nearby, took it and handed it to Su Chen. Su Chen casually glanced at it. It was a list, listing not only a lot of supplies, but also other requirements. Chapter 988. The supply list clearly stated a ton of spirit stones. In addition to these, there were also various rare treasures, magical herbs, and elixirs. Some of them, even Su Chen had never heard of. The Black Mountain Society had put forward several conditions. These included, but were not limited to, a willingness to ally with the Watcher Alliance, collaborate, and conduct various research projects. It had to be said. If it were anyone else, after reading the contents of this list, there was no way they wouldn't agree. But who was Su Chen? A man with a heart as hard as a few swords. He knew this very well. The Black Mountain Society's so-called conditions only counted if they were met. If not, they were worthless. As for the supplies provided by the Black Mountain Society, Su Chen was dismissive. He had more than enough of them. As for the remaining supplies, Su Chen had never heard of them, so there was no point in asking for them. The Black Mountain Society is very sincere. Su Chen smiled. Hearing this, Yamamoto Fumio felt a sense of relief, and a smile broke out on his face. In his opinion, the Black Mountain Association's offer was generous, and Suchin couldn't refuse. But the next moment, Yamamoto Fumio was severely slapped in the face. In front of him, Suchin tore the paper in his hand into several pieces. Yamamoto Fumio's smile froze instantly. After a moment, he angrily shouted, "Mr. Su! What's your attitude?" Luo Xiaoyan shouted sternly. The other Transcendent's expressions also darkened, and they stepped forward. Yamamoto Fumio suppressed his anger and glared at Suchin. "Mr. Su, what exactly do you want?" "The offer from your president Takahashi is indeed very good," Suchin said calmly, "but I'm not interested. If you want to exchange Takahashi Tsukasa, you better offer some sincere conditions." Yamamoto Fumio took a deep breath and asked in a deep voice, "Mr. Su, just tell me what you want, so I can report it to the president and let her consider it." Suchin nodded. "Okay, then I be frank. If you want Takahashi Tsukasa back, have your president Takahashi offer a way to break through from C rank to B rank in exchange." As he spoke, his eyes were fixed on Shanshin. Ben Wenxiong. At the last few words, Yamamoto Ben Wenxiong's eye twitched involuntarily. These little, well-off Ria people, they actually know how to break through from C rank to B rank. Suchin's heart skipped a beat. "Mr. Su, have you misunderstood something? Even our Black Mountain Society doesn't know how to break through to C rank." "No, I didn't." Suchin smiled brightly. "If you can't make the decision, find someone who can." He picked up the teacup beside him and took a sip. Seeing his action, Luo Xiaoyan immediately understood what he meant and said sternly, "Time's up. Please leave." "Mr. Su." Yamamoto Ben Wenxiong wanted to say something, but Luo Xiaoyan blocked his way. Helplessly, he and his two followers stood up and left the Mingyuan base. "Brother Su, how can you be so sure that the Black Mountain Society has this technology?" Wang Yan asked curiously. "Actually, I didn't know at first. But Yamamoto Fumio's reaction just now confirmed it for me." Suchin smiled. Originally, he wasn't sure if the Ria people could actually break through and advance to rank B. But considering their close relationship with the Zoo Sanctuary, and the Zoo Sanctuary possesses a wealth of advanced technology and often comes up with new tricks, so he deliberately spoke to test Yamamoto Fumio. Although Yamamoto Fumio concealed his feelings well, his subtle expression still betrayed him. "Do you think the Black Mountain Society would agree?" "Well, I don't know. It depends on how close Takahashi Tsukasa and his sister are." Suchin shrugged. After leaving Mingyuan base, Yamamoto Fumio quickly reached the shore, escorted by members of the Watcher Alliance. He and two of his followers boarded a speedboat and returned to the cruise ship they had arrived from. After boarding the cruise ship, Yamamoto Fumio didn't bother to rest and quickly took out a tablet. The tablet powered on, and a moment later, an image of Takahashi Sakura appeared on the screen. "Uncle Yamamoto, how's the situation?" "Ah, Sakura, it's not ideal. This Suchin is so difficult to deal with." Yamamoto Fumio sighed, and told Takahashi Sakura the conditions Suchin had offered. Takahashi Sakura wasn't angry, nor was she surprised. Rather, she had a thoughtful expression. "How did Suchin know we had a way to break through to rank C?" Yamamoto Fumio asked angrily. "If I'm not mistaken, he was probably testing you, Uncle Yamamoto, at first," Takahashi Sakura said calmly, "but your expression, demeanor, and eyes betrayed you." But there's nothing wrong with me," Yamamoto Fumio said in confusion. "You think you're okay, but a negotiator would have already seen all sorts of flaws. Do you think Suchin is a good negotiator?" "Looks like it now." Yamamoto Fumio sighed dejectedly. "Xiaoying, what do you say we should do now? Should we agree to Suchin's request?" Takahashi Sakura's red lips curled up in a captivating smile. "I plan to talk to him in person. You should take this equipment with you." "That? Okay." Yamamoto Fumio hesitated for a moment, then nodded in agreement. At this point, he was no match for Suchin at the negotiating table. He had no choice but to ask Takahashi Sakura to intervene. However, Yamamoto Fumio didn't immediately go to Suchin. Instead, he rested on the cruise ship for the night. The next morning, he returned to the Mingyuan base. "Mr. Yamamoto, what have you decided?" Suchin asked with a smile. "I'm sorry, Mr. Su, I can't make the decision on your terms." Yamamoto Fumio spread his hands. Suchin frowned slightly, his expression instantly cold. "Mr. Yamamoto, I thought I made it clear yesterday. Since you can't make the decision, why do you come to me? Are you kidding me?" A dangerous glint flickered in his eyes. Even though Yamamoto Fumio was a sea-level evolver, he felt uneasy for a moment. Mr. Su, you misunderstood. I'm here to have our president negotiate with Mr. Su. Yamamoto Fumio quickly opened his briefcase and took out his tablet. After turning it on, a pretty figure appeared on the screen. Are you Su-chun, the leader of the Watchers Alliance? My name is Takahashi Sakura, president of the Black Mountain Society and sister of Takahashi Tsukasa. The Takahashi Sakura on the screen spoke fluent Yenghua, Chinese, in a clear voice. Chapter 989. If it weren't for Takahashi Sakura's blue eyes and her kimono, Su-chun would have thought she was a native of Yin. Beauty. This was Su-chun's first impression upon seeing Takahashi Sakura. Both her appearance and figure were impeccable. Of all the women Su-chun knew, perhaps only Meng-chi, with her spiritual form, could truly surpass Takahashi Sakura, especially Takahashi Sakura's blue eyes. Not only did they lend her a certain alluring, exotic charm, but those beautiful eyes also shone with wildness, greed, and self-confidence. Although Su-chun had long known from the Ryans that the Black Mountain Society's president was a woman, the Ryans were too low-ranking to see Takahashi Sakura on a regular basis. In Su-chun's opinion, Takahashi Sakura was likely a middle-aged woman, ugly and vicious. But after seeing it with his own eyes, he knew he was wrong, utterly wrong. I didn't expect President Takahashi to be so beautiful. Su-chun chuckled. He really meant what he said. Generally speaking, there are very few women who can become leaders of organizations. Among them, beautiful women are almost non-existent. In the patriarchal nation of Rhea, there would only be Takahashi Sakura. Leader Su, you're too polite. You're the one who can truly be called young and promising. Takahashi Sakura smiled brightly, her beautiful blue eyes fixed on Su-chun, like a venomous snake staking its claim to prey. We're both intelligent people, so I won't beat around the bush. You want a method to break through from C rank to B rank? I can give it to you. But how can I trust you? After all, you broke your promise when you made a deal with Inoue Shinji. Su-chun chuckled. Because Inoue Shinji is an idiot, I broke my promise. If I'm dealing with a smart person, I won't break my promise. Takahashi Sakura pursed her lips and said delicately, Mr. Su really knows how to joke. How about this? You release shall see first. I naturally teach you the techniques you want to master. Not only that, I also give you the supplies on the list. What do you think? Su-chun asked with a smile. Then how can I trust you not to go back on your word? I won't break my promise when dealing with a smart person like Mr. Su. Takahashi Sakura repeated Su-chun's words exactly as they said them. One of them wanted to rescue his brother, and the other wanted a way to break through from C rank to B rank. But neither wanted to lose the initiative. There was a frantic tug of war between them. There's really no point in continuing this conversation. Su-chun paused. Why don't we both compromise? President Takahashi, first give me the agreed-upon supplies, and then I return your brother to you. Once he's safe, tell me how to break through to rank C. This was the safest solution Su-chun could think of. That way, even if Takahashi Sakura did change her mind, Su-chun wouldn't end up with nothing. Okay, it's settled. Takahashi Sakura agreed without hesitation. After finishing their business, Takahashi Sakura didn't hang up the video call immediately. Instead, she smiled sweetly and said, I heard about Mr. Su's deeds from Ah Biao and Jack a long time ago. I always admired him. Ah Biao and Jack are still alive? Hearing Fan Da Biao's name, Su-chun was momentarily dazed. Speaking of which, it had been several years since the two of them had their feud at Phoenix Mountain. Thanks to Boss Su, I'm doing quite well. Fan Da Biao's voice rang out from the screen. He appeared behind Takahashi Ing, his eyes filled with complex emotions. Don't worry, I'll be back to visit you soon. Haha, I wait for that day. Su-chun laughed. Alright, Ah Biao, you can leave first. Takahashi Ing said calmly. Yes, President. Fan Da Biao immediately turned and left. After he left, Takahashi Sakura's pretty face once again lit up with a bright smile. Mr. Su, you're so young and promising. Are you interested in joining forces with our Black Mountain Association? As long as you agree, any terms are negotiable. Even if I marry you, that's not out of the question. Su-chun couldn't help but laugh at this. President Takahashi, you're kidding. I'm not worthy of a beauty like you. Trying to hook me? I'm not a fish in your pond. If you're not worthy, then no man in this world is. President Takahashi, you're too polite. The two of them exchanged business boasts and chatted about trivial matters. Yamamoto Fumio, Luo Xiaotian, and the others standing by were stunned. Why do these two sound like they're flirting? Alright, I stop wasting time with you, Mr. Su. Takahashi Sakura's beautiful eyes glared at Suchin. It won't be long before you're in my hands. I heard many people say that before. President Takahashi, do you know what happened to them? I don't know. Tell me. The man's grave is already covered in grass. And the woman's? She's already taken on my shape. Takahashi Sakura was stunned at first, then understood Suchin's meaning. As the high-ranking president of the Black Mountain Association, no one dared to utter such vulgar words in her presence. Unless that person wanted to die. But faced with Suchin's teasing, Takahashi Sakura didn't get angry. Instead, she chuckled and said, "Is that so? Then I see what Mr. Su can do." She stopped chatting and ended the video call with Suchin. Yamamoto Fumio, Luo Xiaotian, and the others nearby felt a sense of relief. Suchin and Takahashi Sakura's flirting had left them feeling a bit awkward. "Mr. Yamamoto, did you hear what President Takahashi said?" Suchin looked at Yamamoto Fumio. "I did. Mr. Su, rest assured, all the supplies will be delivered by tomorrow noon at the latest." Yamamoto Fumio promised. "That's good." Suchin nodded and said nothing more. Yamamoto Fumio had indeed kept his promise. Before noon the next day, a large amount of supplies had been delivered to the coast of Dompan province. Suchin also understood why a fishing boat from the Ria fleet would stop every few miles. Ria and Dompan province were thousands of miles apart, so anyone who wanted to video chat had to rely on the ship's equipment to relay the signal, and from the very beginning, these ships had been loaded with a large amount of supplies for trade with Suchin. It seems that Takahashi Sakura is very confident and has a good grasp of herself. Suchin sighed inwardly. To become the president of the Black Mountain Association, he must be no ordinary person. He must not alert them. "Mr. Su, all the supplies have been unloaded. Take a look." Yamamoto Fumio approached Suchin and asked tentatively. Chapter 990. Takahashi Tsukasa's life or death meant nothing to Suchin. The fact that Takahashi Sakura had sent so many supplies was a testament to her goodwill. For that tiny possibility, Suchin decided to hand Takahashi Tsukasa over in exchange for a way to break through to rank C. "Ah Yin." Suchin nodded to Wang Yin beside him. Wang Yin understood, turned around, and walked towards an SUV not far away. He opened the door and ushered Takahashi Tsukasa out. "Little Tsukasa." Seeing Takahashi Tsukasa, Yamamoto Fumio hurried forward, asking with concern, "How are you?" Because he disliked Takahashi Tsukasa, Suchin hadn't been pampering him lately. He had his men starve Takahashi Tsukasa every now and then. Since he was captured, Takahashi Tsukasa had lost a lot of weight. Those eyes, in particular, were a vibrant green, as if they wanted to take a bite of everything they saw. I'm fine," Takahashi said weakly. "That's good, let's go home." Yamamoto Fumio breathed a sigh of relief and said respectfully to Suchin, "Mr. Su, we be leaving first. The president promised you that someone would be sent back later." "Okay, you guys go." Suchin waved graciously. Yamamoto Fumio supported Takahashi and walked towards the boat on the shore. Just as they were about to reach the beach, Takahashi suddenly stopped. Facing Yamamoto Fumio's puzzled gaze, he turned and looked at Suchin. "Suchin, I made note of your recent hospitality. If I have the chance, I invite you to Dongjing City and treat you well too." Takahashi Tsukasa was the only direct male descendant of the Takahashi family, and a core member of the Black Mountain Society. Having been the apple of Suchin's eye since childhood, when had he ever suffered such a profound humiliation? Even before he was imprisoned, he had already decided to exact vengeance on Suchin upon his release. "Tsukasa!" Yamamoto Fumio was startled and quickly pulled him aside. After all, they were still in Suchin's territory. How would they escape if they angered Suchin? However, facing Takahashi Tsukasa's provocation, Suchin didn't get angry. Instead, he chuckled and said, "Don't worry. If one day, I really go to Dongjing City, you still have to call me brother-in-law." Brother-in-law? Takahashi Tsukasa was stunned for a moment, then instantly understood what Suchin meant. He couldn't help but sneer, as Yuyan people say, "You're a toad trying to eat swan meat." With that, he ignored Suchin and boarded the boat with Yamamoto Fumio. Watching their boat disappear into the seashore, Suchin waved, "Let's go. Let's go back too." Takahashi Sakura didn't disappoint Suchin. At noon the day after Suchin let Takahashi Tsukasa go, Yamamoto Fumio returned again. "Mr. Su, our president wants to speak with you." Suchin nodded. As he opened his tablet, he saw Takahashi Sakura again. "I didn't expect Mr. Su to be so true to his word this time. I said before, I never break my promise when dealing with smart people. In that case, I certainly can't let Mr. Su look down on me. Takahashi Sakura paused and said to Yamamoto Fumio, Uncle Yamamoto, you can give him the things now. Yamamoto Fumio hesitated for a moment, then pulled a USB drive from his pocket and handed it to Su-chin. Thank you, President Takahashi. Su-chin took the USB drive with a smile. Mr. Su, I hope we can meet in person next time. Takahashi Sakura gave Su-chin an ambiguous look and ended the video call. If there's nothing else, Mr. Su, I'd be leaving first. Yamamoto Fumio bowed slightly. Okay, Vice President Yamamoto, take care. Su-chin nodded slightly. After Yamamoto Fumio left, Wang Yin, standing nearby, couldn't help but say, Brother Su, it seems this Yamamoto Fumio has a close relationship with President Takahashi. We can definitely capture him as well, and use him to trade with President Takahashi. Hearing this, Su-chin, Ding Di, Luo Xiaoyan, and the others looked at Wang Yin speechlessly. No, Yin, people can't, or at least shouldn't. I was just kidding. Wang Yin laughed and quickly changed the subject. Come to think of it, I feel like the Black Mountain Society's president seems interested in you, Brother Su. Don't mention it, I sensed it too. Ding Di echoed. If there's a chance, Boss Su can get her. Luo Xiaoyan also joked. Su-chin smiled and ignored them. He knew he was handsome, but not so handsome that women would throw themselves at him. With Takahashi Sakura's level, what kind of man had she not seen? The only reason she acted interested in him was because he was useful to her. If he were just an ordinary transcendent, Takahashi Sakura would never even look at him. Even if there was a real chance, Su-chin wouldn't rashly approach Takahashi Sakura. Despite her harmless appearance, Su-chin was certain that she was like a rose, to be admired from afar, not touched. To pluck her, one must be stabbed and bleed profusely. After concluding his transaction with the Ryaz, Su-chin didn't linger long at Mingyuan base, and quickly returned to the main base. He headed straight for the laboratory, and found Niu Mingxian. Boss Su. Seeing Su-chin, Niu Mingxian hurriedly greeted him. Here, this is what you asked for. Su-chin wasted no time, raising his hand and tossing the USB flash drive given by Yamamoto Fumio over. This is... Niu Mingxian caught the USB flash drive, a puzzled look on his face. This was given to me by the Ryaz. It should contain a method for breaking through to rank C. Su-chin told Niu Mingxian about recent events. First, verify whether it's useful. One must be wary of others, especially of the ambitious Ryaz. Huh? Boss Su, wait a moment. Niu Mingxian was stunned for a moment, his face lit up with excitement. He ignored Su-chin and quickly called over several researchers, opened the USB drive's contents, and began researching. Su-chin wasn't in a hurry either. He had his assistant pour him a cup of hot tea, which he slowly sipped. After studying for half an hour, Niu Mingxian put down the USB drive, grinning from ear to ear. Boss Su, based on my preliminary research, the USB drive contains a potion. After taking it, it can nourish and strengthen your spiritual consciousness, leading to a breakthrough. Su-chin felt relieved. If nothing else, this Takahashi Sakura is quite trustworthy. If I can finally capture her, I definitely reward her handsomely. How long will it take you to develop a sample? Niu Mingxian thought for a moment and replied, in less than a day, we can have a sample ready for testing. Chapter 991. But the problem is, we don't have the necessary materials. Niu Mingxian pointed at the computer screen, displaying a series of magical herbs and elixirs, and gave a wry smile. Su-chin glanced at them, and realized that more than half of them were new to him. He frowned slightly. First, prepare the materials we have. I find a way to get the rest. Okay, no problem. Niu Mingxian readily agreed. For Su-chin, quickly mastering a method to break through to rank B was his top priority. So, after bidding farewell to Niu Mingxian, he rushed back to his office without a break. Brother Fei. Su-chin contacted Gao Fei via the communicator. Yes, Boss Su, any instructions? Contact the regent immediately, and ask if they have any of these magical herbs. Su-chin gave Gao Fei all the materials Niu Mingxian needed. Okay, I contact the regent right away. Su-chin didn't breathe a sigh of relief until he was done with all this. A few hours later, news arrived from Gao Fei. He had contacted Yanyu, but the Undersea Kingdom didn't have the magical herbs and elixirs Su-chin needed. This surprised Su-chin. The Undersea Kingdom might not have the abundant resources of Blue Planet, but it did have a wide variety of magical herbs and elixirs, as well as rare treasures. If Atlantis didn't have them, gathering the necessary materials would be practically impossible. No wonder Takahashi Sakura was so forthcoming. giving him a USB drive. It seemed she had anticipated that he wouldn't be able to find the right materials. This woman is truly cunning. Suchin rubbed his forehead and sighed. I've been careless. If I'd known earlier, I should have asked Takahashi Sakura to prepare the materials for me directly. But whatever, at least I have a method, and I can slowly find the materials. Dongjing City. Outside the Imperial Palace. A Maybach slowly drove up from a distance and stopped at the palace gate. As the car door opened, Takahashi Tsukasa and Yamamoto Fumio stepped out. Takahashi Tsukasa had just taken a hot bath and a hearty meal. After changing into a black suit, he looked noticeably better. Master C, the president is waiting for you inside the palace, a Black Mountain Clan guard said respectfully at the door. Understood. Takahashi Tsukasa nodded slightly and led Yamamoto Fumio into the palace. Soon they arrived at a side room where Takahashi Sakura was sitting on the tatami, examining a photograph. Hearing the footsteps of two people, Takahashi Sakura looked up. Seeing Takahashi Tsukasa, who had narrowly escaped, she nodded. Little Tsukasa, you're back. Sister, mobilize the armed forces immediately. Let's attack the Overwatch Alliance. Takahashi Tsukasa spoke impatiently, as soon as he sat down in front of Takahashi Sakura. Hearing this, Takahashi Sakura remained expressionless and asked, why attack the Overwatch Alliance? Because of that Suchin. Before Takahashi Tsukasa finished her words, Sakura's fair hand rose. Slap. A resounding slap echoed. Takahashi Tsukasa covered her face, staring at Takahashi Sakura in astonishment. Sister, do you know why I slapped you? Takahashi Sakura remained calm. No. I don't know. After her parents' death, Takahashi Sakura, as the eldest daughter, shouldered the responsibilities of the family, single-handedly raising Takahashi Tsukasa. In Takahashi Tsukasa's heart, she was like a mother figure, and he dared not neglect her in the slightest. Because you're so short-sighted and lack vision. Takahashi Sakura said with a hint of disappointment, I will attack the Watchers, but not because of Suchin, but for the Takahashi family, for the Black Mountain Society, and for the Kingdom of Ria. Do you understand? Takahashi Tsukasa was stunned for a moment, before lowering his head. I understand, sister. I was wrong. Seeing his sincere admission of fault, Takahashi Sakura finally smiled with satisfaction. If you can learn from this, then this setback will be meaningful. Remember, don't be angry. Anger will reduce your wisdom. And don't hate your enemies, because hatred will blind your judgment. Instead of hating your enemies, it's better to use. He be used for his own purposes. Listening to his sister's earnest instructions, Takahashi Tsukasa sat upright and nodded. I'd taken note. That's good. But sister, I'm a little confused. Takahashi Tsukasa hesitated and whispered, although I'm important, sister, you shouldn't trade the method of breaking through to rank C with Suchin. And we can definitely break our promise. After all, Suchin already. Takahashi Sakura interrupted him, saying seriously, a man without integrity cannot stand. No matter what Suchin does, our Takahashi family must keep their word. As for the method of breaking through to rank C, even if Suchin mastered it, he wouldn't be able to create the nourishing spirit pills in a short time. After all, some of the ingredients inside are quite difficult to find. Takahashi hesitated. But what if Suchin finds them? Takahashi smiled confidently. Don't worry, I already found a way to deal with Suchin. She handed Takahashi the photo on the table. Takahashi took a look and his eyes widened. They are aquatic creatures called the Lava Tribe, who live underwater year-round. Sister, how did you discover them? Suchin's men let it slip when they met with the Yu family army. Takahashi smiled and began to introduce them to Takahashi. When Old Kwai passed on the news, Takahashi keenly realized that the destruction of Kurikawa Makoto's troops was linked to the seabed. So, she dispatched personnel to investigate the ocean. As expected, the Black Mountain Society discovered the Atlanteans underwater. However, Takahashi did not interrupt them rashly, but instead sent people to observe them covertly. Finally, it was discovered that Atlantis was actually a vast kingdom. This astonished Takahashi Sakura. If Suchin possessed such a powerful armed force, then the Black Mountain Society would have absolutely no chance of attacking Yin Nation anytime soon. Just as she was feeling troubled, she received a pleasant surprise. The Black Mountain Society members followed the Atlanteans into the previously sealed underwater world. By chance, the Black Mountain Society encountered the Lava Tribe. However, the two sides did not engage in a brawl. Instead, they communicated through sign language. Finally, after several days, The Black Mountain Society's linguists finally understood the lava tribe's language. The two sides then officially began communicating. Takahashi Sakura also learned from the lava tribe that Suchin had once reached Atlantis, fought against them, and captured Shueisen. Chapter 992. So sister, you mean? You want to join forces with the lava tribe to jointly deal with Suchin and Atlantis? Takahashi Tsukasa's face was filled with excitement. Yes, that's exactly what I was planning. Takahashi Sakura nodded. Then what are we waiting for? When do we start? Takahashi Tsukasa urged impatiently. What's your rush? Takahashi Sakura rolled her eyes at him. Do you really think Suchin is such a pushover that we can manipulate him? Takahashi Tsukasa felt a little helpless, but didn't dare argue with Sakura. Sister, when can we start? The lava tribe's overall strength isn't that strong. Takahashi Sakura slowly laid out her plan. During this time, we need to help Shueisen, the lava tribe's emperor, improve their strength. Besides, we don't have many B-rank transcendents. At the earliest, it'd take a month. Huh? That long? Takahashi Tsukasa's eyes were filled with disappointment. It won't be long. What if Suchin takes advantage of this time to grow stronger? Do you think, no matter how powerful Suchin is, he can surpass the Black Mountain Association and the Sanctuary of Zeus? Takahashi thought carefully, and it made sense. The Sanctuary of Zeus is mysterious and powerful. It's with its support that the Black Mountain Association has grown to its current size. Actually, I have a plan. If I could use Suchin, that would be perfect. Compared to Suchin, that couple from the Yu family army are nothing but trash. When he mentioned old Kwai and Sister Yu, Takahashi's eyes flashed with disgust and contempt. But Suchin, that kid, is very determined. Takahashi frowned. Don't worry, I got a plan. As long as the plan is implemented, even if Suchin is reluctant, he have to join us. Takahashi Ying's fair face brimmed with confidence. Sorry, Boss Su, we've been looking for you for ages and still can't find you. Peng Jing's apologetic voice came from the other end of the communicator. It's okay, old Peng. Suchin consoled Peng Jing and ended the call. He held the communicator, his brows furrowed slightly. The USB drive Takahashi Ying had given Suchin contained a pill called the Yangshan pill. This pill, when taken, can help a peak C+ transcendental evolver evolve to be level. Takahashi Ying had recorded the shapes and properties of the ingredients needed to refine the Yangshan pill on the USB drive. To refine the nourishing spirit pill as quickly as possible, Suchin immediately copied the information about the ingredients and sent it to the 3 bases, ordering everyone to search for it. However, a week passed, and no results were found. If it weren't for Niu Mingxian, who, after repeated research, concluded that the prescription was sound, Suchin might even have suspected Takahashi Sakura was lying. What should I do? Suchin rubbed his brows and muttered to himself. Boss, are you worried about the nourishing spirit pill again? Chu Mengyao pushed the door open and overheard Suchin's words. Yes, we haven't found it at Longcheng Base either. Suchin told Chu Mengyao directly, without hiding anything. Boss, have you asked the Yu family army? Chu Mengyao pondered for a moment. Ask them? Forget it. Suchin shook his head. After the last incident with the Noe Shinji, he had become extremely distrustful of the Yu family army. Whether old Kwai and Sister Yu were truly foolish or colluding with the Rya people, Suchin had no intention of having anything to do with them again. Boss, why are you so stubborn? Chu Mengyao chuckled and fell into Suchin's arms. Anyway, we just need herbs. If the Yu family army has them, we can just trade with them. Suchin thought for a moment, and felt that what Chu Mengyao said made sense. So he took out his communicator and called Sister Yu. Since Yucheng and Shicheng were hundreds of kilometers apart, communication between the two had to go through several signal stations. A few minutes later, Suchin finally contacted Sister Yu. Oh my goodness, Brother Su, how could you bear to call me? Sister Yu still had that familiar loud voice, brimming with warmth and kindness. It's been ages since we last met, so I'm just trying to catch up with Sister Yu. Suchin offered false politeness. Well, Brother Su, are you free? Come to Shicheng, and Sister Yu will cook you some delicious food. Oh, and there's that little guy named Wang Yan too. I like him, so bring him along. Faced with Sister Yu's enthusiastic invitation, Suchin quickly declined. Well, our organization's been a bit busy lately. Let's wait another day. Well, all right then. Sister Yu was a little disappointed. Sister Yu, I need to talk to you. I really have something to ask. Brother, why are you being so polite? Just be frank. I need a few ingredients. Do you have any? Suchin reported to Sister Yu the missing ingredients for the nourishing spirit pills. Black ice bamboo, blessing fruit, that's all right? Yes. Brother, you have to wait. I don't know if the organization has these things. I need to ask Old Kwai. No problem. After exchanging pleasantries, the two finally hung up. Suchin didn't hold much hope for Sister Yu. The Watcher Alliance, spanning the 3 provinces of Xishan, Zhongqi, and Dongpan, hadn't found any of these materials. The Yu family army only occupied the small province of Beitu, so the possibility of possessing black ice bamboo, blessing fruit, and other materials was slim. Suchin quickly put the matter behind him and focused on his cultivation. He had only recently evolved to C+, breaking through to B would still take some time. Time flew by, and it was the next morning. Just as Suchin was about to resume his cultivation, his communicator suddenly rang. Seeing Sister Yu's name on the line, his heart skipped a beat. Could Sister Yu have found it? Hello, Sister Yu. Brother, I'm so sorry. Although he hadn't held out much hope, hearing Sister Yu's words still made Suchin sigh softly. However, Sister Yu's next words left Suchin stunned. Of the 7 ingredients you need, I only found 5. Oh really? Suchin couldn't believe his ears. Really? We're the most honest people here. How could we lie to you? Sister Yu smiled on the other end of the line. If you need it, I send it to you tomorrow. Okay, thank you, Sister Yu. Suchin thanked her quickly. After hanging up, he couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief, feeling much more refreshed. True indeed, after searching high and low, it's easy to find. I hadn't expected Sister Yu to have 5 ingredients. Although he was still missing 2, he was one step closer to refining the nourishing spirit pill. Chapter 993. On the other side. Shicheng. So what? What did Suchin say? Seeing Sister Yu hang up, Old Kwai asked impatiently. Just as the president said, Suchin took the bait. Sister Yu wore a sinister smile. Old Kwai, if you ask me, the president is overthinking things and overestimating Suchin. If all else fails, let's take this opportunity to ambush Suchin. Hearing this, Old Kwai frowned and hurriedly said, Xiao Yu, don't do anything rash. This is the president's order. If we disobey, she will definitely not let us off easily. And with Suchin's personality and abilities, whether we can succeed is another matter. Seeing Old Kwai's resolute attitude, Sister Yu nodded. Okay, let's stick to the original plan. Sister Yu kept her word. The next morning, she personally arrived at the Watcher Alliance. Brother, here are some materials you need. Sister Yu, a tall and sturdy woman, immediately put her arm around Suchin's shoulders upon seeing him. Suchin frowned, but felt embarrassed to push her away. Shenri, who was not far away, stepped forward and opened the briefcase in his hand. Suchin took a closer look. The materials inside were exactly the same as those on Takahashi Sakura's USB drive. Sister Yu, thank you so much. Suchin shook Sister Yu's hand and said earnestly. No matter what, Sister Yu was willing to provide these materials, and even offer them to him. Suchin must appreciate this kindness. You're welcome, we're family, chatting. Sister Yu waved her hand and smiled nonchalantly. You helped me destroy the Rya people last time, and I haven't even had time to thank you yet. I'm just a little sorry. The quantity of these materials is a bit small. She was absolutely right. Suchin estimated that at most, they were only enough to refine 1 nourishing spirit pill. Sister Yu, where did you find these things? Could you tell me? Suchin asked tentatively. Sister Yu didn't answer immediately, but hesitated. Seeing this, Suchin took the initiative and said, Sister Yu, if you find it inconvenient, forget it. Or, I can offer you something else in exchange. Sister Yu thought for a moment and said seriously, our 2 families are allies, so it's okay to tell you, but you have to answer me first. What do you want these materials for? Sister Yu, you should have reached C+. Haven't you and Old Kwai and the others been stuck? Suchin asked back. Sister Yu was startled, then understood. You mean, these materials are to help you break through to C rank? That's right. Suchin briefly described the nourishing spirit pill, but omitted how he obtained the recipe. Then, how about we make a deal? Sister Yu's eyes lit up as she stared at Suchin. The Yu clan army will help you get enough materials, and you help me refine a batch of nourishing spirit pills. What do you think? Suchin narrowed his eyes and began to ponder. Since Sister Yu could offer such an offer, it meant she was confident she could secure enough materials. Okay, no problem. Suchin nodded. But we have to manage the first few batches of nourishing spirit pills among ourselves. Okay, deal. Sister Yu readily agreed. Now, Can you tell me where you got these materials? Suchin asked with a smile. There's a hidden dragon valley just north of Beitou province. Brother Su, are you familiar with it? Yes. Before the apocalypse, Hidden Dragon Valley was quite famous. It's a national nature reserve, home to vast virgin forests. Surrounded by steep peaks and deep ravines, Hidden Dragon Valley is rarely visited. Nearby villagers have even reported seeing dragons and wild men there, lending the valley a veil of mystery. All these materials I'm giving you are found in Hidden Dragon Valley, Sister Yu explained. When can we organize a team to explore Hidden Dragon Valley? Suchin asked. Explore? No need. Sister Yu smiled wryly. Hidden Dragon Valley has now been occupied by a survivor group. Which survivor group? Suchin couldn't help but ask. I don't know their names, but when we went exploring, we had a confrontation with them right after we entered. Sister Yu recounted everything that had happened. In order to expand and seize more resources, the Yu family army had long set their sights on Hidden Dragon Valley. After all, even before the apocalypse, it boasted a wealth of rare plants and animals. After the apocalypse, even more rare treasures, magical herbs, and elixirs would surely appear. Unfortunately, upon entering Hidden Dragon Valley, the Yu family army encountered another mysterious group of survivors. They attacked without communicating with the Yu family army and launched a direct attack. The Yu family army was no match for them, suffering heavy casualties. In desperation, they withdrew from the valley. Later, the Yu clan army even sent an envoy to try to communicate with the enemy. The enemy simply killed the envoy. After that, the Yu clan army dared not venture into Hidden Dragon Valley. These materials were obtained during that exploration. Although we didn't go deep into the Hidden Dragon Valley, I'm certain there are sufficient materials there, Sister Yu assured confidently. Su Chen's face showed a thoughtful expression. From Sister Yu's tone, it didn't sound fake. Brother, what are you still thinking about? Sister Yu urged. Even if you don't want to evolve, you should consider your subordinates, right? Sister, I really want to improve. This is no small matter, Sister Yu. I need to discuss this with my brothers, Suchin said softly. Well, you better hurry. Sister Yu nodded. Suchin waved, asking Wang Yan to come over and take Sister Yu downstairs to rest. After Sister Yu left, Suchin summoned Zhao Man and Luo Xiaotian to the conference room. At the same time, he asked Chu Mengyao to notify the others at the base. A short while later, Lu Jiangwo, Ren Kong, He Wang, and others arrived. Such a big scene. Did something big happen? Seeing so many people gathered in the conference room, Lu Jiangwo asked with some surprise. Not really. Everyone, please take a seat, Suchin said. After everyone was seated, he nodded to Luo Xiaotian. Luo Xiaotian stood up and told everyone about his conversation with Sister Yu. The purpose of inviting everyone here is to discuss whether or not to cooperate with Sister Yu, Suchin said slowly. Boss, I actually don't think there's anything suspicious about Sister Yu. Zhao Man expressed his thoughts. He had been present throughout the conversation. From her demeanor to her motives, Zhao Man believed Sister Yu was fine.